Who would have thought the seemingly loving couple were actually bitter enemies hiding deep hatred? The woman was once the Empress of Shiha, sworn enemy of evil. The man was the supreme lord of During a war between gods and demons, the Empress of Shiha single-handedly repelled the demon horde. But when facing the demon lord, she fought him for 3 days and nights using forbidden techniques. In the end, she was pierced through the chest with one punch. Before dying, she swore a blood oath. No matter how long it takes, she would return to take her revenge on the demon lord. In a flash, 8,000 years passed. The invincible demon lord gazed idly at the stars. Though he possessed endless life and power, he was never able to truly transcend. Ever since he crossed over from Earth 10,000 years ago, he had always been alone, and the loneliness buried deep within his heart eventually became a heart demon, blocking his path. Once he realized the cause, he sealed away his own cultivation and decided to descend as a mortal, to seek the simple joys of life once more. Scene shifts. A virtuous woman is carefully cleaning the courtyard. At that moment, a man runs in excitedly from outside the gate. "Darling, we struck it rich today. This month's rent is covered." Hearing his voice, the woman turned around joyfully and called out, then leapt into his arms for a loving embrace. Moments later, the woman happily linked arms with the man and led him inside for dinner. The man looked at the smiling woman beside him and couldn't help but feel moved. Having seen all the scheming in the demon realm, perhaps this was the life he truly desired. At the dinner table, the man devoured the food his wife prepared. Seeing his unrefined eating habits, the woman rested her chin in her hands and smiled sweetly. "Slow down. If it's not enough, I'll make more." Hearing that, the man suddenly remembered something. He excitedly fumbled through his pockets and pulled out a silver ingot, placing it on the table. The wife cried out in surprise and asked in concern, "Did you do something illegal?" The man hurriedly explained that while setting up his stall during the day, he met a child who had just advanced ranks. His grandfather wanted to buy him a gift. The child immediately chose a carved statue of the great sage equal to heaven. To his surprise, the grandfather paid 10 without asking for change. After hearing the explanation, the woman was instantly relieved and cheerfully put the silver away. After she left, the man muttered to himself, "Everything I carve by hand contains the essence of the ultimate Tao." But that child had the look of a born sovereign, with extraordinary aura. If he can comprehend its meanings, then our encounter won't have been in vain. After some tea and leisure, the woman played the zither nearby, while the man read a sage's book beside her. They turned to look at each other. Their eyes met, and truly, this was the most beautiful kind of life. Suddenly, the man pulled her into his arms. "Darling, it's getting late. We should head to bed." The woman blushed instantly. Lowering her gaze to her husband, "Trying to bully me again?" The man lifted her into his arms, ready to return to the bedroom. "Let's go." He was once the revered West River Empress of the immortal realm. In a great war, she fell to the demon lord. After reincarnation, she had long become a married woman, living a simple, ordinary life. But after one intimate night, she suddenly awakened memories of her past life. Knowing her true identity, she could not remain calm. While she was deep in thought, a mysterious figure silently approached. A figure silently appeared behind her slender waist. As she felt a sudden touch, the Empress let out a sharp scream. In panic, she swatted away the demonic hand attacking her. But when she turned and saw the man sleeping peacefully beside her, her face flushed with rising anger. "I, once revered by all in central heaven, have now been handled by a mortal over 10,000 times, and in such shameful attire, no less. If word gets out, I'll become a laughingstock across the 3 realms." With that thought, her eyes flashed coldly. She raised her hand to erase the man before her from existence. But just as her jade hand pointed out, the sleeping man suddenly muttered in his sleep, "Darling, tomorrow I want to eat tofu, the silky, tender kind." The Empress sighed deeply, remembering all their moments together, the warmth and rain of joy they'd shared. A faint smile of happiness appeared on her face. She gently caressed the man's cheek, and her imperial aura returned in full force. "Demon Lord, I'll let you go for now. When I regain my cultivation and return to the immortal realm, I'll settle our old scores. But first, I'll protect my husband." With that, she kissed the man on the cheek and whispered, "I will protect you for life. No one will ever hurt you." Then she lay beside him and fell asleep. But what she never expected was that the demon lord she longed to kill was actually the very man she vowed to protect. The next morning, Ling Tianhong stretched and yawned, then habitually smacked his wife's backside. He turned around with a grin and said, "Darling, help your husband get dressed." Not long after, once Ling Tianhong was dressed, he looked at his beautiful wife before him and pulled her into his arms, praising her repeatedly. "To marry such a virtuous wife, I have no more desires in this life." The Empress, touched, clung to him sweetly. "Husband, I'm out of rouge and powder. Will you come shopping with me today?" Ling Tianhong agreed instantly, and even helped his wife dress up elaborately. But while doing her hair, Ling Tianhong couldn't resist praising her again, which unfortunately led to trouble. So I'm not pretty when I'm not dolled up? Though he'd lived 10,000 years, he had no dating experience, but he'd at least read enough books. A few sweet words later, the Empress beamed with joy and gave him a warm kiss as a reward. In this world where the strong prey on the weak, helpless women could not control their own fates. To survive, they had to learn seductive dances to please the powerful. Seeing this, the demon lord Ling Tianhong couldn't help but sigh at the end. As he stood there in a daze, a shady shopkeeper approached him with a smile, eagerly promoting various services, with a 20% discount included. But Ling Tianhong couldn't focus, his eyes fixed on the caged women nearby. He pitied this cruel world that treated people like animals. Just then, a familiar, cold voice called from behind him. Your soul's wandered off, huh? Want to buy one to make her your concubine? Hearing that, Ling Tianhong quickly turned and explained. Darling, you've got it all wrong. I'd never think such a thing. He rushed forward and grabbed her sleeve, smiling sheepishly as he said he'd take her somewhere fun. But in the next second, his hand was thrown off. It was clear she was still upset. Ling Tianhong immediately unleashed a flurry of sweet talk to appease her, but he didn't know. The Empress had already made up her mind and aimed her fury at the unscrupulous merchants exploiting those women. The situation grew a little awkward until Ling Tianhong finally splurged heavily and bought a ton of gifts to ease her jealousy. But just as they were heading home, a thundering army approached from ahead with drums beating loudly. The woman seated on the carriage radiated a chilling aura. Despite her youth, she had quelled rebellions across countless battlefields. A true heroine of Jin, unmatched and unyielding. At this moment, no one noticed a rare smile of satisfaction on the Empress's face. Not bad. She's back so soon. In the crowd, Ling Tianhong sensed a murderous aura. His face turned serious. Someone's planning trouble. A group of burly men wearing conical hats approached from a distance. Suddenly, one of them leapt up and threw something from his hand. A changqiu whistled through the air toward the woman in the carriage. Someone in the crowd cried out, "This is bad. It's a thunder bomb. Get down." But the woman facing danger remained still and calm in the carriage. Suddenly, she opened her eyes wide. The air turned sharp with the aura of a seasoned warrior. Amid the crowd's panic, she leapt up and pierced the incoming bomb with her sword. Her face was filled with confidence and disdain for her foes. Who would have thought the mighty demon sovereign of myriad realms would almost lose his wife while out shopping? Just as the General Shangjin repelled the ambush, a group of cultivators suddenly sprang from the crowd. High-level magical treasures all aimed straight at her. In a flash, smoke and chaos engulfed the once busy market. The scene turned into total mayhem. Ling Tianhong frowned, visibly displeased. If I weren't afraid my demonic aura might hurt my wife, I'd smack you all into the ground. His smile vanished as he prepared to escort his wife home. Just then, a woman named Ruhua suddenly appeared beside him, pleading, "Young master, save this damsel." Upon seeing her clearly, Ling Tianhong nearly lost it. What the hell? A monster? Even as a demon who had lived thousands of years, he nearly choked on the spot. He grabbed Ruhua angrily and shouted, "Monster, where's my wife?" What Ruhua said next nearly made him vomit blood. In front of so many people, grabbing me like this. Could it be? Young master has fallen for me. Hearing that, Ling Tianhong grabbed her shoulders furiously and roared, "How dare you disgust me like that? Do you want to fly?" And with a powerful toss, the poor Ruhua flew like a projectile. She just so happened to crash right into a cultivator ambushing the general. Startled by the impact, the general turned to look, and saw that a golden core cultivator had been knocked unconscious by Ruhua. Meanwhile, Ling Tianhong, finally calm, slapped his forehead. He'd forgotten he had marked his wife with the child star imprint spell for her safety. He instantly cast a secret technique to locate her. Upon confirming her safety, he finally breathed a sigh of relief. But thinking about the scare she just endured from the attack, his rage flared again. Before he could explode, another enemy cultivator rushed up. He shouted, "Don't run," and slammed his hand down. "You dare commit such a heinous act?" A powerful aura burst out with his words, and with a thunderous boom, the cultivator instantly turned to ashes and vanished. Suddenly, Ling Tianhong's outstretched hand trembled. That's immortal energy. Seeing the immortal aura radiate from his hand, he froze. He let out a cold snort. Who would have thought that I, a demon sovereign, was once a cultivator? Yes, the demon sovereign who dominated the realms, had once dreamed of entering the immortal path. But on the long road to immortality, success was nearly impossible. Through sheer will, he reached the level of true immortal. Yet at the moment of ascension, he accidentally triggered a saint demon prohibition. Demonic blood fused into his body. Years of cultivation were ruined, and his path to immortality was cut off. But during his earlier rampage when he killed a cultivator, he discovered that immortal energy still lingered in his body. It had just been suppressed by the overwhelming demonic energy all these years. Upon realizing this, Ling Tianhong was overjoyed. Now, for the first time, immortal and demonic energies coexisted within him. This could be something big. And if enemies come in the future, I won't have to worry about harming my wife with demonic energy. His eyes flashed coldly at the thought. Let me test my powers on you clueless fools today. At that moment, the female general was being surrounded by hostile cultivators. She was collapsed on the ground, still resisting with all her strength. One of the cultivators even sneered. So this is the Empress's prize general? As long as you behave, we promise we won't rough you up. With that, they all charged forward to capture her. The general gritted her teeth in fury, raised her sword, and prepared to fight to the death. But in the next second, a powerful energy wave rippled through the air above the group. Several cultivators were instantly obliterated. The female general froze in shock. She turned to her soldiers, only to see puzzled faces all around. In broad daylight, did we just see a ghost? Unable to make sense of it, the general ordered them to stay alert in case of a trap. Meanwhile, Ling Tianhong pouted in a corner, upset. He sighed. Too weak. All I did was use a sliver of divine sense. Why couldn't you last a little longer? Forget it. At least I avenged my wife. With that, he resealed his cultivation again, and happily skipped off to find his beloved. Meanwhile, inside a palace of the Phoenix Empire, an elderly minister knelt on the ground. Your humble servant Xuefeng greets your majesty. A stern voice echoed from the throne above. Xuefeng, you command the strongest guard in Phoenix City. I expect results and accountability. Looking closely, this empress resembled Ling Tianhong's wife nearly identically, except with more dominance. She was once a renowned and talented noble lady of Jinling, who spared no expense hiring people to search far and wide, just to marry a reclusive, idle scholar. The news became a hot topic across the city, and many pitted her choice. But she merely replied with one word, love. Perhaps only her maid knew. They had never once crossed paths. What no one knew was that this frail scholar had another identity. 12 years ago, he was the esteemed crown prince of the Phoenix Empire. Though his father was busy with state affairs, he still cherished and nurtured him deeply. But 5 years ago, his ambitious uncle, King Wu, led soldiers through the palace gates. He killed the emperor and allowed his men to commit atrocities against the empress. In defiance, she entrusted her son to a loyal minister, then ended her own life by smashing into a pillar. Though the minister helped him, he died from blood loss shortly after. Before dying, he told the boy to never forget this hatred. Promise me you'll one day reclaim the palace, but I won't live to see it. Hunted from all sides, the young boy suddenly awakened a hidden system. Unfortunately, all it did was hide his identity and aura, nothing else. Now, remembering his parents' tragic end, he gnashed his teeth. He had been living in hiding near the palace for years, and thought completing a 12-year mission today would finally bring revenge. But the system's notice nearly made him vomit blood. After 12 years of service, I'm taking a month's vacation. He stared at the panel in disbelief. It had helped him hide and given him cultivation methods. How could it just go on break like that? As he struggled to understand, the system activated its second phase, the revenge system. Reading the brief introduction, years of repression were instantly lifted. So that's how it is. With my current strength, I rank top tier in Spirit City. He pulled out a notebook, containing names of traitors he had tracked over the years. First target, the master of Tianya sect. You'll be the first to fall. This man had sealed his power, abandoned his throne, but he didn't know that his gentle wife, was the reincarnated empress of Shiha whom he'd killed 10,000 years ago. Now, she was the ruler of the Phoenix Empire. After her closest ally General Fu Tianyu was ambushed, the empress flew into a rage upon returning to the palace. No matter the cost. I want the mastermind behind the assassin's dugout. When you find them, exterminate them all. No survivors. The minister kneeling below was horrified. He never expected such killing intent from the empress. So strong even he, commander of the Divine Phoenix Guard, could hardly withstand it. He immediately responded. I'll mobilize all Phoenix Guard forces at once. I swear to fulfill your majesty's command. Even after exiting the hall, the minister was still shaken. He didn't expect the empress to care so much about General Fu Tianyu. I must get closer to him in the future. What he didn't know was that the empress's fury came from fear that her husband might have been harmed. If not for needing to hide her power from him, she would have turned those assassins to dust on the spot. Though her husband was now safe, the fact he was nearly hurt made her fury uncontainable. Just as she finished writing a single word with her brush, a soft and teasing voice suddenly echoed. The great empress of the Divine Phoenix Guard losing her temper over a man? Not a good look. Hearing the voice, the empress immediately snapped back. Wenya, what are you doing here? The playful girl held out a box with a grin. Sis, I brought you the item. After the empress accepted the box, the girl pouted unhappily by her side. Did that ordinary man drug you or something? How else could he have you so entranced? Not only did you marry beneath your rank, you even take care of his daily needs. Hearing that, the Empress gently stroked the girl's head. You're still too young to understand love. Though your brother-in-law is very ordinary, only with him do I feel truly happy. There are so many joyful things we share. As she spoke, her face flushed unconsciously. She suddenly changed expression and pinched the girl's cheeks. You little rascal. Can't you stop asking? After some playful teasing between the two, the Empress's expression turned serious. Something unexpected happened today. I must return immediately, lest my husband comes home and doesn't find me. He'll start to worry. With that, she dashed out of the palace, leaving the girl standing alone in the wind. Meanwhile, Ling Tianhong paced anxiously at home, worried sick over not seeing his wife. Damn it. If I unlocked my cultivation, I could find her instantly. Didn't think returning to mortal life would be so stressful. Just then, the door swung open, and seeing his wife return, Ling Tianhong's face lit up like a child's. The Empress called out, "Husband," with joy, and threw herself into his arms. Ling Tianhong stroked her hair and said gently, "I searched everywhere for you. I was so worried." The Empress replied with tenderness, "I missed you too. I rushed back after looking everywhere. I didn't want you coming home to an empty house." Ling Tianhong embraced her tightly and thought to himself, "Whoever caused my wife this worry, I'll make them regret it. They'll pay for frightening her." They say wise men don't fall in love, but this cold and stoic Empress turned into a lovesick woman in front of her husband, watching him devour the meal she prepared. She thought perhaps happiness really is that simple. She gently lifted a meatball and fed it to her husband. Even the mighty demon Lord Ling Tianhong melted from the sweetness. He praised her. "If one day I can't eat your food, I might actually starve." But his words instantly sparked his wife's suspicion. "Oh really? There are tons of restaurants out there. And if a few bunny girls joined you, wouldn't that be better than my plain meals?" Ling Tianhong immediately panicked. He quickly grabbed a sausage and changed the subject. "Wife, try this. It's delicious. Let's eat and then rest together, okay?" Biting the sausage, the Empress's face turned red. "You think one sausage will win me over?" She pouted, feigning anger. "I'm thirsty. I want sweet rice porridge." Seeing her softening, Ling Tianhong quickly went to serve her. Moments later, the Empress surrendered to his tender care and murmured, "Marrying you really is the happiest thing in my life." Ling Tianhong felt the same. Even giving up his throne over the three realms would be worth it. After a satisfying dinner, they sat together on the bed, savoring the joy of having each other's company. Suddenly, a dainty foot landed on Ling Tianhong's thigh. The Empress shyly said, "My legs are sore from shopping all day, husband." Ling Tianhong immediately responded, lifting her foot but he suddenly sighed and said, "Wife, Phoenix capital's not very peaceful these days. How about we move to somewhere with mountains and water? I'll farm and fish. You'll weave and sew. We'll grow old together in peace, every single day." Hearing this, a look of longing appeared on the Empress's face, but then she thought of the ambitious princes in court. If we leave recklessly now, it might throw the dynasty into chaos, and the ones who'll suffer will be the commoners at the bottom of society. At this thought, the Empress quickly spoke with unease. "Are we not moving anymore?" A supreme demon lord, invincible across the three realms, becomes a tender scholar in front of the wife he loves, and the ruler of the myriad Phoenix Empire acts like a gentle and delicate wife in front of her husband. After the attack in the city last time, both had thoughts of their own. Ling Tianhong wanted to retreat from the world and live in seclusion so his wife could be happy. But seeing the worry in her eyes filled him with anger. That assassination had scared her this much? Tomorrow, he'll pretend to go to the shop. He'll take that chance to visit the mastermind for a talk. After hearing her husband's concerns, the Empress also grew upset. Tomorrow, when he heads to the shop, she must seize the moment to uncover and eliminate the one behind this. That night, the Empress put on a light outfit and came before her husband. Ling Tianhong bathed. "You must be exhausted today, dear. Come, let your husband massage your shoulders." The Empress looked bashfully at her man. "Be gentle while massaging, okay?" Ling Tianhong immediately got to work. "Don't worry, my love. Let's begin." The Empress felt his gentle touch, and all the day's fatigue seemed to melt away. Ling Tianhong's face glowed with affection. "You've worked so hard, dear. Hang in there. I'll help unblock your meridians." Meanwhile, he couldn't help but admire her natural fragrance. It was better than any scent he'd encountered in the world. But just then, Ling Tianhong froze. This unique scent, it felt strangely familiar, but he couldn't imagine that his cherished wife was actually the Empress Xia, who had fought him for 3 days and nights 10,000 years ago. Moments later, Ling Tianhong smiled tenderly at her. "How do you feel, my love? More relaxed now?" The Empress shyly began to pout. "My legs are still sore." But before she finished, he pushed her gently to the bedside, then gleefully lifted her leg. "Let me show you my secret foot massage technique." Moments later, the Empress exhaled deeply in comfort. Ling Tianhong hugged her and soothed her before falling fast asleep. The next day, they resumed their everyday life together, sharing one more sweet embrace. They happily said goodbye to each other. Ling Tianhong headed out to work and earn money. The Empress cheerfully reminded him to come home for dinner. But just as Ling Tianhong turned away, a violent, murderous aura surged onto his face. Time to settle some scores. In his wife's world, there will only be peace and happiness. Let me see who dares to stir up trouble in Fonjing while my wife is here. Though he was a monk revered by Buddhist sects, he never followed their teachings, and once slaughtered an entire city for personal gain. Now, for the sake of 2 concubines, he became an honored guest of the rebel King Ning. After failing to assassinate the general last time, King Ning was furious. He had wanted to cause chaos in Fonjing through the assassination, then use that as a pretext to mobilize the Black Dragon Legion. With that, he could seize military power and force the Empress to abdicate. But his foolproof plan was ruined by one man. After this failure, the others prayed in silence that the Empress wouldn't target them. But what they didn't know was Ling Tianhong had already identified the mastermind through secret arts. That morning, after parting with his wife, he walked alone into a deserted alley. With a hand seal, he released just 1/10,000th of his power. But even that tiny amount made the city's people secretly gasp. He then rose into the sky, used a divine stone to scan the city, and locked onto a certain mansion. At that moment, several people inside were plotting how to cover up the incident, when suddenly, a cold voice echoed through the room. Instead of complaining here, you should reflect and act like a proper prince, or I'll personally send you back to your hometown in the northwest. Hearing that, the group panicked. They hurried to find the source of the voice. When they looked up, they saw a youth surrounded by demonic aura. Standing atop the hall, King Ning bellowed, "Who dares trespass into this prince's estate?" Ling Tianhong responded with an icy warning. "Remember what I said. Behave yourself. Don't even think about disturbing Fonjing City again." But King Ning was already blinded by rage. He roared, determined to kill the intruder on the spot. He turned and shouted, "How dare you threaten this king, you ignorant fool? Better ask the experts in my manor if they'll allow it." The black-robed man smirked coldly. "Coward, since you're here, leave your life behind." With that, he flung off his black robe. A surge of black energy shot into heading straight for Ling Tianhong. Ling Tianhong smirked with confidence. "You overestimate yourself, brat." He casually flicked a finger. A beam of red light shot out. The moment the black energy met the red beam, a scream echoed from the attacker, and his body began disintegrating rapidly in midair. This husband and wife had been deceiving each other for years. He was a feared demon lord. She, the mighty empress of the current dynasty. To prevent his wife from ever being ambushed again, Ling Tianhong used work travel as an excuse to head straight for the culprit King Ning's residence. After defeating the Black Sand Master with one move, the mighty King Ning collapsed in fright. He shouted, "Impossible!" Ling Tianhong snorted coldly. "Then let me wake you up." With that, a beam of light shot straight into King Ning's lower half. Terrified, King Ning began sobbing with clarity. A mysterious liquid also leaked from him in fear. Then Ling Tianhong gave another warning. "If you dare disturb Fonjing City again, next time, I'll take your life." With that, he vanished in a puff of blue smoke. After a moment, the advisors stepped forward, asking King Ning what to do next. Everyone nearby looked horrified. Alliance forces said, "Even Black Sand was defeated in one blow. Looks like the throne is out of reach." At the word throne, King Ning angrily pounded the table. "I'm a dragon among men. You think I'll back down over this?" He quickly recomposed himself and ordered, "So he's a top-level expert. Fine. Take my sealed orders to the 6 great sects. Tell them to summon their top-tier fighters. Whatever they want, I'll provide it. For the throne, I'll risk everything." He shouted passionately as he stood up, startling the nearby strategist. "My lord, perhaps you should change first." King Ning instinctively looked down. His face darkened as he quickly covered. "Get out. Bring me fresh clothes, now. Everyone scram. Bring new clothes, quick." Meanwhile, Ling Tianhong returned to the lively streets. Seeing it was still early, he planned to buy something for his wife as a surprise. Just then, a few black-robed cultivators walked toward him. He stopped and looked closer. Finjing's inner circle really is full of snakes. That aura, it's familiar demonic energy. And strutting so openly? Don't tell me they're planning something again? If my wife's peace of mind gets disturbed again, that's trouble. With that thought, he quietly followed them. Not long after, the group entered a noble estate. When Ling Tianhong saw the estate's nameplate clearly, his expression turned grim. "Are all you princes this restless? Always trying to disrupt the quiet life I want with my wife. Are you itching for a beating?" With that, he vanished from the spot. Inside a secret chamber, a young man greeted the arriving black-robed figure respectfully. "Honored Black Name, what orders does the cult leader have?" Little did they know, someone they could never afford to offend sat nearby. The mighty and dignified Empress Shifeng acted completely soft and coy in front of her mortal husband. Now pacing at the door, anxious and worried, she hadn't seen her husband return and was starting to panic. Within the Great Shifeng dynasty, there were 4 foreign kings: Feather King, Dance King, Music King, and Wood King. Originally, it was out of respect for their ancestors who followed the divine Phoenix Emperor in conquering this land, earning great merit through battle. Thus, the 4 banner kings were granted hereditary titles, with their descendants enjoying endless privileges. Yet the foreign kings secretly stirred unrest behind the scenes, colluding and throwing all of Fongjing City into chaos. Thinking of this made the Empress furious. "You filthy rats. If you dare disturb my peace with my husband again, I'll wipe you all out without mercy." Little did she know that the man she was so worried about was enjoying quite the show at the Feather King's manor. The Feather King knelt respectfully before a man. "Honor Black Name, what are your orders from the cult leader?" "The cult leader plans to establish a branch of the evil god cult in Nanzhou. You'll be in full charge of this operation." The man casually took out a divine idol and said, "This idol holds the evil god's supreme demonic power. Worship it daily, and in times of need, it may save your life." The Feather King quickly stepped forward to accept it with reverence. "Thank you, evil god, for your protection." But when Ling Tianhong saw the idol, he was instantly shaken. Isn't that little rascal, the evil god? It immediately reminded him of his 10 top demon generals, each a near-peak demonic emperor-level powerhouse. The evil god was the eldest disciple of his subordinate, the Blood Demon Emperor. Damn, turns out it's my subordinate making waves. He briefly considered calling that disciple over for a beating to vent, but then thought, he hasn't really done anything too outrageous. As a demon cultivator, causing a little chaos is par for the course. He sighed. Forget it. Let's see what they do next first. If they disturb Fongjing City's peace, I'll deal with them then. Back on the street, Ling Tianhong still felt a bit annoyed. He debated whether to warn the divine Phoenix Empress ahead of time, or maybe help boost the strength of a few of her subordinates as a precaution. That way, he and his wife could finally live a peaceful, normal life. His face brightened at the thought. That settles it. I'll find time to go to the palace and train that useless empress properly. I'll give her cultivation techniques, elixirs, whatever she needs. As long as she keeps Fongjing City in order, I'll finally get to enjoy a peaceful life with my wife. The dignified and majestic divine Phoenix Empress could never imagine that the demon lord she once sought vengeance on would one day become her most loyal, doting husband. Seeing Ling Tianhong return just a minute late, a hint of sulky resentment appeared on the Empress's face. "You scoundrel, where did you sneak off to? Why are you only back now?" Ling Tianhong broke into a cold sweat. Thankfully, he had prepared beforehand. He immediately presented her with an elegant gift box. "I went to get a gift for you, my dear. Please forgive me." The Empress froze for a moment as she opened the box. Seeing the golden hairpin inside stirred up a memory. "Why did you buy this?" She was answered by a pair of warm, gentle hands. Ling Tianhong looked into her eyes tenderly. "My love, do you still remember 10 years ago today, when we first met by the riverside in the rain?" The Empress softly responded, reminiscing aloud. "I was just 16, walking the streets when some thugs targeted me. I tried to run but was desperate, and you happened to pass by and save me. You hid me under the waterway, letting me escape that disaster. It was the beginning of our fate." Then she happily threw herself into his arms. Ling Tianhong gently squeezed her hand again. "I wandered the streets for a long time today. When I saw this hairpin, I knew I had to buy it to commemorate us." He carefully placed it in her hair. The Empress was deeply touched by the gesture. With teary eyes, she looked at Ling Tianhong with love. "Dearest husband," she whispered. Ling Tianhong chuckled inside. "Man, I'm amazing. Any later, and I'd have gotten a beating for sure." But then her expression darkened. "Where did you get the money for this hairpin?" She yanked his ear. "Spill it. Have you been hiding private savings to survive?" Ling Tianhong's brain kicked into high gear, and he replied, "I saved just for today, to buy you this hairpin. Please believe me, my love." Seeing his serious, pleading expression, the Empress couldn't help but smile. "Let this be the last time. Rather than spending money on this, I might as well buy some fabric and make you proper clothes." Hearing this from his wife, Ling Tianhong was deeply moved. With the mood so romantic, not taking action now felt like a missed opportunity. He suddenly kissed her passionately. But what they didn't realize was that their lovey-dovey act left the onlookers feeling extremely bitter with envy. Moments later, as they noticed the noisy crowd around them, they stared at each other awkwardly for 2 seconds. Then, with perfect coordination, they sprinted back inside at once calm. Ling Tianhong's face turned red with embarrassment. He had gotten so into the moment, he forgot the setting. He casually muttered, "Continue." The Empress's heart fluttered as she playfully replied, "Who's afraid of who? Let's continue then." Though a supreme demon lord of the 3 realms, just one complaint of soreness from his wife was enough to make him turn into a foot-massaging servant. The scene was so heartwarming. Even the moon looked on with envy. After 2 hours of interaction, the Empress happily gazed at her dozing husband. She held her golden hairpin more tightly. This hairpin meant more than all the rare treasures gifted by the ministers and princes at her annual birthday banquet. I want to stay by your side forever. Then she gave Ling Tianhong a light kiss and said goodnight before falling asleep in his arms. By the next afternoon, Ling Tianhong leisurely returned to his usual work routine, humming while he carved with a silly smile on his face. It was clear, even as a demon lord, what he truly wanted was a peaceful life with his loved ones. Suddenly, a group of officers stormed in uninvited. It startled Ling Tianhong so much he nearly dropped his tools. But when he looked at them, their pitiful cultivation levels made him sigh inside. The Six Doors Division is supposed to represent Tianfeng City's might. Can't they find people with more presence? Although annoyed by the interruption, he still forced a polite smile and greeted them. Gentlemen, what brings you to my humble home today? Seeing how humble Ling Tianhong appeared, the officers instantly puffed up. We're here under the Empress's orders to investigate the attempted assassination of the Deputy General. After thorough investigation, we now suspect you're connected to the assassins. Hearing this, Ling Tianhong naturally understood their intent. He bowed respectfully and said, Officers, you've got the wrong guy. I'm just a small citizen at the 6th refinement stage. How could I possibly be connected to assassins? But before he could finish, the lead officer cut him off. It's not up to you to decide that. Hearing this, Ling Tianhong's expression darkened. A terrifying aura immediately filled the entire room. The officers suddenly felt a chill run down their spines. Seeing their shivering faces, Ling Tianhong sighed bitterly. As satisfying as it would be to eliminate them now, it would just attract more attention and escalate the situation. His wife loved this place. For her sake, he decided to let them go for now. He waved his hand dismissively and said, Dear officers, my shop hasn't even opened for the day. This couple is like the real-life Oscars best actor and actress. 10 years of marriage, and they still don't know each other's true identities despite all the daily interactions. Previously, when Demon Lord Ling Tianhong was unjustly imprisoned by the Six Doors Division, what he saw next only strengthened his resolve to personally train the Empress. His men, seeking rewards, stuffed their own pockets by accusing a barely literate woman of carrying contraband. 890. Repeated line removed for clarity. Charging her with private correspondence with enemies. Even blind men were blackmailing women under the and more outrageously, they forcibly labeled a crippled man as a nimble thief and beat him into a false confession. Despite all this, the Six Doors officers, sworn to protect the people, showed no. One of them smugly said to Ling Tianhong, See that? They're all just poor folk. If your family can't bring 100 silver taels, you'll end up just like them. Ling Tianhong appeared submissive in response, but he never said a word. He said nothing. He reminded himself to endure a bit longer. If they dare worry his wife, that ransom will be their death warrant. Meanwhile, Empress Shia was at home hanging laundry for her husband, looking like a dutiful country wife. She truly cherished such a peaceful and simple life. Even holding her husband's clothes felt full of love. She hugged the clothes tightly to savor his scent. That would be enough to carry her through her palace duties. Just then, a noise came from the door. When she opened it, after confirming something, they shoved a document into Shia. We suspect your husband is involved in the general's assassination attempt. If you want to clear his name, bring silver to the Six Doors and find someone you know. They threw the document down carelessly. Better be quick. Don't delay. Then they left. Shia's face darkened instantly. Is this really how the Six Doors conduct their investigations? She picked up the document angrily. What insolence! You even dare throw it on the ground. In Empress Shia's house. This house belongs to her. Upon learning her husband was wrongfully imprisoned, the Empress began thinking how to rescue him without revealing her identity. To be safe, she used long-range transmission to issue an imperial command, then personally brought silver to visit connections at the Six Doors. But unexpectedly, when she rushed to the prison, the officers began eyeing her with ill intent. She turned her head and caught one smirking. Her expression turned cold. Is this how you handle cases at the Six Doors? She angrily picked up the document again. When she rushed to the prison, those officers looked at her with greedy eyes. One of them smirked and said to Ling Tianhong, Who would have thought you'd have such a stunning beauty with you? You're a lucky guy. Hearing them speak so indecently about his wife, Ling Tianhong was furious. He wanted to tear the man apart on the spot, but he was worried about revealing his identity and disrupting their peaceful life. The Empress, too, was enraged. She couldn't believe such filth existed in her empire. Once this is over, I'll make sure these parasites and their families are eliminated. She raised the silver-filled bundle. Here's the silver. Now let my husband go. But before she could finish, one officer reached out to grope her. He even lewdly ran his hand over her body. Startled, the Empress shouted, Scoundrel, what do you think you're doing? Instead of backing off, the officer sneered. Don't be so uptight, sweet lady. This official just found more evidence of your husband's treason. Now it seems 100 taels won't be enough. But if you agree to become this official's concubine, aren't you afraid your superior will punish you? The officer shrugged smugly and replied, Afraid? I'm scared to death, but my superior is my own uncle. So what's there to be afraid of? At this, both powerhouses could no longer hold back. Such outrageous behavior. They were ready to kill him even if it meant revealing their identities. The Empress prepared her flame palm technique, intending to burn him alive. Ling Tianhong wanted him to suffer even more, to crush his bones with the bone-melting mirror, to make him die from sheer terror, as justice for his wife. Just as they were about to strike, a voice shouted from outside, Outrageous! You serve the 6 doors yet break the law. But the officers still shouted defiantly, Who goes there? Who dares cause trouble in the 6 doors? But before he could finish, a man stormed in and landed a fierce slap. You little bastard! Who gave you the guts? Lord Tian Wang has arrived, eh? Kneel at once. Only then did They quickly kowtowed and begged for mercy. After a round of brutal beatings, Tian Huang Ho approached the officers in fury. You were sent to arrest suspects, but used the chance to extort money? You've disgraced the court's dignity and tarnished Her Majesty the Empress's name. At that moment, the spiritual energy in the hands of the 2 powerhouses began to dissipate. They both sighed, thankful that Tian Wang Ho arrived in time. They didn't have to reveal their identities, but letting the culprits off lightly wouldn't do either. After all, these 2 were once sworn enemies, yet now lived as a loving couple in hiding, working hard daily, enjoying a life free from the deceit of the world. That day, to rescue her wrongfully imprisoned husband, the Empress disguised herself as a gentle wife, but she was subjected to humiliation by petty officers. Just as the couple was about to expose their identities and obliterate everyone in sight, Tian Huang Ho arrived unexpectedly. After swiftly punishing the offenders, he glanced back inadvertently and caught the Empress's warning glare. She was staring straight at him. Tian Huang Ho panicked immediately and quickly cupped his fist and bowed. My lords, you're here. I nearly wronged you terribly. A major disaster almost happened. Seeing the Empress remain silent, he quickly added, Rest assured, both of you, I'll ensure these corrupt men are punished. The public and yourselves will get justice. Hearing this, Ling Tianhong whispered softly to his wife, Dear Tian Huang Ho, being a close aide to the Empress, is indeed highly influential. Didn't expect him to be so reasonable. The Empress chuckled upon hearing that. Indeed, I also didn't expect him to be this upright. I thought he'd be just like the rest. At that moment, Ling Tianhong remembered the silver that had been extorted earlier. He quietly brought it up to his wife. Hearing this, the Empress politely said, Lord Ho, could you return the 100 silver taels your men extorted from us? We would be deeply grateful. My husband and I thank you kindly. Tian Wang Ho was left speechless. He began to tremble. But that's not enough. Such a heinous act must be repaid double. With that, the Marquis ordered sternly, Someone, bring 200 taels. Under this Marquis's rule, justice must be served from my own pocket. At those words, the couple visibly grew a bit embarrassed. Then, politely thanked Lord Tian Wang and left the prison. Soon after, they had just arrived home and embraced tightly, looking at his wife in his arms. Ling Tianhong felt deeply for her. He immediately suggested, Let me help you relax a bit. Hearing this, the Empress blushed. All right, how do you plan to help me relax, dear? As soon as she asked, a tender look appeared on her face. At that moment, the sun was just switching shifts with the moon. The next morning, Ling Tianhong, as usual, bid farewell to his wife and left home. And her first order of business that day was to destroy the Zhang family. But when she arrived at the Zhang residence, she found the entire estate completely deserted. Ling Tianhong couldn't help but frown. Where is everyone? The Empress grew angry, just sitting silently on the throne. Her aura alone made the officials below tremble. Even the veteran female general, seasoned in battle, felt crushed by the Empress's imperial might and dared not lift her head. Suddenly, Xuefeng spoke. Your Majesty, the matter has been investigated. The assassin who attacked the deputy general, it was King Ming. His goal was to use the chaos to mobilize the Black Dragon Legion into the capital and seize the throne. The nearby ministers were shocked upon hearing this and muttered how foolish King Ming had become. But Empress Shiha just smirked. So it was my dear uncle. If he made the first move, then don't blame me for ignoring family ties. She swept her gaze across the court. Can you? I'm putting you in charge of this. But before the female general could respond, Xuefeng added, Your Majesty, according to intel from the Phoenix Scouts, at this moment, elders from Wujizong and Wanhuagu, 6 real fire mirror masters, are rushing toward Fongjing City. Tian Wang Ho was startled by the news. They're supreme elders of the 6 strongest sects in the empire, and rarely show themselves. Why would they make such a grand entrance now? Shia's face darkened slightly. Looks like my dear uncle is going all in this time. He's managed to bring in all 6 major sections. I've just awakened my Heaven-Earth core, and the Divine Stone of Shiha. Though it's powerful, against 6 real fire mirror experts together, I can only fight to a draw. With that in mind, she addressed the court. If those old fools dare meddle in my Phoenix Dynasty's succession, then I'll deal with them personally. As she spoke, a mighty aura erupted from her body. Her vast and overwhelming spiritual power engulfed the palace. The display left the ministers in awe. They had never imagined the Empress possessed such terrifying cultivation. They all knelt and shouted in unison. We pledge our lives to follow your majesty. Together we'll fight the enemy. At that moment, Shiha's eyes turned resolute. I won't allow war to reach the capital and harm my husband. But what she didn't know was the husband she was so determined to protect had already gone to the Zhang residence alone for her sake. Staring at the empty estate, Ling Tianhong casually waved his hand. Time rewound. The next second, a mirror-like image appeared before his eyes. It showed Marquis Huangtian leading troops into the Zhang residence, swiftly subduing everyone inside with thunderous force. Upon learning the truth, Ling Tianhong sighed. Forget it. Letting someone else handle it saves me the effort. But if anyone dares disturb my life with my wife again, they won't get off so easily. The demon lord was getting cocky. Just to show affection with his wife in peace. He was even considering changing the Emperor of Shinfeng. Just now, as he watched his wife serve him more food, Ling Tianhong was overflowing with happiness. But he, concerned, reminded him softly. Husband, Fonjing City hasn't been peaceful lately. Don't go out unnecessarily. Hearing this, Ling Tianhong nodded while eating, but inside, he was already itching to act. These damned rats sure are bold. Making my wife worry again and again. Let me kindly arrange a full party wipeout for you all. After she left, Ling Tianhong released a wisp of divine energy. In an instant, it spread across all of Fonjing City. He detected 6 sources of spiritual energy 100 li outside the city. So these must be King Ning's reinforcements? Bigger ants than the ones from before, barely. With that, he vanished on the spot. Meanwhile, outside King Ning's command tent, a soldier rushed in with news. My lord, the 6 divine flame elders are arriving at Fonjing City. We can launch our attack now. They'll support us shortly. King Ning waved his hand excitedly. Order the army to march immediately. Seize the palace. Whoever captures Li Siyu, that brat, will be heavily rewarded. Note, Ling Tianhong's wife is using the alias Li Shihi. Nearby and invisible, Ling Tianhong smirked. Looks like King Ning thinks victory is certain. These divine flame punks. Let me take care of them for you. He glanced at the annoying King Ning. As for you, I'll leave you to the Empress. It'll be a good test to see if she can really defend Fonjing City. If she can't even handle this joke, and it ruins our peaceful life, then I might as well help Chiffon pick a new emperor. With that, he vanished once again. His ridiculous speech left tens of thousands of soldiers stunned. When no one responded, King Ning felt major second-hand embarrassment. Damn it, here I am. And you country bumpkins won't even give me applause? Sensing the awkwardness, the strategist coughed lightly and quickly stepped in to save face. This act of dethroning and establishing anew. Prince Ning is born for the throne. He deserves to be emperor. What say you all? The crowd of soldiers instantly shouted in unison. Heaven's will. We pledge allegiance to Prince Ning. Hearing their flattery, King Ning's sour face lit up with pride. He then shouted to the tens of thousands of troops. Soldiers, hear my order. Capture the fallen empress. 10,000 taels reward. Title of Marquis. Success means glory. Internally, he giggled to himself. Everything's ready, just waiting for the final push. My wish is about to come true. But he had no idea. She, wearing her wind cloak and wielding her sword, had long been waiting atop the city wall. As she watched the massive army approaching from afar, her expression darkened. If you're determined to destroy the peace I have with my husband, then don't blame me for, as empress. She was the faith of the court officials, and in the eyes of the people, an irreplaceable sovereign. But who would have thought? The one trying to seize her throne now was her most beloved uncle. Gazing at the tens of thousands of troops assembled by Prince Ning, she had turned to Huang Tianho behind her and said, if we truly lose this battle, send someone to the Red Moonwood carving shop to escort my husband away. With that, she called General Tyans to prepare for battle alongside her, unaware that her heart was filled with mixed emotions. What does it matter to be an empress? What does the central heavens matter? None of that compares to your place in my heart, my husband. The days spent by your side are the happiest of my life. So I must fight this battle. In the forest outside the city at night, several shadowy figures were gathering toward the city. A woman among them spoke. Who could this mysterious figure in Prince Ning's mansion be? A powerhouse above the 4th layer of the divine fire mirror is exceedingly rare in the divine Phoenix dynasty. Hearing this, a few of them sneered, suggesting it couldn't be some nobody. As they chatted animatedly, an elder among them, with a grave expression, gestured for silence. Enough idle talk. Prince Ning's army is on the move. With that, They leaped to a high vantage point, ready to act. At that moment, Jing Xianjinren smirked. Prince Ning is truly going all out for the throne, even using Tianhua Sanren's treasure map to enlist our help. This deal is quite lucrative. Beihui Jinren nearby, also Tianhua Sanren, a peerless master of the transcendent realm in this world. If we obtain his treasure map, it will surely transform us, propelling us into the realm of true powerhouses. At this, Qilong Jinren burst into laughter. Speaking of which, we should thank this mysterious figure for giving us this chance to break through our current realms. At this, Meiguei Jinren on the tree giggled suddenly. Then we must help that young Prince Ning seize the throne. Tianji Jinren let out a cold snort. A mere girl in her 20s isn't worth my effort. I'm only interested in that mysterious figure. As they chatted freely, a cold voice suddenly rang out from the distance. You're all too slow. I've been waiting for quite a while. Shocked by the voice, the group was stunned. We didn't even sense this person's presence. Their realm must surpass ours. Qilong Jinren stepped forward first, his body radiating true qi, transforming into a dragon, ready to strike. I advise you to leave while you still can, or you'll be buried here by us. His words dripped with unbridled arrogance. Ling Tianhong smirked in response. Ha, mere lower realm ants, so ignorant and laughable. Even the top celestial warriors of the upper realms, demon generals, would kneel and grovel before me. Let's begin. Entertain me with your pathetic tricks. Tianji Jinren stepped forward, enraged. Such arrogance. Let's see what you're capable of. With that, a 40-meter-long sword slashed toward Ling Tianhong. Ling Tianhong, however, remained unfazed. A mere speck of light. Come, all of you, and meet your deaths. As the demon lord, he commanded the mightiest force in the three realms. Wherever he went, lives were reduced to ashes. Even the mightiest empress of the divine realm couldn't last 2 rounds against him. Yet now, he was being repeatedly challenged by mere mortals. As Xingjian Jinren's sword struck toward Ling Tianhong, the resulting force shocked everyone present. Qilong Jinren spoke first. Can anyone survive such power? The elder nearby stared ahead, hoping the opponent would perish under this strike. The night forest, lit only by faint moonlight, was eerily silent. When the dust settled and Xingjian Jinren's figure emerged, joy flashed across their faces. But suddenly, the elder's eyes narrowed, sensing something amiss. Then they saw Xingjian Jinren's body plummeting rapidly, while Ling Tianhong stood unscathed before them. The group froze in shock. At that moment, the leading elder's expression grew gravely serious. You're at the peak of divine fire? But Ling Tianhong answered with a bloodthirsty grin. Your turn, little dragons. The elder hurriedly waved his hand to intervene. Your realm is extraordinary. We are no match. You're warning Prince Ning to prevent his rebellion. But if you kill us, you'll provoke the 6 major sects behind us. Is that what you want? At this, a sneer crossed Ling Tianhong's face. You've reminded me. I'll just take the trouble to wipe out the 6 major sects as well. Sensing his killing intent, the group's Ling Tianhong's gaze turned cold. Trying to run? Did you really think I was playing house with you? With a wave of his hand, 2 cultivators were instantly killed. The other 3 were frozen midair, unable to move. With a snap of his fingers, they all turned into blood mist and vanished into the night. Afterward, Ling Tianhong sneered. What a nest of annoying cockroaches. Looks like I'll need to wipe out the so-called 6 great sects too. Can't leave any loose ends. Meanwhile, outside Fengjing City, King Ning aimed his skyfire cannon at the city wall, threatening Empress Shiha to abdicate the throne. At his words, General Tianxi stepped forward to shield her. He shouted at King Ning. As a subject, your betrayal is punishable by death. Hearing this, King Ning roared furiously. Once I ascend the throne, I'll deal with you, you little wench. Then Shia calmly responded, Royal uncle, I'll give you one last chance. Withdraw your troops now, and I'll pretend this never happened. But seeing King Ning's arrogance, she knew his answer. King Ning pointed toward the city gate. Several figures leapt forward. General Tianxi immediately drew his blade to protect the empress. He and his comrade joined the cultivators beside Xia. With the loyal siblings leading the defense, Xia felt no fear. Her only concern was the 6 real fire cultivators still hiding, but she couldn't sense their presence at all, which puzzled her. Are they lying in ambush? She was the revered Phoenix Empress, betrayed by her uncle because she fell in love with a humble carpenter. Staring at King Ning's fierce army of tens of thousands, Xia's eyes turned cold with bitter disappointment, but she made no move to fight just yet. She was waiting for the 6 masters of the great sects to appear. Suddenly, shouts echoed from within the city. Xuefeng rushed over, panic on her face. Your Majesty, it's bad. The Zhou, you, and Tian clans have brought private armies into the city. Xia's expression turned icy. So King Ning's internal allies are finally showing themselves. Just then, Lord Tian Wang hurried over. The situation is dire. Your Majesty, I beg you to retreat to safety. But Xia paid no mind to their pleas. To her, the traitors were nothing but petty bullies. What truly concerned her were the 6 missing real fire masters. Meanwhile, outside the city, A black-clad messenger reported that the mystery man had been intercepted by the six masters. King Ning calmly waved his hand. As long as he doesn't interfere, the throne is mine. Inside, he was already giddy with joy. He turned to the black-robed figures. My lords, follow me to the city wall and seize that wretched girl. I am merciful. Surrender, and you will be spared. But as King Ning's forces surged forward, Shia's soldiers began losing hope. Many Imperial Guards and Six Doors members surrendered after exchanging glances. She had turned and looked at her remaining loyalists. You won't surrender? The two generals glanced at each other, then shouted firmly. We, brother and sister, swear to follow your majesty to the end. Shuefeng dropped to her knees and pledged her loyalty. This old subject will never betray her majesty, and I believe her majesty will turn the tide. Shia revealed a rare smile of comfort. Very good. If those 6 real fire cultivators won't appear, I'll stop waiting. She turned to glare at the arrogant King Ning in the distance. Royal uncle, have you forgotten? Who made the Phoenix Empire strong these years? Suddenly, a loud boom, and golden energy surged from Shia's body, forming a giant golden dragon above her. In an instant, an overwhelming pressure covered the sky. The heavens themselves seemed to respond. Countless divine dragons roared forth. She was furious. Today, she would show the world her true power. Tens of thousands of soldiers fell to their knees in terror. Even King Ning lost his mind from fear. Then Shia's cold, regal voice echoed through the skies. You are surrounded. Surrender, and you will be spared. Surrender, and you will be spared. With her voice resounding through the heavens, the enemy army dropped to their knees in fear. Only King Ning still failed to grasp the situation now, and kept shouting madly. Just then, a soldier kindly stepped forward to remind him. Your Highness King Ning, the blaze has already frightened everyone stiff. Please be cautious. King Ning was momentarily stunned. Aren't you still standing? Your servant shall kneel immediately. That remark instantly sent King Ning into a rage. Insolent wench, aren't you afraid of the 6 divine flame elders? He responded with a cold sneer. If you refuse to repent, then bring it on. I'll say it once more. Those who respond will be spared. As she spoke, a mighty imperial aura erupted from her. In an instant, hundreds of palace guards and agents of the 6 fan gates who sought to defect to King Ning were annihilated by that overwhelming force. She didn't act often, but when she did, her might shook everyone present. How could this be? How is that Bradley CU this powerful? King Ning's face turned pale. He never imagined his niece, whom he had always looked down upon, would possess such terrifying strength. The manifestation of the Imperial Golden Dragon and the endless flow of celestial energy. She was actually a divine flame tier cultivator. Still, remembering he had 6 divine flame elders on his side, he calmed down. I summon the 6 divine flame elders. Slay this witch. But after several shouts with no response, King Ning panicked. And as the 6 divine flame elders remained absent, she lost her patience. She pointed directly at King Ning and shouted, What now? Still planning to resist? Did you not realize those who defected earlier were doing it on purpose? It was a trap to round up you traitorous rats all at once. Today, anyone who betrays me, betrays the nation and the people. None of you will escape. You've already been surrounded. Some soldiers began to feel guilty. Some even turned on their comrades on the spot, just to prove their loyalty to Shihi. Seeing the palace guards and 6 fan gates forces fall into chaos, Marquis Huantian and Blood Phoenix couldn't help but chuckle. We knew all along her majesty was terrifying, just biding her time. Only fools would betray her. Those who ignored our warnings are screwed now. At that moment, Shihi raised her hand and declared, All troops, hear my command. All traitors must be executed. As her words fell, tens of thousands of soldiers surged from within the city. But King Ning still wasn't ready to give up. He ordered all cultivators above the Dongshin level to attack Shihi together. Shihi, surrounded by Imperial Dragon aura, looked like a god descending upon the world. A terrifying, crushing force erupted instantly. The rogue cultivators turned pale. That's the Dragon Sovereign art. Such a mysterious heavenly technique appearing in the lower realm? Unthinkable. Shihi's might swept the battlefield, invincible and divine. The palace guards, 6 fan gates, and divine Phoenix Guard all knelt in worship. Long live the Empress, they cried. Shihi stood amid starlight, golden dragons coiling around her in imperial majesty. She ruled the realm, suppressing rebellion. And yet, she wept. Tears fell like petals, evoking deep sorrow. Seeing her husband again filled her with warm emotions as she clutched his hand tightly. In that battle, she had revealed every trump card she had. But she knew, against the 6 powerful figures behind King Ning, she still had little protection. Thankfully, the 6 divine flame elders never showed up. Then bad news came from King Ning's scouting team. The bodies of the 6 divine flame elders had been found in the deep forest. King Ning's hopes of a turnaround were crushed. As he looked at Shihi's tens of thousands of elite soldiers surging from the city, he knew it was over. But as a feudal lord, she wouldn't surrender without resistance. She committed suicide. What she didn't know was that Ling Tianhong, who struck from the shadows, was quietly watching the whole thing unfold. This divine phoenix empress isn't bad at all. Her imperial aura pierced the heavens. If she develops properly, she might become the next Shi heavenly emperor. With this battle, Shi's name rang across the land. Even the elders of the 6 great sects were shaken. Even the reclusive ancestral elders of the royal clan took notice of her. After wrapping up the post-battle matters, Shi departed. That evening, Ling Tianhong returned home, only to find his graceful wife in plain clothes, staring forlornly at the gate. After a short silence, Ling Tianhong gently patted her hair and comforted her. "My dear, sorry to keep you waiting. Didn't expect the battle to end so quickly. With the city on alert, I couldn't get back right away. It's my fault, leaving you alone at home, scared and worried." Feeling that long-lost tenderness, Shiha could no longer hold back. "I'm not afraid of anything, except suddenly losing sight of you." As she spoke, her entire body trembled. She was afraid she might lose this battle today. Afraid she'd never see her husband again. "Don't worry, my wife. Official reports say Prince Ming's rebel army has been suppressed. We're safe now." With that, Ling Tianhong gently pulled his wife into his arms, silently vowing to destroy the 6 major sects. After his wife calmed down, Ling Tianhong couldn't help but tease. "You know, Her Majesty the Empress is quite impressive. Only 26, yet she's reached the 6th layer of divine fire, suppressing the rebels single-handedly." Hearing this, Shiha let out a small smile. "I think Her Majesty is pretty amazing too. We won't have to live in fear anymore." Inwardly, she was bursting with joy, praising herself without a hint of blush. "You're awful. Hearing my husband praise me like that, it's even more delightful than the flattery of those stuffy ministers." After some playful banter, the couple, in perfect sync, embraced and headed to the inner chambers. 2 hours later, at the dinner table, Ling Tianhong gently placed a meatball in his wife's bowl, while thinking he needed an excuse to leave the city, to wipe out the restless 6 major sects. In terms of marital harmony, these two are the ultimate model couple of today. To make it easier to leave and destroy the 6 major sects, Ling Tianhong requested a few days off from his wife, citing the need to gather materials. Shiha agreed without a second thought, as she planned to use this time to clean up the court and eliminate Prince Ning's remaining forces in the city. It was time to uproot them completely. Unaware of her plans, Ling Tianhong felt a pang of guilt. To make up for his wife's day of worry and fear, he offered to pamper her willingly. Shiha, hearing this, blushed and murmured shyly, "You're awful, thinking of teasing me before the dishes are even washed." But seeing her husband's playful expression, Shiha, in perfect sync, opened her arms to him. Ling Tianhong, like an eager monkey, scooped her into a full embrace. You smell amazing." His words sent Shia's heart racing. "You're awful. Haven't you smelled enough every day? That's nothing. I'll smell you for a lifetime." With that, he carried Shia toward the inner chambers, as if afraid she might slip away. As clothes were frantically tossed aside, let's just say this demon lord's technique was flawless, like flowing water. The next day, Ling Tianhong bid his wife farewell and headed out of the city. Shiha, worried for her husband, secretly sent several skilled experts to follow him. Unbeknownst to her, Ling Tianhong had already sensed their presence, but given the recent quelling of the rebellion, he understood the Empress's cautious approach. Amid their commotion, Ling Tianhong's figure vanished from their sight. The shadow guards were stunned. Where did he go? How did a frail scholar just disappear? Damn, it's like he's a ghost. At this, his companions erupted in frustration. What are you blabbering about? Hurry up and find him. If he gets hurt, our heads are on the line. Meanwhile, having shaken off his pursuers, Ling Tianhong, restored to his celestial immortal strength, instantly. The power of a celestial immortal is forbidden in the lower realms by the laws of nature. Using it would force an ascension to... But Ling Tianhong possessed the Hongmeng origin pearl, which could shield him from these laws, allowing him to wield celestial immortal power in the lower realms. His first stop today was the sect nestled in the mountains before him, Manhua Valley. Have you ever seen such a ruthless supreme of the 3 realms? To ensure an undisturbed life with his wife. 5 minutes later, Manhua Valley, with its 10,000-year legacy, would be utterly eradicated. At that moment, several charming female cultivators were playfully picking flower petals, unaware of a figure watching them with cold indifference. Suddenly, 2 female cultivators' faces turned icy. Drawing their swords, they shouted at Ling Tianhong in the distance. What male cultivator dares trespass in Manhua Valley's territory? Death without mercy. With that, they charged toward Ling Tianhong, swords raised. But their attacks elicited not a single expression from Ling Tianhong's face. With a resounding clang, the beautiful female cultivators were instantly turned into cold corpses. As the most terrifying demon lord in the history of the 3 realms, he had no trace of pity or mercy for his enemies. Soon, Ling Tianhong's figure teleported to Manhua Valley's Grand Hall. The disturbance he caused naturally alerted the sect's higher-ups. In an instant, the Valley Master at the peak of the real fire realm led 7 elders into the sky. Who dares cause trouble in our Manhua Valley? The Valley Master glared coldly at Ling Tianhong. The face was unfamiliar, so he sent a voice transmission to the elder. They confirmed they had never seen him before, assuming Ling Tianhong was just a rogue cultivator. Then Ling Tianhong spoke calmly. If Master Rose of Manhua Valley died in Fengqing City, would you choose to settle things peacefully, or go to war with the Tianfeng Empire over it? What? Rose is dead. Who dared kill someone from our Manhua Valley? Ling Tianhong's words exploded like a bomb, shocking everyone and filling the Valley Master with rage. Damn it! Was it the old dogs of the Phoenix Dynasty? How dare they show such blatant contempt for our sect? The elders echoed in agreement. We've long had enough of those geezers. Let's destroy them and support a new dynasty. Hearing this, Ling Tianhong already had his answer. It seems destroying the six sects today is... With a cold face, he declared it. Congratulations, you're first. How arrogant of you. You think you can destroy the six great sects? The Valley Master charged at him, sword in hand, intending to cut Ling Tianhong down in one strike. But Ling Tianhong said nothing. He simply raised his hand and struck lightly. In that instant, a terrifying, unfathomable power swept across Manhua Valley. With a deafening boom, the entire valley collapsed completely. The Valley Master, sensing danger, panicked. I can't move. What is this forbidden art? Even we can't escape it? How can someone so powerful be inside the phoenix nest? The woman collapsed to her knees and offered herself and her disciples for mercy. She begged the man before her to spare them. She clearly didn't understand who she was dealing with. Ling Tianhong smirked. Oh, I'll give you all one chance. If you can run, then run. Hearing this, tears ran down her face. You never planned to let us go. Before she could finish, a thunderous crash swallowed her. As the dust settled, Ling Tianhong looked at the time and said lightly, Next. Are you ready? With that, his figure vanished from the valley. Meanwhile, a carriage raced across snowy fields in the far north. The driver called out to the back, Young master, we're almost at the Black-White Dao Palace. A cheerful youth poked his head out of the carriage. Uncle Kuan, hold on. They say cultivation life is boring. Find me a pretty girl first. Let me enjoy myself one last time. Just then, a presence emerged. A figure appeared before the carriage. Who dares block my young master's way? Move it. The figure was none other than Ling Tianhong. He ignored their shouting and simply looked toward the palace nearby. Feeling ignored, the young man flew into a rage. Hey, you blind or something? Move. Do you know who you're blocking? Ling Tianhong replied softly. And who might you be? I'm the new inner disciple personally chosen by the Black-White Dao Palace. I'm about to rise to glory. Before he could finish, Ling Tianhong chuckled softly. That dream. I'm afraid you'll never achieve it. The youth's face darkened. Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me like that? Let me tell you. My granduncle is an elder of the Black-White Dao Palace. Offend me, and I'll have you thrown out at the entry trial. Ling Tianhong replied with a glance. So it's a family connection? But the Black-White Dao Palace won't be around much longer. How will you join it? With that, he vanished into the snowy field. Meanwhile, at the plaza before the Black-White Dao Palace, young men and women gathered for the entrance trial. They all longed to join the Black-White Dao Palace, to soar to success, and rise above others. On stage, a middle-aged elder looked down at the lively scene below, with a faint look of satisfaction. With these fresh recruits joining us, our Dao Palace's strength will rise to new heights. Just then, a muffled thunderclap suddenly boomed. Look at the sky. Someone's descending. Everyone on site looked up in unison. A figure bathed in radiant multicolored divine light appeared in the sky, descending like an immortal. That overwhelming aura left everyone stunned. He's coming in fierce, definitely not here for peace. This is the Black-White Dao Palace's territory, a place full of powerful masters. No matter how strong he is, he's looking for death, causing trouble here. That's a grave offense. Suddenly, a majestic voice rang out across the area. Princess. It's the princess's voice. All the disciples immediately grew excited. The Black-White princess descended atop a yin-yang light ring. But while everyone thought Ling Tianhong was about to be crushed, they didn't realize the princess was already panicking inside. Still, for the sake of the Dao Palace's legacy, she forced herself to remain calm. Outsider, your uninvited intrusion into our Black-White Dao Palace is quite discourteous. You're damaging our reputation. The chicken leg dropped, yet the empress remained unaware, quietly praying for her husband's safe return. She had even traveled west to learn a surprise skill for him. It took 2 days and left her exhausted, but it was all for Ling Tianhong. Perhaps their hearts were linked. Seeing the nervous princess and elders of the Black-White Dao Palace, Ling Tianhong chuckled softly. The Dao Palace is nearly done for. Why keep up the pointless formalities? With that, he spread his hands. A destructive force radiated from him like the end of the world. A massive palm slammed down toward the crowd. In an instant, mountains shattered. The princess and dozens of powerful elders were crushed on the spot, exploding into flames that scattered across the land. And this scene was witnessed by the stubborn youths who had come to seek apprenticeship. They were dumbfounded. Recalling what Ling Tianhong had told them on the road, they started to feel regret. At that moment, as he looked down at the ruins, Ling Tianhong smiled in satisfaction. All done. Then turning, he sighed. Ever since I got married, I've become too soft-hearted. To think I let those who disrupted our peace die so easily. Well then, eh? Should I just wipe out the other 4 sects too? With that, he formed a hand seal. Self-detonating clone art. Activate. Boom. Next second, 4 figures appeared out of thin air above his palm. Each of you, go blow up 1 sect. And remember, make it grand, like I used to do. Upon hearing this, the 4 figures shot off in different directions. Mei Society, Heavenly Dragon Hall, Wuji Sect, and 2 other sects were each lit up by brilliant firework like blasts. Watching his handiwork, Ling Tianhong looked quite pleased. With that, the 6th sect problem is solved. Time to head to Black Flame City for supplies. Then head home. Thinking of his wife's unique way of welcoming him, Ling Tianhong's smug grin emerged again. Then he skipped off to the next destination. Meanwhile, in the Divine Phoenix Palace, the Empress lay back, bored, idly swinging her feet. Her husband had only just, and already she was feeling anxious and unsettled. She wondered when he would return from Black Flame City. Days without her husband were simply too dull. Just then, a voice startled the Empress, making her jump up. What's the panic about? Come in. At that moment, Marquis Huan Tian bowed nervously. Your Majesty, something terrible has happened. Something huge. Just how bored must the Empress be to master the art of playing with a calligraphy brush to this level? But seeing Wang Tian's bitter face, her boredom turned to rage. Why are you stammering? Speak clearly already. Now. The shout startled Huan Tian, and he nearly dropped the file. Reporting to your Majesty, the 6 great sects have been wiped out in a single day. Each one triggered a shift in heaven and earth, and all imperial spies have lost contact. The Empress's heart trembled. To unleash such might, it must be a true immortal. She waved her hand for Huan Tian to leave, and pondered how to respond. Though she had just awakened divine power, and was progressing rapidly, there was still a large gap between her and a true immortal. The more she thought about it, the more afraid she felt. To destroy the 6 sects in an instant, was it to warn Tianfeng Nest? If one day he decides to slap my kingdom out of boredom, won't my husband and I die together? Even if we reincarnate, who knows how long before we meet again? She felt utterly wronged. I don't want to be separated from my husband. What do I do? What should I do now? Meanwhile, Ling Tianhong, unaware, had destroyed the sects to stop them from disturbing Fingjing's peace, so his wife could be at ease. But ironically, it only pushed her to the edge of fear. By now, he had arrived at Black Flame City. After sealing his powers, he hummed as he prepared to buy some sandalwood and return. The thought of seeing his wife soon filled him with giddy anticipation. Just then, fighting sounds erupted behind him. He glanced back with disinterest. Just some profound realm brats brawling. Getting involved would only waste precious seconds. Better to stay out of trouble. Don't want his wife suffering from lovesickness. As he turned to leave, a figure shot past from behind. He turned and saw a girl clutching her wounded arm, struggling to stand. She was clearly injured. But when he saw what she held, his eyes narrowed. That owl. Before he could think more, an energy blast flew at the girl. With a thunderous boom, a figure emerged from the dust. Little girl, give up quietly, or we'll break your limbs and toss you in a vat. Your beauty will be lost forever. Her power had nearly run dry. But she refused to surrender. I have a blood feud with you. You want to catch me? Dream on. She tightened her grip on the jade owl, prepared to go down with her enemies. But little did she know, Ling Tianhong had seen everything. That owl, wasn't that the jade owl? A gift I gave to my 7th brother 10,000 years ago. Could she be a descendant of the Ling family? 10,000 years ago she awakened as the 3rd young master of the Ling family. But when long-lost relatives appeared, she always kept her distance. After all, she wasn't truly him. To escape that discomfort, she left on a solitary cultivation journey. Fortunately, luck favored her. While relieving herself, she discovered a rare treasure, the primordial chaos pearl. With it, her cultivation soared. Thanks to the pearl, she advanced rapidly. In just 5 years, she reached the longevity realm, becoming the strongest in South State, even reaching the threshold of immortal ascension. It's only been a mere 100 years, with a life full of cheats. Her legends were spread everywhere in Xiantian Jade 10,000 years ago. The name of immortal Lord Ling echoed across the heavens and earth. But before ascending, Ling Tianhong still returned to the Ling family in Maple Leaf City. He first paid respects to the original parents of this body, then left behind a treasure for the Ling descendants, a celestial artifact unseen at the to ensure the Ling clan's fortune in the southern state for 10,000 years. And this fifth-grade artifact, Jade Owl, was a personal gift to the brother-in-law he was closest to in the Ling family. Thinking of this, Ling Tianhong let out a heavy sigh. Since she's a descendant of the Ling family, and we happen to meet, I'll save her life. At this moment, several cultivators were approaching her with ill intentions. The girl's face was full of anger and unwillingness. Am I really going to die here today? The Ling family, which dominated the southern state for nearly 10,000 years, is it really going to vanish like this? I refuse to accept this. But the trace of helplessness on her face left her confused. The men were now circling her with ill intent. Such a lovely beauty, would be a pity not to do something. The others immediately chimed in. Bro, you said exactly what we were all thinking, just as they were laughing wickedly. A cold voice rang out. 6 little rats dare lay hands on a member of the Ling clan? Do you have a death wish? Being interrupted, they looked annoyed. In the next second, Ling Tianhong appeared before them. At this moment, although he had sealed his cultivation and had become an ordinary person, the aura of righteousness in him could not be hidden. The leader couldn't help but mock. Thought it was reinforcements? Turns out to be a weak scholar. Kid, trying to play hero to save the beauty? At least weigh your strength first. You've just offended 6 profound realm cultivators. That's quite a serious consequence. Another man sneered after hearing that. Stop wasting time with him. Interrupting my fun? I'll take care of you. As he spoke, he moved to strike. Die, brat. Remember, next life, don't act tough without strength. But just as his blade came down, a figure suddenly appeared and blocked his attack. The man was enraged upon seeing it was the girl. Overestimating yourself like a man is blocking a chariot. Truly delusional. But the girl's face was full of determination. As long as I have a breath left, I won't let you kill the innocent. Get lost. With a sudden flick, she pushed the man back. Then she coughed up blood and shielded Ling Tianhong with her body. Young master. Ling Yun accepts your kindness. Please run now. After saying that, she stared forward with resolve. Ling Yun, you can't even protect yourself. And still trying to save your lover? In that case, let me send you 2 off myself. Wouldn't that be best? Hearing that made Ling Tianhong's face darken. He reached out and patted Ling Yun on the shoulder. He spoke softly. Stand back. Then he walked forward with a grim face. Since you're all eager to die, I won't give you time to leave any last words. As he spoke, though his aura had no fluctuations, a terrifying force surged forth and covered the entire forest. With a sharp sound, it exploded. In an instant, under the shockwave of that mysterious force, the men screamed in terror on the spot. Ling Yun was stunned. 6 profound realm cultivators, wiped out just like that. What kind of power is this? Thinking that, he fell to his knees with a thud. Thank you, senior, for saving me. Ling Yun will never forget it. At that moment, Ling Tianhong spoke calmly. What is Ling Ju to you? Ling Yun was shocked. Though he didn't know why the man asked about his ancestor, he still respectfully replied. Ling Yun was startled. Although he was puzzled why the man would suddenly ask about his ancestor, he still replied respectfully. Ling Ju was the ancestor of Ling Yun from 10,000 years ago. This gradeless artifact has been passed down from our ancestor for generations. As he spoke, a suspicion crept into his heart. Could this person know Ancestor Ling Ju? That's impossible. Ancestor Ling Ju lived 10,000 years ago. Ling Tianhong nodded upon hearing this. He does have the bloodline aura of my old wife within him, though it's already very faint. As he spoke, he gently waved his hand. A celestial force instantly lifted. After confirming no hostility, Ling Tianhong asked, just now those people said, killing you would mean the end of the Ling family? What was that about? He was filled with doubt. Back then, he left behind celestial energy within the Taiwan Bell, which could suppress fate and protect the Ling family. Only a celestial could break it, but there shouldn't be any celestials in the southern region. How could the Ling family have declined like this? At that moment, Ling Yun suddenly choked with grief. I'm the only one left in the Ling family. Father is dead. Mother is dead. Grandpa, my uncle's entire family, my other uncle's family. They were all killed by people from Lingxian Holy Land. Seeing the girl cry her heart out, full of grievance, Ling Tianhong was at a loss. But one thing's for sure, those people won't stay arrogant for long. Seeing the helpless grief on the girl's face, Ling Tianhong became furious. A surge of killing intent burst out of him uncontrollably, making the girl tremble in fear. With a scream, she instinctively staggered backward. Fortunately, Ling Tianhong reacted quickly. He flashed forward and caught the girl in his arms. She calmed herself down and asked softly, what exactly happened? That led to the Ling family's annihilation. Though still confused, the girl began explaining what happened back then. It was 500 years ago. At the time, the Ling family was the most powerful clan in southern state. It was a joyful union for both sides. But unexpectedly, during a Ling family external mission, Ling Hong was killed in battle. His wife Ling Ruyue couldn't bear the loss. She blamed his death entirely on the Ling family's eternal clan rules. Under her influence, her young son Ling Yi also grew to hate the Ling family. But at that time, facing the mighty Ling family, revenge was nearly impossible. Then, by chance, Ling Ryue discovered that the Ling family possessed a legendary celestial energy. So, Ling Ryue gave in to evil thoughts. As the daughter of the Lingxian Holy Emperor, she joined forces with him and plotted for years. But since the Taiwan Bell only recognized Ling blood, they used her son Ling Yi to seize it. To prevent the celestial energy from returning to the Ling family, the Lingxian Holy Emperor. At this point, a trace of helplessness appeared on Ling Lingyun's face. Since then, the Lingxian Holy Emperor rose to power, and no one in the southern region dared speak up for the Ling family. In the end, only our family was left to flee and survive in hiding. 500 years passed like this. We thought we finally had a safe place to live. But 3 years ago, we were still found by the Lingxian Holy Emperor's people to protect me. My parents all died in that battle, carrying the last look of determination in my father's eyes. I must avenge the Ling family. And so I lived on in hiding. At this point, the grief and guilt on Ling Lingyun's face turned to falling tears. Ling Tianhong's face, too, was icy cold, though he had no deep ties to the Ling family. As the third son of the clan, he had to reclaim this honor for them. Sensing the killing aura on Ling Tianhong, Ling Lingyun gazed at him with longing. Senior, are you a member of the Ling family? The man unintentionally struck a profound pose. The girl nearby blushed, and her heart began to race. She even felt a sudden urge to join his future harem. If the Empress found out about this, Ling Tianhong would surely be punished by his wife, having to serve her obediently for half a month. At that moment, he noticed something off about the girl. His face showed a trace of confusion. Then suddenly, he reached out and touched her forehead. This made him frown. She's burning up. Why is her blood and energy suddenly surging? Her inner state has become chaotic. Hearing this, Ling Lingyun was so startled that he took 2 steps back in panic. And no, it's nothing. He quickly changed the subject and said, by the way, senior, may I ask what your seniority is in the Ling family? Seniority doesn't matter. Come with me to Lingxian Holy Land to avenge the Ling family. Hearing this, Ling Lingyun's face changed drastically. Senior, that's too reckless. Lingxian Holy Land is now the #1 holy land in the southern state. It's full of experts. If we go there rashly, I'm afraid we won't gain anything good. Besides, they even have the Taiwan Bell imbued with immortal energy. Before he could finish, Ling Tianhong suddenly grabbed his flailing hand. Is that so? Then today I'll show you how overwhelming force can destroy crossbows in a snap. With that said, he didn't hesitate. In a flash, he brought Ling Lingyun up into the air. Due to the incredible speed, Ling Lingyun's frightened screams echoed through the air. Say, senior, what kind of ride is this? Can we slow down a bit? Hearing this, Ling Tianhong shook his head. If not for the fact that people in this lower realm can't handle spatial teleportation, why would I resort to sword flight? We better hurry. Otherwise, my wife will be worried waiting at home. Soon after, the two crossed millions of miles. They finally saw a palace nestled between 2 giant mountains. It was Lingxian Holy Land. At that moment, the ride came to a sudden stop. Ling Lingyun collapsed weakly to the ground. That speed, it nearly took my life. Looking at the palace ahead, Ling Lingyun couldn't help but smile with joy. After hundreds of years, can we finally get justice for the Ling family today? As he was feeling emotional, a booming sound came from within the Holy Land. A terrifying pressure instantly swept across hundreds of miles of land. It worked. Haha, it finally worked. The Holy Lord has finally refined the Taiwan Bell, an excited voice shouted. The two couldn't help but smile. Inside the Holy Land, countless disciples gathered in the Grand Central Plaza. They all knelt respectfully toward the inner hall. Their faces were filled with unspeakable. There hasn't been a longevity Taoist in the southern state for nearly 1,000 years. The last one to break through to the longevity realm was the ancestor of the Tianlong dynasty, Tianlong Taoist. Now that our Holy Lord has reached the longevity realm, Lingxian Holy Land finally has the qualifications to stand on equal footing with the Tianlong dynasty. It's said the Tianlong Taoist has less than 100 years of life left. When that time comes, our Lingxian Holy Land shall dominate the southern state. Outside, Ling Lingyun was thunderstruck. He couldn't believe it. The longevity realm. That's the strongest existence in all of southern state. Ling Tianhong came to Lingxian Holy Land to avenge the girl. But the girl couldn't feel happy at all, because at this moment, a longevity realm expert had appeared in the Holy Land. As a powerful aura surged, a man radiating with green light walked out from the Holy Land. It was none other than the current Holy Lord of Lingxian. At that moment, he sensed the aura on his body. None of the past Holy Lords were able to refine the Taiwan Bell. Some even practiced forbidden techniques, only to end up dying from backlash. But unexpectedly, for me, by merging the last drop of Ling bloodline, I finally got the Taiwan Bell to recognize its master and reach the longevity realm. As he spoke, he suddenly flashed into the sky above the plaza. Seeing the Holy Lord appear, countless disciples in the plaza cheered loudly. Congratulations to the Holy Lord for attaining longevity. Moments later, he waved his hand toward the disciples below. Now that I have broken into the longevity realm and refined the Taiwan Bell, there is no one left in the Blue Mirror region who can match me. To show off my might, I hereby convene the Immortal Viewing Assembly. It's time to demonstrate the power of my Lingxian Holy Land. Upon hearing this, all the disciples erupted in cheers. Glory to the Holy Lord, unmatched across the 4 seas. But just then, a cold and slightly amused voice echoed throughout the Holy Land. Lingxian brat, your dream of ruling the southern will end today. Today, I will have the lives of everyone in your Lingxian Holy Land as vengeance for the Ling family. As he spoke, a flash of red light surged. Ling Tianhong and Ling Lingyun appeared before the crowd. The Lingxian Holy Lord's face turned sour. He had just broken through and barely had time to celebrate, before getting doused in cold water. In an instant, a murderous aura burst from his body. Who are you people? To stir up trouble on the day of my emergence? Do you have a death wish? As he spoke, a nearby elder suddenly interrupted. Holy Lord, that woman in light robes is the last remnant of the Ling family. Ling Lingyun. Hearing this, the Lingxian Holy Lord's expression turned frosty. So, a Ling family remnant? You came here to walk right into our trap? At that moment, Ling Lingyun also noticed the elder. Her eyes turned blood red as she pointed at him and screamed, You bastard! You killed my parents. This is a blood feud that cannot coexist. Hearing this, the elder burst into loud laughter. So what if I did it? You're just a little girl at the 4th stage of the Dongxian realm, and you think you can take revenge? In this lifetime? Not a chance. Seeing the smug face of her enemy, Ling Lingyun clenched her fists tightly, her face full of fury and hatred. At that moment, Ling Tianhong turned to her and said, You really want to kill him? Yes, very much so. But then she looked a little helpless, because with her current strength alone, she wasn't his match at all. If you give me 20 years, I swear. Before she could finish, she saw Ling Tianhong's comforting smile. No need to wait that long. You can strike now. Just then, the Lingxian Holy Lord cut in. Young man, you would meddle in my affairs for a mere Ling family remnant? Do you really think it's worth it? There was arrogance in his tone, but at his words, Ling Tianhong only smirked coldly. A mere Lingxian sect? Where did you get the guts to threaten me? With that, she placed a hand on Ling Lingyun's shoulder. In the next instant, Ling Lingyun trembled violently. A burning sensation surged through her, followed by a majestic energy, comparable to that of a divine flame cultivator. In that moment, a pressure unique to divine flame cultivators burst out from her body. Tears welled in the girl's eyes, filled with despair. Her enemy was right in front of her, yet she was powerless to avenge her parents. But the moment Ling Tianhong's palm touched her shoulder, a surge of heat coursed through her body. In that instant, the pressure of divine flame erupted. Sensing this power, all the disciples in Lingxian Holy Land were stunned as they looked at her. Even the proud Holy Lord was shocked. She stared at Ling Tianhong below with fear. Deep inside, she couldn't comprehend who he truly was. To elevate someone from the Dongxian realm to divine flame in an instant. But sadly, no one would give her an answer. And now, as Ling Lingyun felt the dense energy in her body, she dropped to her knees before Ling Tianhong. Lingyun, thanks Senior for your gift of power. Hearing this, Ling Tianhong nodded and gently said, Go on, avenge your parents. Ling Lingyun respectfully cupped her fists, then turned and pointed her jade-like hand forward. Old bastard Jean, today I'll take your head to honor my parents' spirits. Prepare to die. Upon hearing this, the elder standing 5 meters away let out a sinister sneer. Such arrogance. You think with that borrowed 5th-level divine firepower you can take my life? But before she could finish, a swoosh was heard. Ling Lingyun suddenly appeared in the air above her. At the same time, the jade owl in her hand activated. A wave of brilliant green energy shot toward the elder. The elder was taken aback. She hadn't expected the girl to attack so boldly. She let out a shout, and with a loud bang, swung her longsword toward Ling Lingyun. But the moment their attacks collided, she suddenly sensed something was wrong. Her attack as a veteran divine fire cultivator failed to break through the opponent's defense. She gritted her teeth and prepared to use her famous green light sword technique. Her sword suddenly became wrapped in green light. Her whole body was enveloped in countless sword auras. Letting you escape back then was the greatest disgrace of my life. But today, I'll personally send you to see your parents. She swung her sword horizontally at Ling Lingyun. Sensing the attack, Ling Lingyun raised both arms to defend. But she had no time to fully digest the energy within her. Facing the elder's full force strike, she stood no chance. As expected, she was struck by a sword aura. Ling Lingyun spat out a mouthful of blood in pain. At this sight, the elder burst into laughter. Ha. At this moment, Ling Lingyun had exhausted her final strength. Her face was full of despair. She was unwilling. She had received such power from her senior, but still found the gap between herself and her enemy too great. Damn it, am I really going to disappoint my senior? The man unintentionally saved a girl and discovered she was his only descendant after 10,000 years. To help her seek revenge, he infused a wisp of celestial power. In an instant, her power jumped 2 levels to the 5th stage of the divine fire realm. Yet even so, she was still defeated by a veteran. Her heart was filled with helplessness and guilt toward Ling Tianhong, who nurtured her. Just then, a calm voice sounded in her ear. Lingyun, don't panic. Close your eyes and feel carefully. As he spoke, Ling Tianhong snapped his fingers. In the next moment, Lingyun's whole body trembled. A terrifying will surged into her mind. A powerful spell was being played out. Before she could react, the technique split into 2 streams of light and entered her eyes. Moments later, because all of this occurred in her spiritual sea, from the outside, she appeared like a defenseless prey, lying limp on the ground. The elder's face was full. Giving up already? Then let me end your suffering. Make it quick and painless. She raised her sword, ready to finish Lingyun. But at that very moment, a golden light suddenly shot into Lingyun's forehead. She then revealed a cold smile from deep within her soul. The elder tried to back off, but it was too late. With an explosion, her body was blasted away by the energy. She couldn't believe it. She had just felt a fear that shook her soul. Lingyun stared coldly at the elder. Old hag, your time is up. She raised the jade owl and began to play. The tune started out elegant, but in midair, it transformed into a vast and terrifying force. As the power condensed, a massive phoenix apparition began to form in the sky. Countless disciples stared up in shock. Even the elder was full of fear. Only Ling Tianhong looked amused. Something I used to make soup, and now it's being used to show off in the lower realm? Kill! With Lingyun's shout, the vivid phoenix illusion lunged toward the elder. The elder was shocked, but she wasn't ready to give up just yet. With that, she leapt into the air, gathering all her power as she charged toward the phoenix projection. She was ready to make her final stand. But clearly, she had underestimated the phoenix's might. The instant the 2 forces collided, her all-out divine flame-level strike was instantly shattered, dissolving into dust. Seeing this, tears that Lingyun had held back for so long streamed down her face. Grandfather, father, mother, you can finally rest in peace. Lingyun has avenged you. Then her body collapsed helplessly to the ground. As she stared at the sky slowly returning to blue, a smile of genuine relief appeared on her face for the first time in years. As a demon lord, she was not only terrifyingly powerful, but also theatrically boastful. In her own words, I'm invincible. Do as you please. If that fails, I'll snap my fingers and end you. But no. Just after Lingyun exhausted herself to slay a divine flame foe, avenging her parents, she barely had 2 minutes of rest when an old man from the Xinjie realm launched a sneak attack. Would Ling Tianhong just stand by? After consoling Lingyun, she turned with a wicked smile toward the old man. What's up, old man? You trying to ascend or something? She's just avenging her family. What are you jumping in for? As she spoke, she flicked her finger lightly. The Xinjie expert didn't even have time to react. Before being blasted into a pile of flesh, watching Ling Tianhong's casual demeanor, everyone was stunned. The Grand Elder was just gone? Isn't this person way too terrifying? Out of curiosity, Lingyun timidly asked, Senior, what level are you really? At that, Ling Tianhong smiled mysteriously. Little girl, don't be too curious. Knowing the truth might be bad for your heart. Meanwhile, the Lingxian Holy Lord, who hadn't said a word, was now in full-blown panic. She just wanted to go home to her mom. But speaking of which, as the revered leader of tens of thousands of disciples, she had no choice but to step forward and sacrifice herself. Who knows, maybe she could win. After all, she still had an artifact she hadn't used yet. Thinking of this, she immediately puffed herself up. Please allow me to prepare a grand technique, because I really want to kill you. Hearing this, Ling Tianhong chuckled. Sure. Go ahead. I'll chat with this girl in the meantime. She said this without even glancing at the Holy Lord gathering her power. But as she turned, she noticed Lingyun's worried expression. The girl signaled for her to quickly stop the spell. Ling Tianhong shrugged, gesturing for her not to worry. I actually want to see what trick she's got up. By the way, you got so flustered earlier. Did you sense something? Senior, you must be extra careful. Immortal protocols? Now that sounds interesting. She smiled thoughtfully. All right, let's talk after it's over. Right now, let's enjoy this performance from the Holy Lord. Meanwhile, the Lingxian Holy Lord was starting to feel smug again. As she chanted her spell, Abu Eater, she raised both hands, summoning the glowing golden. Seeing the Holy Lord's grand display, countless disciples dropped to their knees, chanting praises of her divine might and holy power. Now empowered by immortal energy, the Lingxian Holy Lord grew bolder. Hara, all beneath immortals are ants. Even against an immortal, I can go 1 for 1. This feeling. Mom, fetch my detective cape. Just as she got smug, Ling Tianhong spoke. Feeling ecstatic, aren't you? Feeling like you're invincible now, huh? like you could punch down every brat with one hit. And the world is all yours, Sage Emperor Ling Xian. Hearing that, the Holy Lord of Ling Xian lost his composure. But then, Ling Tianhong continued. Don't speak yet. I get it. I've walked that path myself. He glanced to the side at the bitter-faced Holy Lord. All right, now you may speak. He wanted to show off a bit more. But Ling Tianhong really went too far. Forget it. Then just go die. He tried to use the Tai Wang bell to smash Ling Tianhong. But he didn't know. The Tai Wang bell was actually trembling in fear. He had thought that by reaching the pure longevity realm and owning the Tai Wang bell, he was now invincible. But after meeting someone like Ling Tianhong, his worldview crumbled. Now he was so angry he just wanted to smash Ling Tianhong with the bell. But then, with a loud boom, the Tai Wang bell obediently rested in Ling. The Holy Lord was stunned. He realized he had lost his connection with the Tai Wang bell. He shouted in anger, "You dare, Tai Wang bell! I am your master. Why won't you obey me? Do you believe I won't destroy your spirit?" Hearing this, Ling Tianhong chuckled. How amusing. You think you can use this to fight me? Shut up. Right after the scolding, the Tai Wang bell looked unhappy. The Holy Lord quickly switched to a flattering tone. Tai Wang bell, I wasn't scolding you. Don't be mad, okay? If you have any requests, just tell me in private. I'll do anything for you. But the Tai Wang bell didn't respond. Looking at the Holy Lord fawning like that, Ling Tianhong felt a bit sorry for him. Little bell, such a good master. Are you really not going to respond? He even poked the Tai Wang bell on the head. Seeing that, the Holy Lord cried out, Don't bully my Tai Wang bell. Little bell, what do you want exactly? You were all obedient just yesterday. Why fall apart now? But as he said that, the Tai Wang bell stuck its tongue out at him in contempt. The Holy Lord was furious. Throwing a tantrum, are you? Believe it or not, I'll destroy your spirit stone right now. Just because I treasure you doesn't mean I won't act. He began to cast a spell. I'll count to 3. If you still don't return, our friendship is over. 2.5. 2.6. But the Tai Wang bell still had no intention of responding, which only made Ling Tianhong more entertained. Even Ling Yun and the disciples nearby felt a little awkward. As for the Holy Lord, his whole body trembled with despair. After enduring inhuman trials and risking his life, he finally tamed the Tai Wang bell. And before he could show off, the immortal spirit inside had already rebelled. Thinking of this, he cried. His voice was hoarse and full of helplessness. Little bell, have you forgotten everything we've been through? We were inseparable. All the times we endured together meant nothing to you? Those joyful memories we shared, the good times we spent together, the laughter and bonds we built, formed a spirit contract bond between us, binding us as one. Have you really so easily cast it all aside like aluminum shavings? Hearing that, even the Tai Wang bell couldn't help but show a trace of reluctance. Then suddenly, with a tie, it lunged toward the Holy Lord of Ling Xian. Even Ling Tianhong was stunned by this move. The sturdy Holy Lord broke into a delighted grin. Little bell, I knew you still cared about me. He also rushed to meet the Tai Wang bell's charge. But the next second, the Tai Wang bell abruptly turned and ran. The excited Holy Lord ended up diving into empty air. With a loud thud, his body landed right in front of Ling Tianhong. His face was full of confusion. Looking over, the Tai Wang bell was acting all cutesy toward Ling Tianhong. As the demon lord, he could crush major holy lands without a blink. But when it came to a girl's tears, he panicked like a lost child. He didn't know what to say to comfort them. Previously, after getting played by both Ling Tianhong and the Tai Wang bell, the Holy Lord of Ling Xian nearly lost it. He even tried using the solar racing curse to destroy the bell's spirit stone. As he said, if you won't obey me or honor our bond, then let's all just perish together. Total destruction. Sensing its spirit stone being tampered with, the Tai Wang bell panicked. It clutched its head and wailed incessantly. Seeing this, Ling Tianhong calmly told it not to fear. He didn't want to drag this out. It's the new year, and he hadn't gone home yet. He wasn't sure if his wife would even open the door. With that, he used the soul-severing pact and snapped the threads from the Tai Wang bell's forehead with a flick. With a loud pop, a 1,000-year bond was instantly shattered into fragments. As expected, the Holy Lord, due to his secret technique, suffered a backlash. His body trembled slightly. He couldn't believe someone had the strength to forcibly sever a soul-blood contract. Ling Tianhong said proudly, I'm guessing none of you have seen the Tai Wang bell's true power. Then use your lives as the ticket to this grand show. Under his control, the Tai Wang bell regained its divine light and radiance. Its size began to swell rapidly, until it covered all of Ling Xian Holy Land. Everyone was stunned. The oppressive aura filled them with fear. With Ling Tianhong's shout, shatter, a terrifying energy instantly flooded the entire Holy Land. Despair was written across countless faces. They tried to run, but the Tai Wang bell's force already engulfed everything. In less than a song's time, they and the entire... Looking at the trembling Ling Yun beside him, Ling Tianhong gently comforted her. Don't be afraid. It's all over now. Only then did Ling Yun come to her senses, realizing the majestic Holy Land of moments ago was now a pile of ruins. Her eyes began to well up with tears. Her sudden sob startled Ling Tianhong. Hey, what are you doing? Come on, not during the new year. Ling Yun wiped her tears and admitted she lost composure. But still, to finally avenge a 500-year-old grudge, who could keep their emotions in check? Hearing this, Ling Tianhong sighed, then raised his hand and summoned the Tai Wang bell back. He handed it to Ling Yun directly. As the last descendant of the Ling family, this thing is yours now. But remember, don't reveal it until you reach the longevity realm. Avoid unnecessary disaster. Though he was once a top-tier figure in all three realms, the man chose to be a humble carpenter for his wife, as he always said. He'd rather. Ling Tianhong wielded the Tai Wang bell and blasted Lingxian Holy Land into ruins. Before he left, he passed the Tai Wang bell to Ling Yun. The reason? Though it's a powerful divine item, it's useless to me, but in your hands, it can once again unleash its former glory. Ling Yun was truly overjoyed by this. Thinking of her duty to restore the glory of the Ling family, she gladly accepted. She then began the blood contract ritual with the Tai Wang bell. In the next moment, the Tai Wang bell radiated blinding golden light. Before Ling Yun could react, that golden light surged straight into her chest. After a brief pause, Ling Yun patted her chest and said with a rosy face, "Senior, the Tai Wang bell seems to have entered my body." Ling Tianhong nodded. 10,000 years ago, to prevent future generations of the Ling family from abusing its power, he had left only the bell's defensive and fate-suppressing functions active. Everything else had been sealed, but with the family in ruins, he had now unsealed it, hoping to protect this girl from harm. With that thought, he clapped his hands, then handed her a spatial ring. Here are some resources. Use them to help rebuild the Ling family. This raid on Lingxian Holy Land had yielded him quite a bit of treasure. He decided to set some aside to bring back to that useless divine Phoenix Empress. Once her power increased, he and his wife could finally enjoy a peaceful life. In 100 years, he would find a way to help her reach perfection and ascend to the upper realm, so they could continue their life as immortals together. Just thinking about it made him a little excited. With that thought, she said goodbye to Ling Yun and vanished with a flash. Left behind, Ling Yun looked a little downcast. She didn't know if she would ever see Ling Tianhong again, but determination lit her face. Not long after, she arrived alone at a crumbling old residence, the ancestral home of the Ling family. Its former splendor was gone, replaced by loneliness and forgotten ancestral tablets. As she carefully wiped one of the tablets, a small stream beside her caught her attention. There, a scroll. She opened it and froze at the image inside. It was a portrait of Ling Tianhong. The revered ancestor even called him third uncle. Then that means he. The more she thought, the less she dared to believe. Clutching the scroll, she sprinted off in the direction he had left. She had to get answers, but she didn't know that in the very spot where they had parted, two figures had suddenly appeared. Annihilation in a breath. What a catastrophe this was. The old man suddenly looked shocked. That's immortal energy. The southern state's top holy land was destroyed by immortal energy. Upon hearing this, the younger man's breathing quickened. Old Qing, I must obtain that immortal energy. Even with her powerful background, immortal energy is something she would crave too. The old man was startled. He never expected his young master to have such a thought. After all, even he wouldn't dare claim he could withstand its dangers. The man sighed. Fine. Once we return, I'll ask father to send some experts to plan accordingly. Then he smirked darkly. Bai Yuan, the one I've set my eyes on. You think you can run? He casually threw a ring, only to hit the empress, who was quietly cultivating, and he made her cry. She looked like a child who'd had her candy stolen. It turned out that not long ago, when Ling Tianhong passed by a tavern in his carriage, he happened to encounter his secret shadow guards who had been following him. From their expressions, they were clearly still blaming themselves for being ditched. Ling Tianhong was quite touched by their dedication. To show his apology, he gave them a few bottles of pills as thanks. But he could never have imagined his quiet destruction of 6 sects in Lingxian Holy Land had plunged the land into panic. Some small sects were even disbanding, just to avoid the fallout. Even the empress was no longer calm. Now, all she wanted was to train harder, to grow stronger. At the same time, she silently prayed that her husband would return safe and sound. Little did they know, Ling Tianhong was already close to home inside Fongjing City. At that moment, he suddenly pulled out a golden glowing ring. With a flick of his hand, the ring shot several kilometers away into the palace depths. Divine Phoenix Empress, I'm giving you the foundation of Lingxian Holy Land. So do me a favor. Don't make me keep acting like your free janitor. Meanwhile, deep in the palace, the Empress was fully immersed in her cultivation. But after just one cycle, before she could even enjoy the flow of true essence, a flying object smashed her down, rubbing her forehead. The Empress looked utterly baffled. Then she flew into a rage, leaping up with fists swinging. Who dares attack your Empress? But glancing around, she sensed nothing unusual. She activated her divine stone, but even with its coverage across the entire palace, she found no trace of an intruder. Damn it, I just made a breakthrough. And still got ambushed. This is absurd. Whoever you are, don't let me catch you. She instinctively touched her forehead, and the next second, she clutched her head and cried in frustration. Mama, that really hurt. Suddenly her pupils widened. She noticed a spatial ring lying in front of her. Without hesitation, she injected divine energy into it, seeing the pile of glowing treasures and pills inside. Her gorgeous face was instantly filled with shock. These cultivation resources are far more and higher grade than the entire Phoenix Empires. Who sent this to me? Her jaw dropped wide, as if it wasn't real. Then she sighed softly. Oh well. Since it's given out, not accepting it would seem rude. With these resources, my cultivation will soar, and with the surplus, I can train my own elite force. Just then, Blood Phoenix reported, Your Majesty, she has returned. The Empress beamed with joy. It had been so long. She had missed her dearly. And now, joy overflowed from her face. That scoundrel of a husband left me all alone for days, and now he finally comes back. Night, I'll make him a proper dinner. Just as she was rejoicing, Princess Wolfing walked in with a lunchbox. Sister, I heard brother-in-law is back. Finally you're smiling again. The Empress smiled. Your brother-in-law is back, so I can't stay in the palace with you tonight. Why are you happy about that? The girl grinned. As long as you're happy, sister. I'm happy too. They say brief separation sweetens reunion. Ling Tianhong and his wife were apart for just 3 days and reunited with a 5-hour bath together. Afterwards, they still wanted to dine together. Just earlier, hearing of her husband's return, the Empress instantly turned into a love-struck woman, begging to go home and spoil her husband. As for Princess Woofing, she was genuinely happy for her sister. Ever since the 6 sects were crushed, her sister hadn't smiled for days. Secretly, she had felt guilty about not being able to help her sister. Luckily, her brother-in-law turned out to be quite reliable. He had cleared away most of her sister's troubles. The Empress was grateful, stroking her sister's forehead, and told her to focus on her cultivation in the palace. Then she picked up the gift box, greeted her sister, and hurried off to see her husband. Watching her sister rush away like that, Princess Woofing felt a bit down. I'm really envious that brother-in-law could marry such a wonderful woman like my sister. I'm even starting to feel jealous of her. She muttered in frustration, hands on her slim waist and lips pouting. Meanwhile, Ing Tianhong had already gotten off the carriage and was walking home. Before even knocking, she impatiently started calling out for her beloved wife. As the door was pushed open, a long-missed, beautiful figure leapt toward her. The two embraced. Just one word, I'm back, broke the Empress's composure. That blissful look completely erased the dignified presence she had in court. My dear, is everything well at home? Her concern only made the Empress feel more aggrieved. It's been awful without you here. Ing Tianhong's gaze shifted to the bump on her wife's forehead, and her expression darkened. My love, where did that bruise on your forehead come from? She clenched her fists. Which bastard dared to lay a hand on my wife? Unbeknownst to her, that very bastard was actually herself. Yet she still wore a smiling face. My dear wife, after such a tiring journey my back and shoulders ache so badly. How about a little back rub? Maybe a shoulder massage too? The Empress blushed, but still softly agreed. Not long after, Ing Tianhong lay in the jade bath, feeling utterly relaxed. At that moment, a graceful silhouette approached slowly from behind the curtain. She had come in person, just like that. Moments later, muffled moans echoed softly outside the room. Meanwhile, the 2 old guards who had just returned from New Year break resumed their post outside. As the sky darkened, the Empress's gentle voice floated out. My love, we've been soaking here for hours now. If we stay any longer, the food I prepared will go cold. Hearing that, Ing Tianhong flashed a mischievous grin. She immediately grabbed her wife's hand. Well then, let me carry you to dinner, my dear wife. The moment she saw her wife, he already wanted to cuddle. Though his wife didn't refuse, she inexplicably looked at him with a pitiful expression. The man was startled. Just as he was about to ask, he pointed to the bump on her head and burst into tears. Ing Tianhong couldn't hold it in. She gritted her teeth and cursed, Bastard, if I find out who hurt my wife, I'll cut him into pieces. Little did she know, that bastard was actually herself. After comforting his wife briefly, Ing Tianhong took Shi back home. On the way, Shi turned with a smile. Husband, you must be exhausted from this long journey. How about I draw you a bath and help you change? Then we can eat together. Hearing that, Ing Tianhong's eyes lit up instantly. Sure. Soon, the scent of fragrance drifted from the bath. 2 hours later, Shi lay contentedly in Ing Tianhong's arms. You're my kryptonite. I, the sovereign of the immortal realm worshipped by all, have never felt such happiness as lying on my husband's chest. This joy was unprecedented. Sensing something, her delicate hand was suddenly grasped by Ing Tianhong's larger one. Shi was startled. Husband, what are you doing? Carrying you to dinner. At the dinner table, Ing Tianhong devoured the food ravenously. Shi sat happily by his side, occasionally placing more meat in his bowl. Like a devoted caretaker, Ing Tianhong enjoyed it immensely. Perhaps the simplest happiness is just a homemade meal. The next morning, Ing Tianhong bid farewell to his wife and headed to his small shop. Meanwhile, Shi quietly shut the door. After ensuring there was no one nearby, she headed to the palace. Just then, old Dragon Brother came with a report. Your Majesty, the third prince of the Tianlong dynasty has arrived as an envoy. Hearing that, Shi frowned. Although the Tianlong dynasty is the top force in the South Province, our divine Phoenix Kingdom has never interacted with them. Rumor has it the third prince is one of their most elite warriors. Who would have thought he'd come personally as envoy? With that thought, she slowly put down the brush in her hand. What was his reason for coming? It seems he came to propose marriage to your Majesty. Hearing this, Shihi's expression darkened instantly. Propose marriage? He's not worthy. As she spoke, a wave of murderous intent surged from Shihi. Sensing the danger, Elder Long quickly knelt and said, Your Majesty, please calm your anger. The Tianlong dynasty is the most powerful force in the south. If we push things too far, it may bring harm to our divine Phoenix dynasty. She frowned slightly and said, the man even brought 2 peak divine flame realm experts with him. Regarding the proposal, I hope your Majesty will consider the greater good before deciding. Little did they know, Shihi's face had grown even colder. She immediately released her aura and said forcefully, as a minister of my court, do you even know what you're saying? She is the empress of the divine Phoenix dynasty, and only wishes to stay with her mortal husband for life. But to think, even a trusted court minister would urge her to divorce, and even consider assassinating her husband, just so she could marry some prince of the Tianlong dynasty. How could she tolerate this? Without another word, she unleashed her full might, and slapped the elder across the face, shutting her up instantly. Considering your years of service to me, though without merit, you've endured hardship, I'll spare your life but strip your cultivation. If there's a next time, don't blame me for forgetting our bond as ruler and subject. With that, she sighed. You're already old, Elder Gu. It's time to retire. Upon hearing this, Elder Long collapsed in despair, kneeling and kowtowing repeatedly. Her face was full of ruin and hopelessness. Afterward, Shihi's figure seemed colder than ever. Even if she had to stake the entire divine Phoenix dynasty, she would not yield. She would never leave her husband. So what if Tianlong is powerful? She does not fear them. With a scornful sneer, she said, Guards, lead the way. I shall meet this envoy from the Tianlong dynasty myself. At that moment, in the divine Phoenix hall sat a young man. An elder behind him spoke. Your Highness, the divine Phoenix Empress really is quite arrogant to make us wait this long again. Hearing this, the man lightly tapped his folding fan. No matter, once I take her as my wife, let's see how long she dares act so haughty in front of me. I, the third prince, am a rare talent, surpassing all my peers and reaching the 3rd layer of divine flame in just 3 cycles. But this little empress, she's only 20 and has already reached the 5th layer. Such talent, and still she will belong to me. The elder echoed. Third prince is right. This marriage alliance was decreed by the patriarch himself. We must succeed. Even those old relics in divine Phoenix, they wouldn't dare defy him. 1,000 years ago, Tianlong, divine Phoenix, and Xuanwu were the 3 great dynasties. But now, Tianlong dominates the south. Xuanwu has stepped down, and divine Phoenix is no longer even a concern to the royal house. Even the 4 great vassal kings can barely hold them down, if not for the Ming King's rebellion now. And the divine Phoenix Empress's extraordinary talent catching the patriarch's eye. She would never have been considered worthy. Before he could finish, a cold voice interrupted. She had arrived. Honored guest of Tianlong dynasty. What brings you here? Seeing Shi's arrogance, the third prince burned with rage and sighed. Arrogant, huh? Wait till the wedding night. Let's see how cold you still act then. Even so, he forced a smile and said, the divine Phoenix Empress is indeed direct, so I'll speak plainly as well. This prince comes on behalf of the Heavenly Dragon Dynasty to propose marriage to the Phoenix Empress, a bond of eternal friendship between our 2 nations. Is that so? Your country's desire for a marriage alliance is indeed a good thing. My royal family has many princesses. Please, the third prince can choose one among them. When Yin Long Aotian smirked disdainfully, filled with arrogance. With my royal status, how can your Phoenix Dynasty's princesses be worthy of me? The one I propose to is naturally your Majesty the Empress. Shi's eyes glinted slightly. The third prince is indeed a good match. However, do you think you are worthy of me? She is the woman of the demon lord Ling Tianhong. Behind the scenes, she is also the revered empress of the Phoenix Kingdom. But this so-called prince of the Heavenly Dragon Kingdom relies on his slight talent and dares to force her into marriage. At this, Shi's eyes revealed coldness. You, a mere waste of a prince, dare to have designs on me? Are you worthy? As she spoke, golden light surged forth, transforming into a golden dragon circling above her. This sudden display of dragon might chilled everyone present, and the previously arrogant third prince was now utterly shocked. He never expected the empress to possess such strength. You humiliate this prince today. Do you not fear the destruction of your small phoenix kingdom? Upon hearing this, she showed a slight smirk. Is that so? Today, I shall give you a chance to take action. Let you know that even among waste, you are still a rare gem. These words made the third prince feel humiliated. Since birth, he had grown up amidst others' applause. How could he endure such humiliation? With a leap, he swung his fist towards Shihi. In contrast, Shihi remained calm as before. She merely waved her hand, and the third prince flew out like a rag doll. Shihi did not forget to taunt him. Do you see how wasteful you truly are? With someone like you, where do you get the qualification to dare to propose? Upon hearing the mockery, the third prince, who had just fallen from the wall, gritted his teeth in anger. He adjusted his disheveled chest. Then, a terrifying dark aura began to awaken from within him. Seeing this, the attendants panicked. Not good. The prince has been provoked. He actually disregards the consequences and wants to unleash that power. As they spoke, the two men joined forces to suppress the dark aura that was about to erupt. Could it be that the Heavenly Dragon Dynasty has some connection with the demon realm? Anyone associated with the demon realm must not be spared. As he said this, his gaze towards the third prince grew increasingly cold, feeling Shihi's killing intent. The two ministers calmed their master before angrily threatening him. Phoenix Empress, you dare to act against the third prince? Do you really think there is no one in the Heavenly Dragon Dynasty? Shihi heard this and was immediately displeased. I acted out of kindness. What is the meaning of letting him see reality? At this moment, I looked at the third prince's eyes, watching the aura around him gradually dissipate. Shihi frowned. This is the aura of the demon realm. Since this third prince has low cultivation, with disheveled hair, and an appearance as ugly as a dog, if I were to marry such a waste, it would not only tarnish the reputation of my Phoenix Kingdom. This is what they call killing with words. Shihi's calm words nearly caused the third prince to die on the spot. The ministers were shocked, but returning like this, he was afraid for his life. He immediately pulled out a scroll. He bowed and said, the Heavenly Dragon Ancestor, the Heavenly Dragon Taoist, has sent this. Phoenix Empress, do you not accept the decree? This is a symbol of noble status. A giant dragon, just a wisp of its aura, has made the unmatched ministers of the Heavenly Dragon Dynasty bow down. But Shihi was unafraid, looking at the two giant eyes filled with majesty. Shihi's eyes were full of disdain. A mere divine stone of a long-lived Taoist dares to suppress the awakened Empress's divine. Who in the 9 heavens and 10 earths dares to make the Jun submit? As he spoke, the 5-clawed golden dragon circling above his head roared. It directly shattered that aura of authority. Seeing this, the two attendants were greatly shocked. They had clearly underestimated the strength of the Phoenix Empress. At this moment, the third prince, who had just calmed down a bit, was once again terrified. How is this possible? It has only been a year since the rebellion of the king. His strength has reached such a level? After saying this, he collapsed directly. The attendants, knowing they could gain nothing, threw out a harsh remark and fled in a panic. After this incident, Shihi realized that a great war between the two nations was likely unavoidable. Just then, Huang Tianho and his sister suddenly arrived. This made Shihi's face light up with joy. He immediately took out a ring he had accidentally obtained earlier. He intended to throw it to the two. With a sound of light, the somewhat clumsy Huang Tianho was struck directly. The deputy general wanted to ask, but saw Shihi smiling and saying, use the items inside to train me an absolutely loyal cultivation army of 100,000. The two were dumbfounded. Your Majesty, a cultivation army of 100,000 is something even the entire subordinate of the Phoenix Kingdom cannot accomplish. The deputy general was also puzzled, but when he took the ring to examine it, he immediately lost his composure, because inside was nothing but resources. This is completely endless. Your Majesty, how did you obtain these resources? As he spoke, he was full of admiration. Shihi, like a wealthy woman, crossed her arms. I say they fell from the sky. Do you believe it? Upon hearing this, Huang Tianho cried out, I believe. Whatever your Majesty says, we believe. Shihi giggled. Very good. This army will be called the Tiansu Army. As she spoke, she threw out several scrolls and various ancient training methods. It's settled. Train the Tiansu Army well. Resources will be abundant. But the next moment, Huang Tianho was struck down again. But with so many resources, Huang Tianho was still happily accepting the order. He thought to himself, the emperor is only 26 years old. This cultivation is not only astonishing, but he also knows so many military tactics. Truly a blessing for our Phoenix Kingdom. At this moment, Shihi stepped forward to the two. In this book, the resources inside the secret book are just to set up a spiritual formation in Fengjing City. Upon hearing spiritual formation, Huang Tianho was once again unsettled. You must know that it is a great formation from ancient legends capable of exterminating gods and demons. She smiled faintly. Exactly. Quickly go and take care of it. After hearing this, the two hurriedly left with bags in hand. They looked as if they feared Shihi would change her mind. Shihi felt a bit relieved. A mere small country from the lower realms. Do they really think they can resist the divine might of the supreme heavenly realm? Thinking of this, a slight smile of satisfaction appeared on Shihi's face. Once everything is settled, it will be time to find an opportunity to reveal my identity as the Empress. The girl is the saintess of the sacred land of ancient times. She avoids marriage proposals and has secluded herself in this remote southern state. Reduced to such a state, the girl's face was filled with anger, yet also confusion. Just then, a figure suddenly brushed past her. The girl frowned slightly, standing still. Why does this person feel so familiar? It turns out the girl's name is Bai Yun. She is the Bai Yun mentioned by the young gentleman at the ruins of Ling Xian's sacred land. The academy she belongs to is the one established by Ling Tianhong 1,000 years ago, renowned as the greatest sacred land of its time. However, for nearly 1,000 years, the luck of the academy has Yet all of this was unknown to Ling Tianhong. At this moment, he was humming a tune, leisurely wanting to return home to accompany his wife. Suddenly, he heard a girl calling from behind. Ling Tianhong's eyes sharpened. He turned back, pointing at himself in surprise. "Miss, are you calling me?" As soon as he finished speaking, he saw the girl quickly move in front of him, hitting back and forth. This action startled Ling Tianhong a bit, but before he could ask, the girl's face came within an inch of his. Ling Tianhong was terrified. The girl's actions left him completely unsure how to respond. Could it be that this exalted one is still divinely veiled, and once again accidentally attracting butterflies? At that thought, he cleared his throat. "Miss, please show some self-respect. I already have a wife. Please, have some mercy. Stop making moves on me." Hearing that, the girl blushed slightly, looking a bit shy. "Who do you think you are? I wasn't even thinking about you." Ling Tianhong was rather unlucky. "We don't even know each other on the street. Yet you're radiating such a hardcore fangirl vibe and staring at my face. If you're not hitting on me, then what are you doing?" The girl didn't know how to respond to that. Her cheeks puffed up, and she looked a bit wronged. "No way. I'm a dignified saintess and I've been outplayed. If this gets out, the reputation of the saintess of Jixia Academy will be ruined." She quickly steadied her mind and said, I just wanted to ask your name, and you say you're not interested in me? You actually want to know my name? Fine, I'll tell you. I'm deeply in love with my wife." As he said this, he even struck a blissful pose. But really, it makes sense. If Ling Tianhong actually dared to flirt around and tipped over that vinegar jar, then what he'd be facing would be too much even for a demon lord like him to handle. Just as I finished speaking, I saw Ling Tianhong looking utterly disgusted, as if he were eating something delicious but pretending to hate it. The girl, cold and hungry. After struggling with herself for 5 minutes, he sincerely swore that he had no interest in her whatsoever. Ling Tianhong let out a sigh. Honestly, there wasn't really anything to hide. If he wasn't afraid his wife couldn't accept his true identity, then revealing he was the demon lord wouldn't be a big deal at all. "My surname is Ling. Now that you know, go ahead and perform your little act." Hearing that name, the girl stood frozen in shock. Could it really be true? Do you know what men fear the most? The answer, women's intuition. Ling Tianhong had just accidentally brushed past her, but the girl suddenly pounced on him. With one move, she flipped him and pinned him to the ground. She even started rubbing him all over, and shamelessly groped his face as she pleased. Ling Tianhong was terrified. He shouted, "You pervert," and struggled free. Huddled in the corner, he was clearly overwhelmed. "Miss, please have mercy. My body absolutely cannot handle." Hearing that, the girl also panicked a little. She stammered and quickly explained that wasn't her intention. Turns out she was just testing him. As a holy maiden, she had once seen a portrait of ancestor Ling Xianzuan in the forbidden grounds of Jixia Academy, and the two looked so alike. Her intuition told her this must be their ancestor secretly returning to visit. Suddenly, the girl grew excited. If it truly is our ancestor, then Jixia Academy might be able to regain its former glory. With that thought, she turned to gaze at Ling Tianhong's side profile in deep thought. Then she stepped in front of him. "I am Bai Yun, Holy Maiden of Jixia Academy. Greetings to ancestor Ling Xianzuan." Her sincerity couldn't have looked more genuine. Ling Tianhong was dumbfounded. He never imagined that just taking a stroll, he'd run into someone familiar. Back when he crossed over, he chose the southern province, precisely to avoid running into anyone he knew. Though he was puzzled as to why a holy maiden from Jixia Academy would be here. At this point in his life, fighting and killing held no more joy. All he wanted was to live peacefully with his wife. He gently patted her shoulder and said, "Miss, you've got the wrong person. I'm just a humble commoner living with my wife. How could I possibly be your so-called ancestor?" As he said this, he even exaggeratedly asked her back, "Miss, you're in such a hurry to recognize someone. Perhaps I really do resemble that person a little, but to be the ancestor of a beauty like you, whoever that man is must be truly blessed. After speaking, he gave a lazy demon-like grin and turned to leave. The girl shivered upon hearing that. What was I thinking? How could I have mistaken that frivolous guy for our founder? But as she turned to look at his departing figure, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. With the founder's strength, pretending to be immortal should be effortless. My gut tells me I didn't get it wrong, and I refuse to believe in such coincidences. With that, she decided to observe him for a while. After all, she would be staying in Fongjing City for some time, but clearly she underestimated him. She had barely taken a few steps when Ling Tianhong sensed her presence. He turned around helplessly. Miss, I already told you. You've got the wrong person. Why are you still following me? If my wife finds out, she'll misunderstand. But the girl showed no embarrassment. She even asked back, did you buy this street or something? Ling Tianhong shook his head. Looks like this girl is convinced I'm the immortal Lord Ling. She was quite cheeky too. It's just a coincidence we're walking the same path, right? Isn't that so, young Masterling? The man just wanted to get home to his wife quickly. In his hurry, he accidentally bumped into a girl. Next thing he knew, all because she saw her ancestor in Ling Tianhong. But how could Ling Tianhong admit that? While the girl looked away, he bolted and vanished from the street. The girl was stunned. She didn't expect him to run off like that. I'm Baiyun, a saintess no less. How could I be humiliated like this today? She growled in anger and chased after Ling Tianhong. Meanwhile, Ling Tianhong reached his doorstep. He looked around to make sure he wasn't followed. Then he started showing off. Trying to follow me? Go home and eat more rice first, little girl. Then he knocked on the door. Wifey, your man's back. Come open the door. Seeing his wife after a day apart, Ling Tianhong dove toward her like a rocket for a hug. But in the next second, his expression turned to horror. There was Shika, smirking ominously, staring straight at him. Husband. Mind explaining who she is? Turns out Baiyun had somehow followed him back. Oops. Surely you don't mind, do you? Ling Tianhong was awkward as hell. He even reflexively greeted her. But seeing the flames in his wife's eyes, Ling Tianhong panicked. Before he could explain, a jade hand landed on his shoulder. Shika said coldly, care to clearly explain what's going on between you two? Ling Tianhong nearly had a breakdown. That's a trap question. How the heck am I supposed to answer that? He sighed. Wife, don't you trust me? Shika cracked a grin. Same line repeated. Likely effect. Ling Tianhong gently grabbed her hand. Please believe me. My heart holds no other woman but you. And besides, you know how I am with the neighbors at the Wind Pavilion? I'm warm and helpful to everyone. So maybe she just instinctively came for help. Shika's nose twitched. She clearly wasn't buying it. Then suddenly, Baiyun played along. What the gentleman said is true. I'm new to Fongjing City. I'm looking for a place to stay on Changle Street. Please don't misunderstand, madam. I noticed this house has just the two of you. Would you be willing to rent out a guest room to me? Ling Tianhong almost believed it himself. But seeing his wife's dark expression, he quickly waved his hands. No, our house isn't for rent. But before he finished, Shika already accepted, practically packing her in. Turns out Baiyun tossed out some gold. And just like that, Shika's attitude did a full 180. It's getting late. It's too dangerous for a girl to be alone. Why don't you stay here for the night? Disciplining one's husband. Is that some kind of universal flaw in women? All he did was politely greet another girl. And she instantly got upset. She even threatened Ling Tianhong not to step into her room for half a month. Yet just for a little silver. She instantly turned enemies into sisters, and even warmly invited the girl to stay at their home. Ling Tianhong was completely baffled. But to avoid disrupting their little married life, he strongly opposed Shika's decision. But Shika didn't mind. We have so many rooms, and they're well soundproofed. It shouldn't be a problem. Besides, with that silver, I can cook up a few hearty dishes to nourish my husband. With such logical and well-founded reasons, Ling Tianhong found. Just when he thought the misunderstanding was over, he turned around to see Shika staring coldly at him with puffed cheeks. Her expression seemed to say, you just wait. Turns out Shika allowed Baiyun to stay, so she could solve the problem at its root. In her eyes, this woman had a flirty, dangerous face. She definitely wasn't simple. If I find out you have any intentions toward my husband, I absolutely won't let you off easy. But she didn't know. Baiyun herself also had her own plans. Young man, until I can confirm whether you're really our ancestor, I'm sticking to you this time. In the blink of an eye, several months passed. Every day, Baiyun would coincidentally show up at Ling Tianhong's little shop. This left Ling Tianhong helpless. Miss, what exactly are you doing? I already told you I'm not your so-called ancestor. Why do you keep coming here? You don't even buy anything. Just as he finished speaking, Baiyun pointed at a statue and said, I'll take that. Wrap it up. Hearing that, Ling Tianhong immediately snapped into work mode. Wow, miss, so generous. Let me get you a box to wrap it up nicely. Bai smiled in response. Although she admired Ling Tianhong's carving skills, she felt a bit disappointed inside. Could he really not be our ancestor? As she pondered, Ling Tianhong came out with the package. Miss Baiyun, take this and head home quickly. I'm afraid my wife will be upset if she sees you here again. With that, Ling Tianhong let out a long sigh. Seems like life at home hasn't been too peaceful lately. But little did he know, Shiha was watching them from the shadows. Her teeth clenched in fury. She looked like she could devour the both of them right there. Even after leaving, Shiha's rage remained unquenched. I knew I couldn't let my guard down. If I want to deal with that girl, I need to gather a few experienced people to help come up with a plan. Just as she reached the Imperial Study, she saw the Marquis Huantian siblings waiting there. They reported that the Celestial Tactics Army and the Spirit Formation were progressing rapidly. Upon hearing this good news, she had gained greater confidence facing Tianlong's attacks. But even so, she couldn't feel happy. I've been feeling troubled lately. Would you be willing to ease my worries? Wen Yan and her brother bowed in unison. We are willing to give our lives for your majesty. Shiha remained silent for a moment. Would you be willing to help ease my doubts? Tianyu. From a man's point of view, what can a woman do to make a man more obsessed with her? Hearing that left the siblings visibly uncomfortable. They stood frozen, not knowing how to respond. Do you know what women usually do when they're jealous? First, they get very angry. Then they silently blink. Finally, they show up in their most flawless form, unreachable. But clearly, the siblings weren't very reliable advisors. The brother was obsessed with cultivation and knew nothing about romance. And the sister, being a warrior, put it bluntly. I spend my days training and fighting. If a man doesn't behave, I whip him into shape, literally. Wen Yan and Shiha could only sigh in exasperation. With siblings like you, aren't your parents worried your family line will end? Tianyu chuckled awkwardly. But suddenly, a light bulb went off in his head, as if he had thought of something. Historical records state that past kings all enjoyed watching dancers perform. I guess most men probably have this kind of hobby. Dancing? Hearing this, Shiha fell into thought. But for the sake of her happiness, she made a decision. My dear minister, hear my order. Bring the best dancers in the palace at once, quickly. Once everything was arranged, Shiha couldn't help feeling a little embarrassed, but as long as it worked, she was determined to give her husband a birthday he'd never forget. That woman. Let's see how you compare to me then. Moments later, elegant music filled the air. The Huangtian siblings remained quite puzzled throughout. But to be fair, Her Majesty's ability to learn is truly unparalleled. Her steps graceful, her body light as the wind. As her long dress swirled, she looked like a celestial fairy dancing in the heavens. Feeling her seductive dance movements, Shia's face turned red with embarrassment. Stupid husband, you're really lucky this time. Meanwhile, Ling Tianhong was in great spirits. With this supreme secret sealing technique, unless you're a divine or demonic sovereign, you wouldn't notice a thing. Without that girl bothering him, it felt so relaxing not to have eyes constantly on him. Truly a joy. While talking to himself, he returned to their home. But his wife didn't come out to greet him for a long time. He immediately became uneasy. Did they get into a fight? My wife is just an ordinary person. She can't handle that woman's antics. At that thought, he burst through the door. But what he saw made him freeze on the spot. Shiha stood there in a revealing outfit, with a silk veil around her face. She waited gracefully with poetry in her hand. Shiha smiled sweetly. I've prepared a dance just for you, as a birthday gift. Do you like it, husband? Hearing that, Ling Tianhong was caught off guard. Happiness came too suddenly. He'd fantasized about this moment so many times. Without hesitation, he grabbed Shia's delicate hand. Like it? How could I not? Then he ran off, picked up his jade flute, and started playing. Wife, I'm ready. Seeing this, Shiha couldn't help but smile sweetly. To think, me, the Empress of the Central Realm, actually did something so embarrassing for a man. But her heart was filled with joy. This was a house that could dance. It's said that anyone who stays there will have a child within 10 months. But the girl wasn't so lucky. To test the legend, she went there alone and sat on the bed. But not even 2 minutes passed. The room began to shake violently. Everything rattled and wobbled. She was thrown all over the place. The girl felt wronged. Rubbing her sore head, she tried to comfort herself. Someone must be messing with me. So she angrily stormed outside. But the sight she saw left her stunned. A pile of clothes lay by the door. A man and a woman were embracing nearby. They looked like they were hugging. The girl was so embarrassed. She covered her red face and apologized loudly, then ran away like a madwoman. Behind her came the sound of a door slamming shut. Earlier, in preparation for her husband's birthday, Shiha had learned an exotic dance. With the wind blowing gently, Shiha began dancing like a pure fairy. Her jade-like feet drifted among the petals scattered on the floor. It was truly a beautiful sight. Ling Tianhong, playing the zither beside her, was completely mesmerized. To think my wife, Went through so much just for me. To have such a wife, what more could a man ask for? As he spoke, his face was filled with bliss. Looking at his dancing wife, his heart melted. This birthday was one he would never forget. He couldn't take his eyes off the woman dancing before him. That ethereal beauty seemed almost unreal to everyone. Even she, the experienced demon lord, was utterly captivated by Shihi's breathtaking dance. But who would have thought? This dancing fairy was actually the current divine Phoenix Empress, and in her past life, a revered sovereign of the central heaven, worshipped by immortals. As the divine dance concluded, the melody Ling Tianhong had been playing came to a graceful end. A gentle breeze blew past, and Shihi's stunning beauty was fully revealed. She turned to look at Ling Tianhong. Husband, did you like my dance? Hearing this, Ling Tianhong froze for a few seconds. Then he pulled his wife into a tight embrace. My dear wife, your dance rivaled that of the heavenly fairies. Tonight, I've truly been blessed with a feast for the eyes. Shihi was delighted to hear this. As long as you like it, I'll dance for you often, alright? She finished speaking and kissed Ling Tianhong. In that moment of intimacy, the two were truly one. Then Ling Tianhong suddenly proposed, My dear, it's time we made an effort. A home without children is incomplete. Shihi bashfully pounded his chest in embarrassment. Seeing this, Ling Tianhong didn't hesitate. He stepped forward and pulled Shihi into a firm embrace, rushing straight into the inner chambers. That night, a girl lodging nearby almost got a concussion from the ruckus next door. It was Ling Tianhong's birthday that day. To surprise her husband, she specially learned to dance. Though it was her first time dancing, her ethereal grace instantly entranced Ling Tianhong. He picked her up and headed straight for the bedroom, with all the shaking and rumbling. They clearly forgot that Baiyun had just moved in that day. Time flew. Happy days always seem short. The army of the Tianlong dynasty eventually pressed forward. In a single day, 500,000 troops of the Jinshi border suffered devastating losses. Upon hearing the news, Shihi's face turned grim. How dare they slaughter my divine phoenix warriors? Jun will make sure they never return. She then instructed Marquis Huan Tian to finish stabilizing Jinshan town. Tianyu was to clear the road to the capital and ensure displaced civilians could evacuate swiftly to the central regions. Within 2 months, Jin wants to see the Tian's army showing 1 versus 10 might. That unreasonable Tianlong Taoist failed to force Jin into marrying that worthless third prince, and now he dares to massacre my people? Jin will stand and fight with our soldiers to defend our nation. Meanwhile, Fongjing City was in panic. When news of the Jinshi massacre spread, fear struck everyone's hearts. Families fled the city in droves. But this time, Ling Tianhong didn't plan to intervene. This war dragon army was just one unit of the Tianlong dynasty. He had already given the empress plenty of help before. Hopefully she wouldn't disappoint him this time. He sighed. With the city in chaos now, and with the war on our doorstep, it looked like business would be impossible for the time being. So he put up a wooden sign and headed home. But once home, Ling Tianhong was stunned. He found his wife and Baiyun acting like close sisters, sitting side by side. She was about to greet him, but Baiyun pulled her in with a laugh. Boss, you're back so early. Planning to pack up and run? The city may be a mess, but keeping you two safe is a breeze for me. Ling Tianhong. Then I'll entrust both our lives to you, miss. This young disciple of Jixia Academy is quite something. Looks like I'll need to find a chance to tell him the truth, that I'm his ancestor. I'll give him proper training. Then I won't have to personally handle all the dirty work. If word gets out, I'd lose all dignity in front of my junior. This girl is the empress of the Tianfeng dynasty, and secretly, the woman of Supreme Ling Tianhong. Yet now her clan elders are forcing her into a political marriage, just to appease a useless prince from the Tianlong dynasty. Meanwhile, in a large tent outside the city, an armored old general reported in. Your Highness, rest assured, in 3 days, the dragon army will surely wash this place in blood. We will take Fongjing City. Upon hearing this, Long Ao Tian was overjoyed. Very good. When our army flattens Fongjing City, I want to see what that woman has to say in front of this prince. The old man beside him also echoed. No matter how proud she is, she will still have to submit to our Tianlong dynasty. Today, let her become your woman. Just then, an ancient voice sounded in everyone's ears. Eagle brother, long time no see. The arrival had a powerful aura, causing everyone's expressions to change dramatically. Only the eagle immortal smiled slightly, gesturing for everyone not to panic. Fengyu brother, we are currently in a state of hostility. How dare you invade our military camp? As soon as he finished speaking, a seemingly young old man floated in. This person was none other than the only god Ascension ancestor of the Phoenix dynasty. He knew very well that the appearance of the eagle immortal was to suppress him. So he got straight to the point and said, Eagle brother, what price does our Phoenix dynasty need to pay for your country to be willing to withdraw its troops? Upon hearing this, the eagle immortal smiled and said frankly, the Phoenix queen must abdicate and expel your Li family. Hearing this, Feng Yu Immortal didn't even think. He directly agreed. In his view, if sacrificing one person could save the Phoenix dynasty, then it would be worth it. After taking the other party away, Long Ao Tian couldn't help but exclaim, "Li Siyu, you foul woman will finally fall into this prince's hands. Then I will see how this prince humiliates you." As soon as he finished speaking, nearby, the Eagle Immortal suddenly gave him a slap. "You brat. Don't blame me for not reminding you. You can vent your anger, but don't go too far. Li Siyu's talent is too strong for the future of our Tianlong dynasty. After you marry her, you must immediately imprint the highest level soul slave mark on her." At this moment, in the main hall of the Phoenix dynasty, a group of ancestral elders sat above. The officials kneeling below couldn't help but whisper, "The royal ancestral elders have all arrived. Why haven't the 4 great foreign princes shown up yet?" Hearing this, an official nearby quickly reminded, in a low voice, "These foreign princes no longer care about court matters. They're each cultivating their own power. As for such matters of national destruction, as long as they don't come out to meddle with their strength, they can remain uninvolved." Just then, one elder suddenly spoke up, "Li Siyu." At this moment, one elder suddenly spoke up, "Li Siyu, why don't you come out to see us? You dare to defy even the decree of the Tianlong Taoist? Are you bringing disaster upon our Phoenix dynasty? You are unworthy of the title of Phoenix Empress." As soon as the words fell, a voice of immense authority echoed throughout the hall. "I am the destined Phoenix Empress. Who dares to make me abdicate?" As she spoke, a shocking dragon suddenly appeared in the hall. This sight shocked all the ancestral elders present. How is this possible? In just 2 years, her strength has reached this level? At that moment, she led several personal guards slowly walking in from outside the hall. Among them were Huang Tianho and his sister, as well as several loyal ministers in charge of various divisions. Behind them was a banner, named Tiansu. When Shihi's figure appeared before everyone, with each step she took, the terrifying pressure on her body made the ancestral elders cry out. She raised her eyes to scan everyone. "Speak up. Who wants me to abdicate?" The elder who spoke first immediately faltered. "Li Siyu, I am your ancestor. Such arrogance, quickly retract your aura." Shihi turned around, her gaze icy as she stared at him. "Weren't you trying to expel Jun from the Li family? Who gave you the courage to call yourself Jun's great?" As soon as she said that, the other clan elders stepped forward to rebuke her, but in the next second, Shihi casually shot a chilling glare. One elder immediately collapsed as if struck by lightning. And that wasn't all. A beam of golden light burst from Shihi's chest, transforming into a golden dragon, instantly sending that elder to the afterlife. Afterward, Shihi swept her gaze across the hall. Who else dares to force Jin to abdicate? If not, then get out of this hall immediately. Jin will not repeat herself. Bored, Shihi toyed with the ring on her finger. The opportunity has been given. Since you chose to stay, then don't blame Jin for showing no mercy. A phoenix rested on the girl's chest. Just a light touch, and she could send a peak-level divine flame cultivator to the grave. Yet the clan elders weren't the least bit afraid. In their eyes, the fury of the Tianlong Taoist was far more terrifying. One elder sneered in contempt. "Li Siyu, this old one advises you to surrender. If not for the Tianlong dynasty demanding you marry the 3rd prince, do you think we'd tolerate you even for a second?" Hearing this, Shihi's eyes gleamed with cold light. "So you all already sold Jin out behind her back? Very well. In that case, Jin has no reason to keep tolerating you." Her words made the clan elder burst into laughter. "Haha. Who do you think you are? You think you alone can take us all on?" He waved his hand. "Everyone, heed my order. Capture this girl with me." As soon as he spoke, several experts leapt toward Shihi. Just then, Marquis Huangtian and other ministers sensed danger and rushed to shield Shihi. "Your Majesty, we are willing to live and die with you." Shihi calmly raised a hand to stop them. "My loyal subjects, do not panic. They're nothing but a band of rebels. Jin alone is enough to annihilate them." This enraged the clan elder. "Li Siyu, you're too arrogant." He stomped the ground, and a powerful divine flame aura burst from him. "Let's see now. How can a rebellious junior like you dare to say you can kill all of us?" The rebels shouted in support. "Long live Tianfeng Jinren." Yet Shihi remained perfectly calm. "Tianfeng, is stomping the floor your only trick, or are you just good at these cheap parlor tricks?" Her words were a slap in Tianfeng's face. He immediately leapt forward, raising his sword to strike at Shihi. But Shihi remained composed. "A petty trickster dares show off before Jin." She whispered a spell and raised 2 fingers. With a single point, a wave of energy surged forward and crushed toward the enemies. Tianfeng panicked. "Impossible. This is a technique only divine cultivators should know." She laughed. "Old fool. Have you never heard of newer waves surpassing the old? Each generation is stronger than the last. So today, the old wave will be swept away by me." A transcendent aura burst forth, and in a flash, it surged toward Tianfeng. Tianfeng panicked. "Wait, I'll acknowledge you as my ruler." So just how terrifying is an enraged empress? Faced with her traitorous officials, she killed a peak divine flame expert with a single punch. Her power left the officials stunned. Watching the ministers kneeling in regret, he sneered. All that righteous bluster you just showed. What? You no longer want to rebel with tea on phone? Her words left the officials bitterly smiling. After calming down, Jing shamelessly expressed her helplessness to Shihi. Upon hearing this, a smile suddenly appeared on Shihi's lips. What a bunch of fence-sitters. But unfortunately, you've picked the wrong side. Then you must pay the price. As he spoke, he slightly raised his hand to condense a ball of energy. Clearly, facing these pleading ministers, he had no intention of letting them off the hook. According to him, since I said from the beginning that I would strike fear into you, there's no reason to backtrack. After saying this, he waved his hand. Several golden dragons directly covered the fleeing ministers below, with the sounds of mournful wails echoing in the hall. In just a moment, dozens of traitors fell silent. But this was just the beginning. He then called for the Tianyu siblings. He instructed them to clean up this place, and then start organizing the troops, and to directly activate the spirit formation to prepare for battle. As for himself, he headed to the ancestral temple. As the saying goes, expel external threats and stabilize internal affairs. If it weren't for the pressure from Feng Yu the Wanderer, these ministers wouldn't dare to act recklessly. Since you all refuse to accept me, then don't blame me for being ruthless. Moments later, in front of the Li ancestral hall, facing several clan members trying to stop him, wherever he passed, those who defied him were all slain. Due to the commotion, many powerful clan members quickly rushed over. An old man with white hair spoke first. Who is so bold as to kill in our royal ancestral temple? Let me see. However, before he could finish, he was frozen in place. Clearly, Shihi's appearance caught him off guard. The elders beside him sensed something was wrong, and rushed forward to block him. We see you. You are slaughtering your clansmen in front of the ancestral temple. What treachery is this? What do you intend to do? To this, Shihi sneered. Of course, I am here to turn you all into stepping stones. Old fools. The time for cleaning has come. Do you know what makes a woman both happy and miserable? It is said that the arrival of a child is an uncontrollable force, especially for an inexperienced empress. That uncontrollable feeling of nausea made this formidable empress once think she was poisoned. After bursting into the Li ancestral temple with thunderous force, Shihi remained calm in the face of the siege. From numerous powerful figures, in his eyes, they were merely a group of self-important clowns. As Shihi's figure flickered, the strongest combined attack from 5 people struck like a dragon. Shihi smirked slightly. Goodbye, old fools. Next time when it's time for cleaning, I will consider offering you a stick of incense. After saying that, a terrifying and invincible golden dragon instantly covered the dozens of powerful figures present. Before they could react, a massive dragon claw swiftly crushed them into ruins. At that moment, the mastermind behind all this, Feng Yu the Wanderer, finally couldn't sit still. How ruthless. You've slaughtered all the ancestral elders. And in just 2 years, you've broken through to the divine barrier. We see you. Your displayed talent truly surprises me. However, even so, you still cannot contend with my strength. Shihi's expression turned cold. You want to sacrifice me, and now you still have the courage to challenge me? Do not call me Li Siyu anymore. From the moment I decided to sever ties with you, Li Siyu has ceased to exist. Now there is only the Empress of the Divine Phoenix Dynasty, Li Siyu. Very well. Then let me send you on your way. After saying this, he formed a seal with his hands. In the next second, a black phoenix phantom filled with death energy soared into the sky, instantly engulfing the surroundings. To this, Shihi merely sneered. Is this your ultimate technique that overlooks all? The condensing phoenix absolute? It's nothing more than this. As he spoke, he turned his hand to summon clouds. In the next second, an extremely powerful dragon aura radiated from his body. With my command, slay the phoenix. Then a divine light storm surged forth. A beam of golden sword energy shot straight toward Feng Yu Sanren. Sensing it, Feng Yu was startled. He never expected his strongest strike to be overwhelmed in a single round by a girl who had just entered the divine crystal realm. With a miserable cry, Feng Yu Sanren was blasted away by the sword energy, crashing heavily to the ground. At that moment, Shihi resembled, confused, unwilling to accept it? Then take that unwillingness and doubt with you to the afterlife. But then, his pupils suddenly contracted. An indescribable wave of nausea washed over him. In the next moment, he collapsed to the ground and vomited uncontrollably. Shihi was panicking. Having never borne children, she had no idea what was happening. She checked her own aura, but found no signs of poisoning. Since her state was stable, she decided to finish the battle first. This woman was the reincarnation of the Supreme Empress of the Heavenly Realm. Her cultivation was peerless, and her husband was the demon sovereign who ruled all 3 realms. Yet now, she was being treated by the Tianlong prince as a plaything. and even threatened with an invasion to force her submission. At that moment, in a tent outside the city, Long Outyin lounged in a chair, visibly impatient. They were waiting for the Divine Phoenix Empire to hand Li Xiu over to him. He fantasized about the moment that proud and aloof woman would kneel before him, and when that day came, he'd make sure she paid for ever looking down on him. But as the agreed time passed, Elder Ingio's face gradually turned cold. From the looks of it, Fengyu doesn't plan to keep his word. He immediately shouted outward, "General Long, order the army to attack Fengjing City." Upon receiving the order, Long Zhantian led 300,000 troops in a grand march toward Fengjing. The sight made Long Outyin's blood boil with excitement. He could already picture himself pinning that proud, cold woman beneath him, forcing her to yield. That thought thrilled him, but when the army reached the gates of Fengjing, not a single guard was in sight. This surprised Long Zhantian. He cupped his fists and reported, "Third Prince, we haven't seen a single guard along the way. Even the city gates are wide open. Something this strange surely reeks of a trap." Long Outyin laughed heartily as he tossed his head back. "Haha, General, you're overthinking it. Seeing our brave army, the Divine Phoenix dynasty must have already fled in fear. They're long gone by now. Still, it's a bit disappointing. I thought at the very least, they'd show some spine. Maybe put up some resistance." Then he added, "Order the army to storm Phoenix capital at once." But Long Zhantian stopped him. To him, everything here felt suspicious. If this is a trap, we could suffer heavy casualties. But Long Outyin ignored the warning. He led the entire War Dragon army straight in, toward the heart of Phoenix capital. Seeing the deserted streets of the city, Long Outyin was smug. "So this Divine Phoenix dynasty really does fear the might of my War Dragon army. Order the troops to storm the palace. Whoever captures the Divine Phoenix Empress alive will be rewarded with a few princesses for his pleasure." But just as he finished speaking, lights suddenly shot out from the city gates behind them. The beams crisscrossed in the sky, forming magic arrays, trapping hundreds of thousands. Long Zhantian was shocked. "That's a formation. Your Highness, we've fallen into a trap." Long Outyin sneered. "What's the panic? How many enemies can the Divine Phoenix dynasty possibly have? A mere formation is nothing to fear." With that, he waved his hand. "Break the formation." In an instant, several Shinwojing experts charged forward and slashed at the array. But just then, Ingxiang Sanren's expression darkened. "This is bad. Something terrible is about to happen. Do you know when a woman now is someone you absolutely must not provoke? When she's an empress unleashing dark power. They say back then, she fought the demon lord Ling Tianhong for 3 full days and nights. If Ling Tianhong hadn't had the primordial pearl, he might have..." Shiha, the #1 woman of the first generation across the 3 realms, was never someone to be underestimated. One could imagine how extraordinary Shia's talent was, even to the point of being sickeningly sweet. A simple formation she casually created was enough to easily entrap 300,000 troops of the Tianlong Empire with ease. And in just one night, dozens of Shinhuojing-level experts were reduced entirely to ashes. This stunned both Long Outyin and Ingxiang Sanren. They couldn't believe the Divine Phoenix dynasty's formation could be so powerful. Though they were shocked, they had no intention of giving up. Following the command of General Long Zhantian, more than 20 Shinhuojing experts began forming seals with their magic weapons. In an instant, their attack was unleashed toward the spirit mirror. But in just moments, aside from a tiny crack appearing on the mirror, it remained solid and unmoved. The Shinhuojing experts, however, were not so lucky. Their attacks rebounded and turned them directly into piles of ash. Seeing the scene before them, everyone showed expressions of terror. At that moment, Ingxiang, taking the lead, "Follow this old man and break a path out. Otherwise, we'll all die here today," while giving orders to the others. He pulled out a black treasure seal. He then formed a series of hand seals. In the next instant, the treasure seal emitted a purple glow. With a wave of his large hand, he shouted. Then, with a sweep of his large hand, break the formation. Although he didn't succeed in completely destroying the formation, he did manage to smash open a small breach in the formation. Seeing this, Ingxiang Sanren shouted at everyone, "Retreat, now!" At his command, several people turned into streaks of light and leapt toward the breach, but the gap quickly closed again. Only a handful made it out successfully. The rest could only scream in agony within the formation, until they were reduced to showers of blood. At that moment, Long Outyin's face was filled with regret, but even more so with hatred. Damn it! I was actually tricked by that woman. If I don't take revenge for this, I, Long Outyin, am no man. But just then, a cold, indifferent voice suddenly rang out. "You came to stir up trouble in my Phoenix capital, and now you think you can leave so easily?" Shia's cold face emerged from within the formation. She wore a suit of silver-white battle armor and tall battle boots, further accentuating her already flawless jade-like legs. This ensemble made the already valiant empress even more imposing with divine majesty. At this moment, Shia's expression remained cold. and in her hand, the imperial sword radiated terrifying golden light. How dare you barge into my Tianfeng dynasty? Then today, I'll dirty my hands and personally send you all to your graves. Long Outyin shouted in a rage. Divine Phoenix Empress, if you dare kill us today, it means officially declaring war on my Tianlong dynasty. Have you considered the consequences? Hearing this, Xia chuckled coldly. The Tianlong dynasty? I'll send you all off first, and then destroy it afterward. What of it? At that moment, Ingxiang Sanren unleashed the full might of his second divine tribulation stage. With this old man here, you have no right to be this arrogant. To that, Xia let out a cold smile. Just the second stage of divine tribulation? If it were in the past, I might have shown you some respect. But now, you can all obediently go to hell for me. Unbeknownst to them, none of this escaped the divine senses of Ling Tianhong. At this moment, he was calmly carving wood while mumbling praise. Divine Phoenix Empress, you better do a good job. Let me and my wife enjoy some peaceful days ahead. Only then will your reign be long-lasting. To this man, the one thing he could never let go of was always his wife. Even the Empress of the Central Realm he killed long ago. At this moment, she lingered in his thoughts. He couldn't recall even a shred of memory. Even her once proud figure was now a blur to him. As he carved, Ling Tianhong sighed. Seems like I really wasn't cut out to be a scumbag. After meeting my wife, I can't even remember what my old rival looked like. At that moment in the sky above, Xia stood with one hand holding her sword, overlooking those trapped below by the formation. She still had one last thing to say. Hearing this, Ingxiang Sanren laughed instead of getting angry. Divine Phoenix Empress, even if you just broke through the divine ring stage, you're no different from that old bastard Feng Yu. I, on the other hand, am at the second level of the divine ring. With that, he activated his treasure seal. The next moment, a demonic god's phantom appeared behind him. Watch how I crush you all today. Demonic god seal, descend. The phantom instantly turned into a 100-meter-tall demon god. Its terrifying aura threatened to tear the sky apart, but just as the giant claw was about to strike her, she has showed no trace of panic on her face. Instead, a cold smile curled up at the corner of her lips. The next second, the attack was blocked by a barrier. At the same time, the formation was fully activated. Everyone inside, including Long Outyin, immediately fell into chaos. They realized their energy was leaking away. Seeing this, Ingxiang Sanren roared in fury. Divine Phoenix Empress, to wipe you all out like this would be letting you off too easy. As she spoke, radiant golden light surged from Xia's body. At that moment, her formation reached the second stage. Ingxiang Sanren gritted his teeth in fury. He hadn't expected the Divine Phoenix Empress to go this far, but before he could act, the giant demon god claw was pierced through by Xia's sword. The sword light shot straight into the sky. Then, a beam of holy light descended. A majestic celestial deity appeared behind Xia. Holding a longsword, he stood like a god. The sight completely crushed all remaining resistance. That celestial deity slashed toward the demon god. With a single strike, the 100-meter demon god was cleaved in two, and its body began to dissolve and vanish. At the same time, Ingxiang Sanren's body also began to collapse. This was a demonic god formed by divine crystal. Its presence alone could suppress all, but against the Empress fueled by dark power, it was shattered by a single sword strike. Even the one who summoned it, Ingxiang Sanren, became a corpse beneath her blade. The scene left Long Outyin utterly terrified. Seeing his grand uncle crumble into dust before his eyes, rage drove him into madness. A wave of dark and evil energy erupted from within him. In an instant, it engulfed the entire sky. His power surged at a terrifying rate, surpassing even the second stage of divine crystal that Ingxiang Sanren had reached. The general beside him turned pale, wanting to stop him, but found himself powerless. All he could do was pray the third prince wouldn't be devoured by the demonic backlash. But in a situation like this, the Divine Phoenix Empress would surely not let him go easily. Unsealing that power was dangerous for the third prince, but it gave him a sliver of hope. At this moment, Xia furrowed her brows, sensing the rise of that force. This power, it belongs to the Lord of Darkness. Though she didn't understand why such an aura would appear in the lower realm, Xia still found it deeply irritating. Everyone knows the 3 realms are part of the 36 realms of the upper realm, and among them, the dark realm is considered the most evil. To Xia, the reincarnation of the Empress of the Central Realm, it was nothing short of a tumor. At the same time, Long Outyin was gradually losing his sanity, yet Xia's face remained calm and unmoved. With a casual block, she pushed back, instantly widening the distance between them with a leap. Trash corrupted by dark power. Listen closely. My name is no longer Li Si Yuan, but Li Xia. With that, she slashed her sword toward Long Outyin. With just a brief clash, Long Outyin was forced into retreat again and again. In the 3 realms, only the Demon Lord is worthy to face me, let alone your pitiful dark power. But just as her voice fell, she saw a sinister smile creep across Long Outyan's face. In the blink of an eye, his figure vanished from before her. When he reappeared, he was behind her. Dark three-headed hound. Come forth at my call. As soon as he finished speaking, a ferocious three-headed hellhound materialized. With a savage roar, the beast lunged at Shiha with vicious force. But Shiha only sneered at the sight. Not enough power. What use is all that flashy nonsense? Idiot. With that, she flicked her protective charm. A stream of golden light began gathering at her fingertips. She then struck toward the three-headed hound. With just one blow, the hellhound began disintegrating under the golden light. You know what a woman desires most in her heart? Most women, when they return home, hope to have someone to rely on and share their joy. At that moment, after slaying the beast in one strike, Shiha said coldly, "You can die now." She formed a strange black ring with both hands and hurled it at Long Outyin. In the next second, his face twisted in pain. As a dark energy invaded his body, this secret art, Soul Shatter. Anyone struck by it will never reincarnate after death. This was Shiha's punishment for him. In agony, Long Outyin eventually fell. Even in death, he never realized that the entire battle had been Shiha waiting for just one decisive strike. Had she failed, then she too would have been defeated. At that moment, Long Zhantian's eyes widened, watching in disbelief as the third prince turned to ash. Divine Phoenix Empress, do you know that the third prince was the most beloved heir of Tianming Daoist? If he makes a move, not a single person in your Divine Phoenix dynasty will survive. To this, Shiha gave a cold smile. Is that so? Unfortunately, you won't live to see it. With that, she flicked her charm again. Execute him. Immediately, several soldiers leapt down from above, charging straight at Long Zhantian. After this battle, the entire 300,000-strong war dragon army was annihilated. Ingxiong's Sanren had fallen. News of the defeat spread and shocked the entire realm. The might of the Divine Phoenix Empress had completely resounded throughout Nanzhou. Meanwhile, inside a wood carving shop, Ling Tianhong gazed at the lifelike carving he had made of his beloved wife. Stretching lazily, he smiled. Wife, looks like the Divine Phoenix Empress really didn't let me down. But it's about time I had a talk with Baiyun. Having her run errands for me from now on might not be a bad idea. Just then, at home, Baiyun shivered suddenly. She had a strange feeling, as if something bad was about to happen. Not long after, the ground began to shake next door. But when she smelled a faint fragrance in the air, Ling Tianhong teased while massaging his wife. You've been in such high spirits lately, my dear. Did something good happen? Shiha smiled gently. I'm not sure. It's just that I feel extra happy being with you. But deep down, she was torn. She wondered if they could withstand the ambitions of Tianlong Daoist. Other than cultivating, she just wanted to spend the rest of her time with her husband. Suddenly, a wave of nausea hit her. Shiha rushed outside in a panic and began throwing up. Ling Tianhong followed quickly, completely clueless. At that moment, Baiyun arrived. Let me take a look. She grinned awkwardly. I was going out, but when I passed the window and smelled something nice, I thought you were cleaning. Then I saw the two of you rush out. At her words, both their faces turned red. Thankfully, Shiha responded quickly, leaping in front of Baiyun. Miss Baiyun, please take a look at me. After a very proper 5-minute diagnosis, Baiyun declared confidently, Congratulations, sister. You're pregnant. She then pointed at Shia's belly and repeated, There's a little baby in there. Shiha lit up. Really? But just after asking, her expression dimmed. After 5 minutes of inner struggle, she said seriously, Baiyun, can you keep this from my husband for now? I'll tell him myself, when the time is right. Though confused, Baiyun readily agreed. To her, Shiha simply wanted to surprise her husband, but Shiha's heart was filled with worry. Tianlong Daoist would surely come for them. Why did it have to be now of all times? But she quickly composed herself. Child, for you, for your father, for our family of 3, Mother will win. I will even overcome Tianlong Daoist. Meanwhile, on a road somewhere in Nanzhou, a young man smirked evilly. His eyes were fixed on Phoenix capital. Divine Phoenix Empress, in this barren land of Nanzhou. To think there would be such a dominant woman. You've truly sparked my curiosity. At the same time, outside Tianlong Daoist's private estate, an old man came rushing in. Ancestor, something terrible has happened. The third prince, Outyin, has perished in Phoenix capital. This elder never wielded force, but wherever he sat in command, no enemy dared to invade. Under his protection, the Tianlong dynasty rose to become the strongest power in Nanzhou. He was the only longevity mirror realm expert in the region, Tianlong Daoist. Now, upon learning that the Empress broke into the divine crystal realm at just 28 and had slain his heir, his face burned with fury, without a hint of surprise, because he knew there was once someone even more monstrous than the Empress. Legend says 10,000 years ago, a terrifying prodigy was born, Ling Sangongzi. Before the age of 20, he made no waves, but then he seemed to achieve enlightenment. His cultivation soared at a terrifying rate. He wielded great artifacts and a divine mind. In just 3 days, he entered the cave suspension realm. In 1 year, he reached divine flame. In 2 years, he crossed the divine tribulation. And in just 5 years, he attained immortality. He was hailed as the greatest prodigy of the last 10,000 years, known as Ling Xianzue. It seems the divine Phoenix Empress must have received some great fortune to reach the divine tribulation realm in such a short time. But Ao Yin is the heir I favor most, and also chosen by that great figure. If he were to die meaninglessly at the hands of the divine Phoenix Empress, it might be tolerated by gods, but not by me. Then let me go to Fongjing City myself, and settle this score with you. While I'm gone, Tianlong Mountain will be under your care. With that, he turned into a streak of light and vanished. But how could he have known that the very sect he had admired all his life was now residing in Fongjing City? Do you know what happiness between a couple truly is? The husband diligently earning money, and the wife managing the household with grace. A simple dinner, enough to make their life feel as sweet as that of immortals. That day, Baiyun was meditating unaware that on the nearby table, a seemingly ordinary statue suddenly began to glow intensely. Next, from the mouth of the Guanyin wood carving, countless symbols of Taoist law burst out. They formed a structured sequence and began to stream orderly into Baiyun's body. In mere moments, under those divine laws, his cultivation broke through to the next tier. Realizing what was happening, he was stunned, for he had inherited both a celestial scripture and technique, and his body underwent a complete transformation. His innate energy multiplied exponentially, the inheritance engraved within. It must be true. He really is the ancestor Ling Xianzuen himself. Meanwhile, inside the wood-carving shop, Ling Tianhong looked at the sculpture he had carved, a schoolgirl version of his wife, and stretched contentedly. Still as perfect as ever. That's a wrap. Just then, a commotion came from the window. It turned out the city had been in turmoil lately, leaving many citizens living in daily fear. But to Ling Tianhong, as long as the divine Phoenix Empress handled it well, he had no intention of interfering. After all, what could be more comfortable than going home to his wife? Seeing Ling Tianhong return, she greeted him cheerfully with husband and came out to welcome him. But the next second, a mischievous pair of hands reached for her. Before she could react, her slender waist bent, and Ling Tianhong kissed her without warning. The moon watching overhead couldn't help but exclaim, "Damn." 5 minutes later, they finally parted. Blushing and slightly pouty, she said, "Husband, you kissed me for so long. Won't you get tired of me one day?" Hearing that, Ling Tianhong quickly replied, "Tired of you? Impossible. I still want more kisses." With that, he puckered up and kissed her again. After a round of playful teasing, the two headed to the dining hall for dinner. Seeing the food his wife made, Ling Tianhong looked giddy as a fool. Holy hell! Tonight's dinner is insanely good. But upon hearing that, she looked downcast. We'd better enjoy it while we can. We might not get another chance. She even put on a worried expression. Today at the academy, father's tutor said, a presence of immortality is approaching Fongjing City. It might be the Tianlong Taoist coming to kill. Because of his grudge with Her Majesty, if he really takes action, the entire city might be destroyed overnight. Seeing her so anxious, Ling Tianhong stuffed a drumstick into her mouth. There, don't be scared. Just eat your chicken. Fongjing City will be fine. You can always trust this girl's strategy, but never underestimate her intelligence, because she is the reincarnation of a simpleton who was single in the celestial realm for 10,000 years. On this day, upon hearing the news of the arrival of the Tianlong Taoist, Shihi's face was filled with grievance. She worried that she wouldn't be able to defeat him and might endanger her husband. So she thought about persuading her husband to leave. But just as she was about to speak, Ling Tianhong stuffed a chicken leg into her mouth, and then he started to coax her. Don't worry, my dear. Fongjing City has always turned danger into safety during crises. It must be under divine protection. Moreover, the strength displayed by the divine Phoenix Empress recently is astonishing. Not only does she have a powerful spiritual formation, but she also has a super strong new army to protect. We will definitely avoid this calamity. Upon hearing this, she felt a wave of relief in her heart. Her husband is so annoying. Being praised like this truly made her happy. But she still argued. But, let's just enjoy our meal. After a round of sweet talk between the two, the moon couldn't take it anymore. You two lovebirds. Can you stop showing off your affection in front of me? Idiot. That night, she changed into her pajamas and went to the bedroom. At that moment, she just wanted to stay by her husband's side. Even though her husband repeatedly told her it was fine, there was still an inexplicable sense of loss in her heart. Ever since she met her husband, they had rarely enjoyed a peaceful day. Previously with Uncle Wang and the ancestors, now with the Tianlong dynasty, it was the same. Although she had broken through the divine tribulation, even after recovering the memories of the Central Empress, even with the ancient great town of the Golden God, against this extraordinary Chongqing Taoist, she still had no chance of winning. If she knew it was impossible, then let her serve her husband with cautious time. Thinking this, she leaned in and kissed him. A few days later, A terrifying force erupted from the east, heading towards Fongjing City. On the city wall, the Tianyu siblings were startled. They knew the Tianlong Taoist would come, but they truly didn't expect him to arrive so quickly. Sensing the crisis, the citizens in the city began to flee in fear. As the saying goes, some are happy while others are worried. The impending disaster prompted the Hidden Feather King to jump out. If the Divine Phoenix Empress dies, my Feather King mansion can take the opportunity to seize the entire Divine Phoenix dynasty. Hearing this, the man in black hurriedly agreed. At that time, we can finally fulfill the wishes of our leader, Red Moon, to turn the entire Divine Phoenix dynasty into followers of the evil god. At that time, the Feather King will be the first to benefit. As they spoke, the two burst into laughter in perfect harmony. Meanwhile, Shi, clad in silver-white armor, walked gallantly at the front. The Tianyu siblings followed closely behind. Below, the 100,000 forbidden troops were already in position, entering the Golden God Town. At this moment, her face was filled with anger. Tianlong Old Taoist wants to sacrifice my countless Divine Phoenix subjects for his own selfish gains. I will never submit. All soldiers, listen up. Activate the Golden God Town. Follow me into battle, transforming the tens of thousands of soldiers, filled with overwhelming battle intent. Fight, fight, fight. Immediately, a formation soared into the sky, covering the entire Fongjing City. And above in the sky, the Tianlong Taoist looked down with immense power. For killing my beloved grandson, I will have your entire Divine Phoenix dynasty accompany him in death. All of you, don't even think about surviving. With that, he unleashed all his power towards Fongjing City. An endless wave of terror instantly enveloped 1,000 miles around Fongjing City. At this moment, under this shock, Ling Tianhong was meticulously carving a wooden sculpture named Desolate Heaven Monkey. The man was the supreme of the demon clan traversing the three realms. His heart only desired a simple and stable life with his wife. Yet there are always those who want to break this status quo. As the Tianlong Taoist enveloped Fongjing City with his power, Ling Tianhong could finally sit still no longer. Little brat, are you not afraid of angering me with such a grand display? With that, he casually pulled out a strand of hair. With a light wave, a single strand of hair vanished into the void. Instantly, the dark clouds over Phoenix capital began to disperse. Tianlong Taoist's face changed dramatically. He could clearly sense his oppressive aura being suppressed. What is this power? Could it be someone even stronger than me in the longevity realm? Just as confusion filled his mind, a cold, indifferent voice rang in his ear. If you hadn't come to Phoenix capital, you might have lived a few more centuries. But since you're here, you can start your journey to the afterlife early. Hearing this, Tianlong Taoist panicked instantly. But before he could even respond, a massive force tore through his body. The shockwave shattered trees and mountains, blasting him hundreds of... As the dust settled, Ling Tianhong appeared before him. Tianlong Taoist stared blankly, as if witnessing the impossible. Years ago, he had stumbled upon an ancient text. It detailed how Ling Sangongzi had reached the longevity realm in just 5 years, and that text even included a portrait of the very man standing before him now, Ling Tianhong. His eyes filled with disbelief. How can you still be alive? After 10,000 years? Ling Tianhong was surprised too. He didn't expect to be recognized after all this time. He shook his head with a sigh. Must be that old fool by Shounen again. He loved documenting strange legends. But so what? Since you dared make trouble in Phoenix capital today, I'll have to take your life. Tianlong Taoist's face darkened. Ling Sangongzi, I don't know how you're still alive after 10,000 years. Even a true immortal can't possibly live that long. But if you think you can kill me, you're dreaming. Ling Tianhong just smiled. Oh really? You're just a mere longevity realm bug. How can you be so bold? I'm curious to see what tricks you'll try. With that, he raised his hand. A terrifying pressure spread across the entire mountain. The power was overwhelming. Tianlong Taoist coughed blood, and the ground shattered beneath them. Where's your trump card? I haven't even started yet. Yet Tianlong Taoist burst into laughter. Haha. Watch closely. A terrifying dark energy erupted from within him. As endless dark power gathered, Ling Tianhong sneered. Power from the dark realm, huh? So the Tianlong dynasty is tied to the dark realm. A man with power beyond the three realms. Yet all he wanted was a peaceful life with his wife. But this old man, after drinking fake wine, sacrificed his cultivation and used forbidden arts to fight the demon lord head-on. But fate was unkind. He just had to summon the one thing Ling Tianhong hated most, dark realm energy. As Tianlong Taoist completed the sacrifice, a pillar of purple dark energy shot into the sky. A powerful, evil aura blanketed all of Phoenix capital. Everyone inside the mental formation was stunned. This destructive, forbidden power filled them with fear. Even Shia frowned. He knew it was a ritual connecting to the dark realm. but with his current strength, he stood no chance outside the formation. As the light beam pierced the sky, the once sunny heavens turned to night. Endless nightmare-like eyes appeared in the air. Then one eye widened, and a blood-red demon with fangs descended. Shiho was stunned by what he saw. He didn't expect Tianlong Daoist to go this far just to deal with him. The people in the city all dropped to the ground in fear. To them, this was divine punishment, the beginning of the end. As the demon fully emerged, Tianlong Daoist went completely mad. Ling Sangongzi, before a mighty power from the upper realm. Even a true immortal like you will die here today. But before he could even finish that boast, that demon landed a brutal punch, knocking him flat. Tianlong, stop acting so smug. It takes an enormous amount of resources for upper realm forbidden powers to descend here. If you can't give me a good reason today, you die. Tianlong Daoist looked aggrieved upon hearing that. My lord, Outyen is dead. Hearing this, the demon instantly flew into a rage. He was our dark realm's chosen dark child in the lower realm. Who dared kill him? The Tianlong Daoist quickly explained. It was him. He killed Outyen. He walks the path of the true immortal. I wanted revenge but was no match for him at all. The demon looked at Ling Tianhong with contempt. A mere true immortal is like an ant. This case, Ling Tianhong smiled slightly. You? Even your so-called Dark Lord himself would have to duck tail and bow before me. Tell me, how much fake wine did you drink to talk this big? Daring to brag so shamelessly? The demon froze for a moment at the mention of his master. You punk. Not bad, huh? You actually know about our great Dark Lord. But you've got guts to be so rude to a supreme of the upper realm. You're asking to die. He conjured a ball of energy in his hand and launched it straight at Ling Tianhong. In an instant, Ling Tianhong's body was blown into dust. The Tianlong Daoist quickly flattered him. Your power is truly supreme, my lord. That mere lower realm immortal didn't even last a second against you. The demon beamed with satisfaction. But just then, a faint flame rose from the ashes. The demon was stunned, realizing what he destroyed wasn't even the real body, but merely a clone formed from a strand of hair. Just one hair pulled out by the man was enough to make a longevity realm expert question life itself. Turns out it was a new trick developed by the demon lord. He'd hoped to suppress the Tianlong Daoist without lifting a finger, but didn't expect the dark realm to interfere, to avoid ruining his dinner mood with his wife. Ling Tianhong had no choice but to personally take out the trash. Meanwhile, the Tianlong Daoist, realizing the truth, was on the verge of a mental breakdown. When Ling Tianhong appeared before him, he couldn't even muster a hint of resistance, only pure fear and helplessness in the face of death. But the Dark Envoy remained defiant. I don't care who you are. If you meddle in the Dark Realm's affairs, you will die. Ling Tianhong smirked and replied, no one has ever dared to stop what I decide to do. As for your so-called Dark Realm, in my eyes, it's nothing more than a bunch of ants. Hearing this, the demon tried to maintain his composure. You're pretty arrogant, but since you're here in the lower realm, you're not in your true body. The most this world can handle is a celestial's aura. Our power is equal. If we fight, I might not lose. Is that so? Then let's see what gives you the confidence to say that. As he spoke, Ling Tianhong radiated dominance, unleashing a terrifying aura that swept in all directions. Under that pressure, the Tianlong Daoist was instantly shave-bald to keep the civilians of Fengjing safe from the battle. Ling Tianhong tossed out a wood carving named Wild Heaven Realm. In the next moment, divine light radiated from the carving, and a barrier shield appeared above Fengjing City. Seeing it, the shadow demon froze, realizing it was the legendary Heaven-Earth barrier. Then he burst into crazed laughter. You really are stupid to fight me while still wasting power to protect mere mortal ants. You're digging your own grave. With that, he gathered celestial force into a blade and slashed it toward Ling Tianhong. Sensing the strike, Ling Tianhong remained perfectly still, calm and composed. But the unlucky one was Tianlong Daoist. Before he could react, his body was reduced to a splatter of blood. With a thunderous boom, the shadow demon's pupils dilated. He hadn't seen the outcome he'd hoped for. Ling Tianhong had stopped the giant war weapon with just 2 fingers. Is that really all the strength you've got? Seems like I need to teach you the meaning of the word naive. Once a woman becomes emotionally attached, her actions can become utterly absurd. Even imagining a life together can turn her into a hopeless fool. Now outside the city, as the shadow demon from the dark realm struck with full force, Ling Tianhong casually raised his finger. The celestial energy in the demon's hand instantly shattered into rubble. The immense power shocked the That was my dark moon wrath. How could you ignore the lower realm's rules and break the suppression of heaven? Ling Tianhong smiled slightly. Heaven and earth's laws. In front of me, they're nothing more than ants. With a wave of his hands, countless laws of the universe manifested behind him like playthings. Seeing the demon's clueless expression, Ling Tianhong found it all too boring. With a flick, several laws struck the demon, In an instant, the shadow demon's body burst apart and turned to fire, vanishing from this land. After finishing him off, Ling Tianhong was about to leave, when a spiteful voice roared from the heavens above. I don't care who you are. The next time we meet, the Dark Realm will make you pay. Ling Tianhong sneered. I only used a touch of celestial power, and you're already threatening revenge? He casually stored away the carved divine wood statue, then flickered back to his carving shop. After glancing around the shop for a few minutes, he sighed in relief. Good. Handled it quietly, shouldn't have revealed myself. Little did he know, the people of Phoenix Capital were already in chaos. The moment of battle earlier had everyone thinking the world was ending. Under the pressure of those two forces, some were so scared they nearly wet themselves. Even the battle-hardened Tianyu siblings panicked. Seeing the sky slowly return to normal, Shiha realized the Dark Realm intruders had retreated, but who had driven them away with such force? First, the assassin who attacked Tianyu vanished mysteriously. Then the 6 top experts brought by King Ning were wiped out. Next, 6 sects faced total annihilation. Then the mysterious ring holding divine treasures appeared. It was as if a hidden force was guarding Phoenix Capital. He looked up into the sky. Could it be heaven has discovered my reincarnation? Did they send someone to protect me? Whoever it is must be immensely powerful. They even reshaped the terrain. After this incident, I must prepare myself in the lower realms. Suddenly, his legs gave out. A wave of exhaustion swept through him. He awkwardly waved to the crowd. Work's done. Everyone go home and relax if you're okay. He then rubbed his face, smiling sweetly with longing and joy. He was already imagining his happy reunion with his wife, but then his expression turned serious. Crap. I need to get back. Otherwise, my wife will go hungry. With a joyful heart, he dashed back home. All right. My shy little cow is blushing. Turns out Ling Tianhong, having confirmed he hadn't been exposed, hummed a tune as he went home to his wife. Unbeknownst to him, Shia was already waiting at the door. She beamed brightly. Husband, you're back. I missed you so much. With that, she fluttered her wings and leapt into his arms. Ling Tianhong smiled warmly. I'm home. Were you scared by the earlier commotion? Don't underestimate me. I'm still a teacher at the academy. If I get scared, the children would be even more terrified. So even if I was terrified, I had to pretend to be brave for the kids. You're amazing, my wife. Should I give you a special reward tonight? He leaned in with a big smooch, but was promptly blocked by her dainty fist. Stop it. We're an old married couple already. Don't be so indecent. But still, peace had returned to Phoenix, and happiness had returned to the couple. Later, they went on a shopping spree through the city, then drifted down a stream together. To them, any moment spent together was true happiness. Lying in a small boat, the sail gently carried by the sea breeze across the vast ocean, from Shanhaiguan all the way to Jialingwan. In the end, I couldn't help but find a comfortable inn, and checked in directly. Little did I know, another crisis was about to unfold in the shadows. Because the previous battle was, it nearly cost the Feather King his manhood while indulging in pleasure. At this moment, a maid knelt on the ground, feeling wronged. My lord, it's all my fault for not learning well enough. I disturbed your enjoyment. Please give me another chance. As she spoke, she reached out to unfasten the Feather King's pants. Seeing this, the Feather King's face darkened. What the hell? Are you blaming me for not being capable? With that, he ordered the maid to get out. He then gritted his teeth in silence. Damn it. That aura earlier was truly terrifying. This matter is serious. It seems necessary to report this to the leader. At this moment, in a mountain forest, a sudden gust of wind arose. It transformed into blades of wind, continuously attacking a woman in the center. Before long, the woman's clothes were shredded into several pieces by the wind blades. This person was Baiyun, who had gone out for a retreat. Her gaze was resolute. A lotus flower filled with divine light appeared faintly above her forehead. Then it reappeared in her hand. Then, she mobilized all her spiritual power and waved fiercely at the sky. In the next second, an avatar of Guanyin appeared. It enveloped her completely. In just a moment, the wind blades were suppressed by the divine light, gradually beginning to dissipate. At this time, Baiyun couldn't help but show a hint of excitement. The sealing process was successfully completed. I have finally broken through to the first step of the divine sealing realm. Thinking of what her master had told her about returning to find him after passing the sealing, her heart was immediately filled with anticipation. At the time of the sect's destruction, the woman had traveled through countless dangers to arrive in Nanzhou. Unexpectedly, she encountered the founding ancestor of her sect. The ancestor casually gifted her an ordinary wooden carving, which not only allowed her to comprehend a great technique in the Guanyin avatar, but also helped her successfully pass the sealing. At this moment, Baiyun joyfully approached her master. Like a child, she eagerly shared her achievements with Ling Tianhong. To this, Ling Tianhong waved his hand. All right. We should still be a bit humble, okay? But as a reward, I promised I would give you a gift after you passed the ceiling. Saying this, she drew out a wisp of celestial energy from her palm. Then, with a wave towards Bai Yun's chest. The celestial energy was directly infused into Bai Yun's body. It also helped her successfully refine and recognize the energy as her own. Feeling the terrifying fluctuations of celestial energy, Bai Yun's excited face turned red. The master is truly remarkable. With just a casual move, she produces celestial energy. Bai Yun sincerely thanked Ling Tianhong, her admiration for him growing even stronger. Just then, Bai Yun suddenly remembered something and excitedly stood up. Brother Ling, didn't you say that after I broke through, you would let me help you with something? Ling Tianhong casually waved his hand at her. Then you should go to Tianlong Mountain and eliminate all the experts of the Tianlong dynasty. Not long after, on the outskirts of Tianlong Mountain, a figure slowly descended from the sky. At this moment, she held a battle spear, appearing like a war god from the celestial realm at the foot of Tianlong Mountain. At this time, several strong individuals stepped forward and shouted, "Who are you? Dare to trespass on our Tianlong Mountain?" However, before she could finish her words, several strong individuals were directly slain by Bai Yun. The huge commotion instantly startled the entire Tianlong Mountain. Countless experts from Tianlong Mountain rushed out. Who dares to cause trouble in Tianlong Mountain? Are you seeking death? To this, Bai Yun's eyes turned cold. My master has ordered me to come here today and eliminate all the combatants of the Tianlong dynasty. It's just unfortunate for you that the Tianlong dynasty is doomed. Hearing this, the leader, Yulong Sanren, laughed instead of getting angry. So arrogant. Do you really think you can do it with just one measly first-level divine ceiling? However, before she could continue, her figure was directly shattered, turning into a pool of blood. Bai Yun scratched her head apologetically. Sorry, I seem to have used a bit too much strength. Little did she know, at this moment, the people of Tianlong Mountain were utterly shocked. Not good. The weapon in her hand is a celestial. It is a pair of strange, eternal-colored glasses. Any target she locks onto, she could accurately perceive any woman's measurements at a glance, even predicting a baby's gender. At this moment, outside Tianlong Mountain, Bai Yun stood alone with her war chess, holding off dozens of Tianlong elites. No one could match her as she advanced. With her immortal script techniques and Guanyin arts, she reduced Tianlong Mountain's centuries-old strongholds to rubble in moments. But to Bai Yun, this wasn't enough. She figured she might as well destroy Tianlong's imperial city too. She acted as soon as she thought of it. Within moments, a mighty palace was reduced to a mushroom cloud. Only then did a satisfied smile appear on her face. The royal family is wiped out. This place will now become a killing field for nobles. But what's that got to do with me? Better hurry back and report to the patriarch. Meanwhile, in Ling Tianhong's little courtyard, fragrance occasionally wafted out from the empress's room, having dealt with the Tianlong Taoist. And now with Bai Yun handling the cleanup, the couple's life was one of bliss and harmony. They were practically addicted to exercise every day. Unbeknownst to them, on the other side, a young woman was searching for his whereabouts. Arriving at the gates of Black Salt City, Ling Yun was filled with excitement. 2 years, and she had finally returned to this place. Yet she felt a tinge of sadness. It was here that she met her ancestor Ling Tianhong. But 2 years had passed. Would she still find him here? With that thought, she ran into the city, unaware that 2 shady men nearby had their eyes on her. One of them shot a golden ray from his eyes, instantly revealing Ling Yun's 3 measurements in full detail. A wicked grin flashed across the man's face. What a fine catch, never expected one here. Coming here was worth it. The old man beside him added with a chuckle. Congratulations, young master, on another conquest. The young man was in high spirits. Uncle Ching, they say Nen province is a backwater, but who would have thought it hides so many enchanting women? First that divine phoenix empress, she's to die for. And now this fresh, 20-something beauty, irresistible. Haha, this young master truly is blessed with luck and love. Only conquering peerless prodigies like these brings me any true excitement. As he said that, he once again glanced at Ling Yun's figure, but this time she caught him in the act. She turned and shouted angrily, "Who's the sneaky bastard? Come out here right now." The girl trembled on the ground, but the man showed no pity. Instead, he tried to take advantage of her, saying he'd make her his personal sorceress before letting her go. Furious, Ling Yun shouted, "Get lost, or I'll beat you so bad your parents won't recognize you." With that, she summoned her jade pendant, and a blazing phoenix launched toward the man. Seeing this, Elder Qing was shocked. This girl, she hasn't even reached divine flame, yet she can cast 8-rank spells with ease. Such talent is no joke. The young man only grew more interested. That perfect body, paired with such fiery temper, she's exactly my type. With a wave of his hand, a terrifying divine thunder clashed with the fire phoenix. After the explosion, Ling Yun was slammed hard into the ground. Her face turned pale, shocked by the strength of the young man before her. A divine cleanser? She hadn't expected someone so young to be a divine cleanser level cultivator. Just then, another golden ray shot from the man's eyes, scanning Ling Yun with a full 360-degree sweep. Take her away, Elder Qing. I'll slowly train her myself later. Elder Qing reached toward Ling Yun, but she gritted her teeth. Looks like I have to use the Grand Emperor Bell. Though my ancestor warned me never to summon immortal energy unless I reach the longevity realm. This is no time for hesitation. With that, she waved her protective charm, and her hands began forming seals. Golden light burst forth, and the Grand Emperor Bell surrounded her. The two men's faces changed instantly. No. That's immortal energy. But before they could act, the bell came crashing down upon them. Caught off guard, they were blasted away. As for the bell, it left deep cracks across the earth beneath her. Meanwhile, things weren't going well for Ling Yun inside either. Taiwan Bell, take me away, please. Hearing this, Taiwan Bell didn't hesitate. It wrapped around Ling Yun. But the man didn't get angry, he grew excited instead. Ha 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 ha. This woman actually carries immortal aura. Heaven truly favors me. With that, she and the frog vanished from sight. Such a delightful prey. How could she possibly let it go? And so she fled, but there was no escape. Little beauty, you can't escape the palm of my hand. Be good and hand over your immortal aura and become mine. But what she didn't know was Ling Yun was escaping straight toward Fongjing City, where Ling Tianhong resided. A man had just snatched a beauty at a crossroads, intending to vent his emotions. But before he could begin, the woman vanished. Turns out it was Baiyun returning from Tianlong Mountain. Sensing a disturbance, she acted immediately. Using her teleportation skill, she rescued Ling Yun. When she saw it was Jun Wuxia, her fury intensified. You still go around defiling innocent women? Haven't changed at all. I won't let you get your way today. Jun Wuxia was momentarily stunned upon seeing Baiyun. The reason he came to Southern State was to bring Baiyun into his faction. But he hadn't expected to find not only the divine Phoenix Empress, whose beauty still left him craving more, but also the extraordinary Ling Yun. She had stunning looks, and at such a young age had already reached the divine fire mirror realm. Even her casually used artifacts were rare treasures of the ages. If not for Qing Lao's presence, she wouldn't have dared confront the mighty Tai Wang Bell head-on. Ling Yun hadn't expected that activating Tai Wang Bell's spatial power wouldn't guarantee her escape. At the last second before fleeing, the elder named Qing Lao struck suddenly. With a single palm, he shattered the portal she had used all her power to create. As a result, Tai Wang Bell suffered heavy damage, and so both girl and Bell plummeted from the sky. Seeing this, Jun Wuxia grinned. He reached out toward Ling Yun's falling figure. But just then, Tai Wang Bell launched a counterattack. It shook violently, prepared to die alongside Jun Wuxia. The moment of their collision, a deafening explosion shook the outskirts. With Ling Yun now powerless to resist, Jun Wuxia's desire only deepened. Though they say forced affection bears no fruit, he especially enjoyed conquering helpless and desperate beauties. Their look stirred an irresistible impulse in him. Looking back toward Ling Yun again, Jun Wuxia let out a crazed laugh from deep within. I spent so much effort. Not only did I get a stunning beauty, but today you came right to my doorstep. Hearing this, Baiyun roared. Shameless scum. I will never let you have your way today. Hee, I can't hold it anymore. My lust is overflowing. Baiyun, you'd better behave and warm my bed tonight. With that, Jun Wuxia unleashed his divine binding realm power. His aura reached out to seize Ling Yun, to satisfy his desires. He even dared lay hands on the descendants of the Demon Lord. And not just one, but two. But he clearly underestimated Ling Yun's current strength, just as he reached toward her. Baiyun's protective barrier surged with immense power. Then with one palm, she sent Jun Wuxia flying backward. Startled, he quickly braked in midair, barely managing to steady himself. But deep down, he was shaken like never before. He hadn't expected that in just a few days, Baiyun had successfully reached the divine binding realm. Even so, he didn't panic. Instead, his obsession with Baiyun grew stronger. Ha. No wonder you're the saintess of Jixiao Academy. Today, I'll make you willingly become my witch. With that, he summoned several blades. He planned to break Baiyun's pride bit by bit, and then tame her completely. Baiyun sneered coldly in response. You think you're worthy of my submission? With that, she chanted a mantra. Goddess Guanin's manifestation. Reveal yourself. In an instant, sacred flames surrounded her. A solemn form, a thousand-armed Guanin, suddenly manifested behind her. An incredibly solemn thousand-armed Guanin manifestation instantly took form behind her. In an instant, several sharp blades were shattered. Seeing this, Elder Qing's face turned grave. The aura from the avatar even caused him to feel a tinge of fear. Yet Jun Wuxia still acted like a fearless calf, thinking Baiyun was merely bluffing. He tapped his foot and vanished from sight. The next moment, he reappeared mid-air, wielding a 50-meter-long blood-red sword. He slashed straight toward Baiyun. You think you're strong? Then try the power of this sword. But before he finished speaking, the guardian avatar appeared right in front of him. With a simple flick, Jun Wuxia was sent flying 50 meters away, screaming in pain. Elder Qing could no longer stay calm. He leapt toward Jun Wuxia's position. At this moment, Jun Wuxia looked pale. All his earlier arrogance gone. Impossible. Even cultivators who've survived 4 tribulations can't beat me, and you've only passed 1. Yet you beat me like this? Baiyan remained calm. Jun Wuxia, weren't you arrogant? Today, I'll crush your confidence myself, and defeat you. Her aura surged, and the Guanyin avatar revealed 3 heads and 6 arms. Seeing this, Jun Wuxia and Elder Qing froze in place. It was beyond anything they could comprehend. But that was just the beginning. True Dragon Incantation, Divine Phoenix Incantation, Golden Winged Rock Incantation. As Bai Yun completed her chants, a Qi Long, a Fire Phoenix, and a Golden Winged Rock appeared behind her. Jun Wuxia, you mocked my weakness, blocked my path. Now I'll grind you to dust. She pointed her finger forward. And the 3 divine beasts charged at Jun Wuxia. The might was earth-shattering, absolutely unstoppable. But Jun Wuxia didn't just stand still. He drew a blade and slashed at the approaching rock. He destroyed it with a single strike. Jun Wuxia laughed madly. Showy tricks. Is that all you've got? But the next second, his face froze. A phoenix blade appeared at his chest. This man may be a mighty demon sovereign, but he only wanted to be a humble carpenter for his wife, striving daily for their happiness. Yet the so-called noble young master Jun Wuxia dared try to take his descendant as a cauldron. Little did he know, Ling Yun, with Ling Tianhong's help, had long passed her heavenly tribulation. Even a casual technique from her left Jun Wuxia completely defenseless. One wave sent him flying 50 meters, just as Ling Yun summoned a Qinglong projection to finish him off. A massive palm intercepted the attack. With a gentle squeeze, the Qinglong shattered into scattered energy. It was Elder Qing who stepped in just in time. Seeing this, Bai Yun knew the chance to kill Jun Wuxia was gone. They had to retreat. Just then, Ling Yun approached. Junior Ling Yun, thanks for saving my life, sister. Before she could reply, a terrifying pressure descended from behind. After checking Jun Wuxia's wounds, Elder Qing decided to erase Ling Yun to protect her young master's fragile heart. She raised her hand and shouted, Heavenly Thunder Palm Crusher. A terrifying palm descended from the sky, targeting Ling Yun directly. The surrounding forest was obliterated into a crater, but just then, a fierce light surged from below. In a flash, Ling Yun summoned the divine artifact Dark Moon to shield herself. Another divine artifact revealed. Elder Qing was utterly shocked. Even top clans can't casually pull one out, and yet this girl had one at the ready. Meanwhile, Bai Yun took the blow head-on to shield Ling Yun and buy time. Her body radiated with resolve, and during Elder Qing's strike, her body still felt somewhat weak. Even with a divine artifact in hand, with her current power level, she was still no match for a longevity mirror cultivator. Meanwhile, Jun Wuxia was already reduced to a dazed fool from the blows, first by the Tai Wang Bell summoned by Ling Yun, then defeated by Bai Yun, whom she had always looked down on. She found it hard to accept all at once. Just then, a thought suddenly struck her. It was said the founder of Jixiao Academy, Ling Xinzuan, was famed across the heavens 10,000 years ago. Before his ascension, he left behind a mysterious creature, said to contain countless powerful inheritances and divine treasures. Could it be Bai Yun's rise in power is related to this? The thought brought a sinister smile to her face. If that were true, then those treasures would all belong to her today. She immediately ordered Qing Lao to capture the 2 women. With those immortal treasures in hand, her family would rise to an entirely new level. Hearing this, Qing Lao didn't hold back. He let out a loud cry and prepared to unleash his ultimate move. As bolts of lightning struck his body, his once lean frame began bulking up dramatically. The next second, he transformed into a 5-meter-tall giant. Seeing this, Bai Yun was visibly shocked. So this is the terrifying power of someone at the 7th stage of longevity. But while they were momentarily stunned, Qing Lao's massive fist came crashing toward them like Mount Tai. It was so fast that Ling Yun at the Divine Fire Realm couldn't even. Fortunately, Bai Yun managed to block it with her divine artifact just in time, barely dodging the blow. Even with the artifact in hand, she was still blasted backward, her body now weak and aching. The pain in her bones nearly caused her to faint. Even Qing Lao was surprised. He hadn't expected her to withstand a punch from him in this form. You're quite impressive, girl, but that's all. With that, she prepared to deliver the finishing blow to Bai Yun. But Jun Wuxia suddenly interrupted. Qing Lao, capture her alive. I want to enjoy torturing that woman myself. Those words nearly made Qing Lao's huge body collapse in disgust. Faced with Jun Wuxia's shamelessness, Ling Yun gritted her teeth. As she was trying to figure out what to do, Ling Yun's protective charm suddenly landed on her shoulder. Sister, Give me your spiritual energy. This is our last chance to escape. With Bayun's power infused into her, Ling Yun summoned Tai Wang Bell again. Then she chanted the activation incantation. A red glow erupted from above the Tai Wang Bell, and a formation instantly formed. Seeing this, the two attackers panicked. They leapt toward the bell in a desperate attempt to stop it, but it was too late. Tai Wang Bell vanished with the two women in a flash of light. All that was left was Ling Yun's mischievous grin, and a classic international gesture. Now safe, Ling Yun reverted to her playful self, throwing her arms around Bayun. Thank you, sis, for saving me again. Bayun smiled and said it was nothing. Besides, anyone would want to punch someone like Jun Wuxie on sight. She then gave Ling Yun a meaningful glance, but said nothing. She had actually been planning to recruit Ling Yun into Jixia Academy, but felt that saying it now might seem presumptuous. So she chose to remain silent for now. She then smiled and asked Ling Yun what she planned to do next. Because as far as she knew, Jun Wuxie would never let things go so easily. Hearing that, the cheerful expression on Ling Yun's face instantly faded. I don't know where to go. When Yin Bayun patted her on the shoulder, signaling her not to be too anxious. If you don't know where to go, just come with me to Fengjing City. If she dares follow us, I guarantee she'll be dead meat. Kidding aside, our patriarch even a mere longevity realm cultivator is nothing by comparison. Meanwhile, Ling Tianhong was cleaning the house, when suddenly the door behind her was pushed open. Bayun walked in with Ling Yun, both cheerful and smiling. Seeing them, Ling Tianhong paused. She swallowed the words she was about to say, because the moment Ling Yun saw her, tears welled up in her eyes. Senior, I finally found you. Hearing that, Ling Tianhong made a peace sign in response. A casual greeting, but the gesture left Bayun completely baffled. On their way over, during their chats, she had learned Ling Yun was looking for a senior. She never expected that senior to be her own family elder. Didn't I tell you to carry on the Ling family's legacy? Why are you wandering around again? Ling Yun wiped away her tears as she heard this, feeling both happy and a bit aggrieved. Ling Yun just wanted to confirm something with her senior. As she spoke, she pulled out an ancient scroll from under her skirt. The two girls came with hope to seek the elder's help, but just as they met, they were knocked out and dragged into the room. It turned out, after seeing the portrait Ling Yun pulled out, Ling Tianhong realized she could no longer hide her identity, so she admitted she was the third young master of the Ling family. Before her ascension, she returned home one last time, to resolve her final attachment. She came to visit, only to find her seventh younger brother had passed away, leaving behind a child named Zhiling Lei. So Ling Tianhong stayed and personally taught her cultivation. She never thought the child would leave behind this. Looking at the calligraphy on the portrait, she could feel the child's deep longing for her. Alas, 10,000 years had passed. All the people she once knew had turned to dust. Just then, Ling Yun suddenly dropped to her knees and bowed to Ling Tianhong. She had once thought she had no family left. Now, knowing her ancestor was alive, she cried like a child who had been terribly wronged. But suddenly, the wound at her waist flared up again. A piercing pain instantly surged through her body. Ling Tianhong was startled. She anxiously asked where the injury came from. Bayun stepped up and explained. She said the wound was inflicted by the youngest son of the Ji Dao Immortal Palace Princess. She even detailed the whole incident quite dramatically. After her dramatic and intense narration, Bayun looked helpless. But Ling Tianhong clenched her fists tightly upon hearing it. How utterly arrogant. Who knew the thing I once crushed underfoot could become so insolent now? Looks like Jixia Academy has really raised a bunch of trash. Just a mere 10,000 years, and they let that garbage Ji Dao Palace trample all over them. Bayun glanced sideways at Ling Yun. Have we embarrassed our ancestor? Since they hurt you? Then this grudge. The two girls clung to each other, hoping Ling Tianhong would finish her sentence, but she turned her head aside. Don't get your hopes up. Your grudge is yours to settle. Wen Yin and Bayun were stunned. What the heck? Did we hear that right? Ancestor. That guy has a cultivator with 7th tier longevity mirror. Even with immortal aura, we're just weak girls. We'd need at least decades to stand a chance. Ling Tianhong waved her hand dismissively. Just a few decades. Let me bestow upon you a small fortune then. Saying that, while they were still stunned, she pointed both hands toward the sky. A dream through 1,000 years. A protagonist's halo suddenly appeared behind her. The two girls were completely confused. They had no idea what she meant. At that moment, Ling Tianhong raised both hands. Before they could react, she knocked them both out on the spot with a smack, as they collapsed unconscious. Ling Tianhong carried one on each shoulder toward the formation. The two sisters remained unconscious for a full 10 years. But when they woke up, they weren't mad. Instead, they were overjoyed and asked the man to knock them out again. However, the man outright refused. He said they couldn't handle the risk of doing it again. Turns out, not long ago, Ling Tianhong had been slacking off, and deliberately used the supreme immortal sutra of the Lord of Great Dreams on them. Great Dream Eternal Autumn. Though it looked like they merely took a nap, For those under the spell, it felt like a millennium had passed, but since their strength was too weak at the time, they only managed to last for a few decades before waking up. Even so, their strength still improved significantly. But clearly, Bayun had no idea about the side effects. Drunk on her new power, she was getting carried away. She clung to Ling Tianhong, begging to experience it again. She insisted that if she could sleep once more, she could definitely reach the longevity realm. But Ling Tianhong knocked some sense into her. More haste, less speed. Entering the dream world drains one's primal soul heavily. If they did it again, their spirits would be completely lost. Hearing this, Bayun looked both spooked and regretful. At that moment, Ling Tianhong took out a wooden carving and handed it to Ling Yun. He said it was an offering prepared in advance, and urged her to carefully comprehend the opportunity hidden within. A sword forged in the great river, a poem, a pot of wine, a long song, a glimpse of the end. Seeing the carving, Bayun's eyes lit up and she came closer. Girl, this is a great opportunity. It contains the supreme Tao fortune bestowed by Brother Ling. Upon hearing that, Ling Yun knelt and bowed to Ling Tianhong. Thank you, ancestor. Ling Tianhong waved and said, stop calling me ancestor all the time. That's not good. From now on, you can call me Brother Ling like Bayun does. Also, don't let my mother find out who I really am. You must keep it secret. Ling Yun nodded repeatedly, still confused. Suddenly, Ling Tianhong's gaze shifted beyond the city walls. There's an old man and a young man approaching. I figure they must be the two you mentioned earlier. So now's your chance for revenge. Hearing this, the two girls straightened up, then exchanged a smile with a radiant glint in their eyes. In a flash, their figures vanished from sight. Meanwhile, outside the Phoenix Capital Palace, Jun Wuxie and Qing Lao strutted toward the entrance, but since they looked too shady, two righteous guards immediately stopped them at the gate. The next second, they were both sent flying back home. Even so, Jun Wuxie remained unfazed as ever. Fools, no sense of danger. Exceptional women are always When he saw the Empress's stunning beauty, the man was instantly obsessed. He vowed to bring her home as his slave. As soon as Jun Wuxie and Qing Lao entered the palace, someone reported it to Shihi, who was meditating. She immediately halted her cultivation. Her divine sense instantly blanketed the entire palace. In just moments, she located their exact position. As her eyes opened, a divine pressure began radiating from her. The next second, she appeared above them. Who are you two? How dare you trespass in the palace? She cast a wary glance at the elder beside him, sensing a faint threat from his presence. But the moment she appeared, Jun Wuxie was instantly enchanted by her unmatched aura, a beauty beyond mortal comprehension. She completely ignited his burning desire to conquer her. You must be the divine Phoenix Empress. Such peerless grace and talent. I'll be blunt. I want you. I've decided today you'll be my slave. Hearing this, Shihi's gaze turned ice cold. At that moment, a mysterious force surged toward Shihi, blanketing the entire palace. Shihi's face darkened. 7th-stage longevity realm. Though surprised by Qing Lao's pressure, it had no effect on Shihi, who had awakened after her immortal fall. Shihi stood tall, full of disdain. I've never bowed to someone weaker than me. You? Not even qualified to carry my shoes. But Jun Wuxie wasn't angry. To him, the divine Phoenix Empress had only just passed the wind tribulation. While he had already survived the fire tribulation, his cultivation far surpassed hers. Jun Wuxie was absolutely confident he could defeat Shiha within a few moves. Hearing that, Shiha fell into deep thought. He knew very well he stood no chance against this elder in green robes. The only way out was to provoke this man into a one-on-one. As long as he could subdue him, he could escape. Thinking this, Shiha looked down coldly at Jun Wuxie. You're pretty confident, huh? Then I'll give you a chance to make me submit. If you defeat me, I'll be your sorceress. If not, get the hell out of Nanzhou. The man was a peerless powerhouse, but all he wanted was to stay with his wife and be a salted fish. But now, someone was eyeing his wife with ill intent, harboring wicked plans. At that moment, faced with the longevity mirror cultivator behind Jun Wuxie, Shiha knew he had no chance. So he challenged Jun Wuxie head-on using reverse psychology. Jun Wuxie remained fully confident. He declared that if he couldn't subdue her within 3 moves, he'd leave Nanzhou. Hearing this, Shiha launched a punch at Jun Wuxie. Jun Wuxie responded with a sharp smile. So strong. Only conquering a genius like you can prove my charm. Saying so, he clashed fists with Shiha. The impact destroyed an entire pavilion. Jun Wuxie still looked excited. One move down, Shiha gave a cold smirk. Because he hadn't even started seriously, he was just testing. Shiha raised his hand and pointed to the sky, heaven, and earth. The next second, a divine statue descended from above. In just a clash, Jun Wuxie was sent flying violently. Seeing his pitiful state, Shiha proudly flashed 2 fingers at Jun Wuxie. That's it. Only the second move. Just as he finished speaking, Jun Wuxie vanished on the spot, reappearing right in front of Shiha. Now you're getting serious? I've only used 10% of my power. Since you're in such a rush to lose, Let me show you the foundation of Zhongzhou Holy Land. With that, he raised his hand and summoned a terrifyingly powerful ancient sword out of thin air. This sword was named Kunwu, a top-grade artifact just below immortal tier. He then unleashed a brilliant sword light from the Kunwu divine sword. Its wings of sword energy filled the area. Break his manifestation. With that, Jun Wuxia slashed toward Shiha with multiple sword strikes. Shiha's face changed dramatically. Clearly he hadn't expected such a hidden trump card. An 8th tier artifact was peak level in the lower realm. Each slash could severely wound a first-level divine crystal cultivator. Realizing this, Shiha held back no longer. He condensed heaven and earth fist again, and struck fiercely at Jun Wuxia. Jun Wuxia stopped being careless. He raised his sword to meet the blow, but the moment fist and sword collided, the energy blast sent Jun Wuxia flying. Shiha didn't have it easy either. He coughed up blood while staggering back. In my past life, I rose from a mere spark to a heavenly force, unmatched across the realm. Only the damned demon lord. I'll never let that happen again. Thinking that, Shiha wiped the blood off his mouth, his gaze growing even firmer. Just then, Jun Wuxia attacked again. You naughty girl. Let me show you how wide the gap is between us. Though she was the peerless divine Phoenix Empress, she didn't know her husband was an invincible force beyond the 3 realms. For his safety, she had risked her life many times to protect the entire city. Now, faced with Jun Wuxia's frenzy, Shiha smiled calmly and pulled out a talisman from her bag. With a wave, a divine sword shot toward Jun Wuxia. Jun Wuxia was slightly surprised, but still raised his sword and slashed at Shiha with full force. Yet Shiha easily blocked it with a counter-slash. Feeling the power of her sword, Jun Wuxia was shaken inside. His sword was an 8th grade divine weapon now, but he hadn't realized Shiha's sword was also the real deal. It was the true treasure of Lingxian Holy Land. Though not as powerful as the Kunwu divine sword, it was more than enough to counter Jun Wuxia. As they exchanged several lightning-fast blows, Shiha flashed into the air. You shameless brat. Let me show you what true swordsmanship is. Saying that, she pointed the Lingxian sacred sword to the sky. In the next moment, countless majestics, eventually merging into a single drop of rain. So this is your swordsmanship? Jun Wuxia burst into hysterical laughter like a fool, pointing at Shihi. This move is called dripping water. As for its power, I'm sure it will surprise you. As she finished, Shihi instantly summoned the rain. In the next second, it transformed into a powerful force, striking at Jun Wuxia. Seeing this, Jun Wuxia hastily summoned several sword beams. She aimed them at the falling drop, but the moment the sword beams touched the water, they were devoured like pebbles in an ocean, completely absorbed. She raised her sword, activating a defense spell, but against a full surround rain assault, she could only hold out for a moment. The defense built from sword energy was shattered. Then she was blasted back 50 meters. 3 moves had passed. She stood in midair, holding a divine talisman sword, her voice cold. You've lost. Get out of Phoenix City's formation, now. But before she finished, Jun Wuxia tried to break the wager. She called Qing Lao to take action. Today, you're going to be mine. I'll enjoy tormenting you. Hearing this, Shihi's face turned cold. A moment later, her aura at the 7th stage of longevity realm erupted. Instantly, it engulfed all of Phoenix City. Feeling this terrifying power, everyone fell silent in terror. Some even thought the Tianlong Taoist had returned from the dead. Only Ling Tianhong remained calm. He clearly knew this was the Qing Lao Baiyun mentioned earlier, but unless it involved his wife, it's like them weren't even worth his attention. Might as well leave them for Baiyun and the others to practice on. Yet the mighty divine Phoenix Empress, upon being recognized, panicked in public. She even pretended not to know the 2 girls. She feared that acknowledging them now might put them in danger, especially since she was pregnant and couldn't use her full power to face Qing Lao. But Baiyun clearly didn't know any of this. When Lingyan asked her if she knew the Empress, Baiyun looked proud as she said, She's my landlady. Also the wife of Brother Ling, whom he mentioned to you. We've known each other for 2 years. Shihi was instantly devastated. Are you crazy? I told you. You've got the wrong person. But while she argued, Jun Wuxia quietly studied Baiyun and Ling Yun. She noticed both of them had grown significantly stronger, and now she wanted the golden fish more than ever. Qing Lao suddenly stepped forward to warn her. Young mistress, something's off. It seems Baiyun broke through her inner demons and reached and that girl has passed the wind tribulation too. Jun Wuxia's expression shifted dramatically. They had only been apart a few days. How could they change so fast? But when she heard Qing Lao mention Ling Xianzuan's treasure, Jun Wuxia suddenly understood. After all, Ling Xianzuan had ascended in just 100 years. It wasn't impossible for the treasure to rapidly boost their strength. With that, she pointed at the 3. So eager to gather under one roof. This young mistress is truly delighted. Once Qing Lao subdues you, I'll give you all a night to remember. You pervert. still spouting nonsense when death is at your door. Today marks your end. Just as she finished, Qing Lao struck. A mighty pressure descended from above. Still acting cocky in your final moments? Let me, the old man, capture all three of you for the young. But instead of fear, the three looked excited. Baiyun was the first to speak. Landlady, shall we cut down this old man together? Shi's eyes flashed coldly. All right, let's go together. The Empress hadn't acknowledged them earlier, because she was facing a veteran longevity realm cultivator. But she underestimated Jun Wuxie's ambition. She wanted to capture all three for dual cultivation, so the three chose to fight together. He was the first to activate a spiritual formation. The entire Phoenix capital was instantly engulfed. Qing Lao staggered backward in the formation. Even the staff in his hand trembled slightly. At the same time, the three surrounded him. They prepared to strike in unison. Qing Lao's face darkened suddenly. With one palm strike, an 8th grade treasure appeared. The purple lightning pearl surged into his hand. Let me show you. All beneath longevity are mere ants. An 8th grade artifact, the purple lightning pearl, instantly appeared in his palm. Today, I shall show you firsthand that all below longevity realm are but ants. As she finished speaking, the thunder orb in her hand began radiating waves of lightning. She immediately launched it mockingly toward the capital. Seeing this, the citizens fled in panic under the immense pressure. To avoid hurting the innocent, Ling Yun summoned Tai Wang Bell in an attempt to stop Elder Qing. Shiha also leaped into. Baiyun was the first to strike at Elder Qing. How overconfident. Elder Qing blinked away to gain distance from the three, then activated the thunder orb again. In the next second, 3 thunder dragons with terrifying power were summoned. Under her control, the dragons charged toward each of the 3 targets, but she underestimated the power of their divine artifacts. As one thunder dragon neared Baiyun, she cleanly sliced it in 2 with her weapon, Dark Moon. Ling Yun also activated Tai Wang Bell and unleashed the famed Great Devouring Art that once shook all 9 provinces. In an instant, she easily dissolved the thunder dragon. Meanwhile, she has summoned a divine sword and used dragon commanding technique. A golden dragon emerged the next moment and charged madly toward the incoming thunder dragon. It shattered the thunder dragon upon impact. Seeing this, the arrogance vanished from Elder Qing's face. Her expression grew confused. After resolving the threat, the 3 didn't intend to stop there. Baiyun activated a technique, summoning a 100-meter-tall, 1,000-armed Avalokiteshvara. Her power instantly rose to near longevity tier. Shi's beautiful eyes widened. Surprised by Baiyun's manifestation of an upper realm technique, Baiyun was surrounded by 3 true dragons, her aura of near longevity. With a mighty shout, the 3 dragons leapt toward Elder Qing, but were blocked by her hastily summoned thunder orb, just as she prepared to counterattack again. Ling Yun's Tai Wang Bell suddenly locked onto her. Elder Qing's rage reached its peak. She tried to block with the thunder orb, but a fire phoenix appeared above the Tai Wang Bell. Its cry shook the heavens. And, empowered by Tai Wang Bell's divine force, subdued Elder Qing. Though gravely wounded, her eyes were filled more with confusion than pain. She couldn't understand why their techniques were so powerful, and ones she had never heard of. Empress Yingchuan Haixi had once been insulted, with threats to make her a slave, but this touched her deepest taboo. A flying crow crushed the man's privates to pulp. Now, Elder Qing vomited blood from their combined assault. Driven into a furious rage, she prepared a secret technique to capture the women. But how could Shiho allow it? She flashed behind Elder Qing, aiming to strike fatally, activating the spiritual formation as well. A golden barrier instantly enveloped the whole Fongjing city. Xia pointed her sword skyward toward the celestial river. Come, sword. And a golden sword descended from the void. It struck directly toward Elder Qing. She hurriedly summoned the Zishu Thunder Orb for defense, but as Xia shifted, her sword pierced straight through Elder Qing's chest, shattering the Zishu Thunder Orb. Elder Qing looked dazedly at her shattered artifact, clearly unable to accept such an outcome. Meanwhile, Xia and the others prepared for the final blow. To sever longevity, 100-meter Avalokiteshvara condensed in the next second. She stood wielding a divine sword, ready to judge the wicked. With its core, Tai Wang Bell slashed down at Elder Qing. Her face turned pale in horror, and before she could utter a word, she was obliterated by the power. With Elder Qing, the longevity cultivator, now gone, a relaxed smile finally appeared on Xia's face. Now, it was time for them to unleash their fury. Little did they know, Jun Wuxia had already cried for his parents. As the prince of a holy land, he'd never seen such a battle. But as he wept, his face suddenly changed. The 3 appeared in front of him, faces dark and cold. A useless man who only cries wants to enjoy us. Let me send you home right now. Wanyan's words made Jun Wuxia collapse to the ground in fear. His body quivered as something slipped. Baiyun, you know who I am. If I die here, it will do you no good. Even Ji Dao Academy won't escape the fallout. He begged desperately with terror on his face, pleading to Baiyun. Baiyun sneered coldly with their ancestor Ling Xinzuan behind them. Why would they fear Ji Dao Immortal Palace? Even if you're Ji Dao's sacred son, you're dead today. Not even Jesus could save you. I said it. Jun Wuxia trembled in terror after hearing those words, but in order to survive, he couldn't help but grovel before them again. This infuriated Shihi. She leapt forward and landed directly in front of Jun Wuxia. Then came a brutal crow flying a plain slam. The surroundings fell silent. Jun Wuxia was now stomped into the ground by Shihi. You call yourself a nobleman? You lowly worm dare to defy me again and again? Her words were sharp and her strike even harsher. Jun Wuxia, writhing in pain, went mad. Crazy woman. If you kill me, you'll have no place left in the entire Xintian prison. Shihi's face turned icy cold. She raised her leg high to a full 90 degrees and stomped down with full force. A sickening crunch echoed. Jun Wuxia's face twisted in agony. That's for being arrogant. That's for being lecherous. That's for provoking me. That's for thinking a toad could eat swan meat. That's for being ugly. With each outburst, she pummeled him until he passed out. The Empress smiled coldly. Life or death? Hard to say. Watching Jun Wuxia being ravaged like that, the two girls couldn't help but shiver. They never imagined their patriarch's wife could be this fierce. Where had her usual gentleness gone? A mental image of the patriarch being domestically abused popped into their heads. Baiyun couldn't help but cry out, but was instantly silenced by a glare from Shihi. By now, Jun Wuxia had taken his last breath. His soul was already drifting away, but Shihi smacked it right back with one slap. Trying to escape? I haven't given the word yet. I'll personally send you to the 18th level of hell. With that, she flung out a talisman now, and a deafening explosion erupted around them. Jun Wuxia's soul was utterly destroyed, but the sheer brutality Shihi displayed had left the two girls frozen in shock. Even as Shihi walked toward them, they didn't dare move. Thank you. Thank you both for your help today. The two girls respectfully bowed in return. You're too kind, landlady. That guy Jun Wuxia was our enemy to begin with. Shihi's heart warmed. Sisters, I have an improper request. May I ask it? Though unsure what it was, the two were already a bit intimidated. Still, they smiled and nodded politely. Please don't tell my husband that I'm the Empress. All right, when the time is right, I'll tell him everything myself. Just consider it a favor I owe you both. Hearing this, both girls raised their hands in unison. Of course, no problem. But deep down, they were baffled by the couple's kink. Two powerhouses like them, pretending to be normal people? Really? Just then, she smiled and invited them. Sisters, the palace recently developed a new remedy. Let me treat you to a little experience today. How does that sound? The girls perked up immediately. Laughing together, they headed inside the palace. Meanwhile, outside the main hall of Ji Dao Immortal Palace in Central State, an old man came rushing in. He urgently requested an audience with the Supreme One, but was stopped by the guards, saying to them, if the Supreme One succeeded in breaking through to true immortal realm, he would dominate the human realm. Still, the fact that Jun Wuxia's soul token had shattered was no small matter. This thought startled the old man. According to him, Ling Xinzuan's treasure would soon emerge, and the Supreme One's disciple, Prince Wuzheng Qinzhan, had already gone to Southern State. He decided to have him investigate the matter. Deep in the mountains of Southern State, a large flying ship glided through the air. On board was none other than Qinzhan of Ji Dao Immortal Palace. His mission? To fight for Ling Xinzuan's treasure. Legend had it that even the founding ancestors of Ji Dao Immortal Palace had fallen to Ling Xinzuan. That alone showed Ling Xinzuan's terrifying potential. Just then, a voice transmission talisman flew toward him. It was from the same old man. The talisman informed him of Jun Wuxia's death in Southern State. Qinzhan was now tasked with uncovering the truth. Meanwhile, the Empress rubbed her foot against Ling Tianhong's, asking him what he thought of the Empress. But Ling Tianhong's offhand reply infuriated her. She told him to go confess to the Empress. Who knows, maybe he'd rise instantly and become a prince. After the incident with Shihi and General Wu Xia, Baiyun and the girls ended up moving into Ling Tianhong's courtyard. Naturally, no one mentioned the Empress's true identity. The married couple continued their act as ordinary folks. They didn't have the hobby of actively removing their frowns. For them, focusing on cultivation to enhance their strength was the ideal for both. And naturally, Ling Tianhong didn't hold back with them. He directly announced that they would stay by his side to work for DS. However, to train them, Ling Tianhong would occasionally give them some hints during their training. With Ling Tianhong's help, their strength had improved tremendously. In the evening, she looked at Ling Tianhong, who was eating ravenously, and suddenly asked, Husband, what is your impression of our Empress? I heard that the Empress is a once-in-a-millennium genius. She has defeated enemies multiple times to protect Fongjing City. Naturally, I have great admiration for her. Upon hearing this, she felt her heart race. But I heard that the Empress is very cruel. All her enemies end up tortured to death by her. Do you like such a cold woman? Being merciful to enemies is being cruel to oneself. Speaking of which, I actually admire the Empress's way of dealing with things. As soon as she finished speaking, she quickly covered her mouth. You like that, Empress? Then go confess your feelings to her. Then you can soar to the sky and become a prince under one person and above 10,000. Seeing this, Ling Tianhong pulled Shi into his arms, saying that even if the Empress is great, she is not even 1/10,000th of my wife. Moreover, how could an ordinary person like me win the Empress's heart? But Shi didn't agree with this. That may not be the case. What if the Empress likes your type? If I were the Empress, I would definitely accept your confession. I would marry you into the palace as a prince. Saying this, she lifted her foot and gently rubbed it against Ling Tianhong's foot. Husband, if I were the Empress, what would you do? As soon as the words left her mouth, Ling Tianhong directly lifted Shi's foot and replied, then I would assist my wife in becoming the only Empress of the 9 heavens and 10 lands. However, I have a question to ask. If one day you suddenly discover that I am an invincible expert, what would you think? Shi, upon hearing this, excitedly threw herself into Ling Tianhong's arms. I would naturally be very happy. At that time, my husband could protect me well. But in her heart, she thought that if her husband were truly an invincible master, she wouldn't be bullied by a group of small fries every day. But even if her husband is an ordinary person, I will definitely love him well in this life. In my previous life, I lived for tens of thousands of years without ever getting close to a man. I even felt a bit of disdain for interacting with men. But for some reason, this man before me, this ordinary man with only the realm of Juji, makes me incredibly fascinated. I am fascinated to want to be with him for all eternity. Meanwhile, on the other side, King Wujiang, Dejijun Wuxia, was furious after the assassination. He immediately took a flying ship to the South State to find the mastermind. First, they arrived at Tianlong Imperial City to gather some information. But they found that after the fall of Tianlong Daoren, the Tianlong royal family was completely wiped out. This led to the forces of the Tianlong dynasty igniting war over territory. Just then, a servant suddenly reported, stating that 2 instances of combat energy had been discovered in Fongjing City. One was from Tianlong Daoren, and the other is currently unknown. Upon hearing this, the King Wujiang immediately prepared to head to Fongjing City, a small South State dynasty. He didn't believe anyone could kill the Qing Long who had an 8th grade treasure by his side. Little did he know that the 8th grade treasure he mentioned had already been divided between Bai Yun and the others and turned into toys. At this moment, Ling Yun was dressed as a heroine, standing on a flying sword. One hand wielded the Zhan Tian's sword technique, which he had now mastered. With a single strike, a massive mountain peak was directly sliced into rubble. Looking at his achievement, Ling Yun was extremely happy. Seeing this, Bai Yun quickly came forward to congratulate him. Sister, congratulations on mastering the Zhan Tian sword technique. It seems the Qinglian sword intent has also made a breakthrough. Upon hearing this, Ling Yun felt overjoyed. However, he pushed all the credit to his mentor, Ling Tianhong. Just then, both of them suddenly became alert. Glancing cautiously at the flying ship not far behind them, the newcomer was none other than King Wujiang. Seeing the Kunwu divine sword in Ling Yun's hand, his expression changed dramatically. On the other hand, Bai Yun and Ling Yun, upon noticing the newcomer, immediately urged Ling Yun to leave for the Red Moon target hall, because they knew they couldn't deal with the newcomer. Seeing the two trying to escape, the young man hurriedly called to King Wujiang to intercept them, but he was rejected by King Wujiang, because he wanted to see who the powerful figure behind Bai Yun was. When the sisters encountered enemies during their training, their first reaction was little did they know that King Wujiang had no intention of pursuing them. Instead, he manipulated the treasure to slowly follow behind them, because he wanted to draw out the powerful figure behind them. Not long after, the two escaped to the small hall where Ling Tianhong was. Following closely behind were King Wujiang and his son. They thought the two girls had given up resistance and were at their wits' end. Immediately, they declared they would execute the two on the spot. But all Bai Yun gave him was ridicule. She mocked that Prince Wujiang and his son Qin Feng were nothing but Jun Wuxie's lapdogs. Qin Feng immediately stepped forward for a duel, but was stopped by Prince Wujiang. He had noticed the dramatic change in their demeanor, and figured the one who killed Qing Lao must be present. Unbeknownst to him, Ling Tianhong was already lounging in a chair, waiting, looking for him. Qin Feng flipped him off. Some lowly hermit like you dare speak to my father? Before he finished, he was slapped flying. The one who struck was Ling Tianhong. Seeing his son beaten, Prince Wujiang exploded with fury. You dare ambush the prince's son? You must be the powerhouse. Ling Tianhong simply smiled. Yeah, it's me. I smacked your son. So what? Even if you're the heavenly dance emperor of the immortal dynasty, I'd still hit him. Back in the day, Ling Tianhong had killed the heavenly dance emperor's son right in front of him, and the emperor hadn't even dared to protest. Instead, he smiled and personally saw Ling Tianhong off. Hearing this, cold sweat poured down Prince Wujiang's face. He'd read of the heavenly dance emperor in ancient records, but still refused to believe Ling Xianzuan was alive. You really don't know your place. Not only do you insult the heavenly dance emperor, you even dare impersonate Ling Xianzuan. You killed my junior, Jun Wuxie. One day, you'll feel the wrath of Jidao, immortal sect. You and all your kin will die. Bai Yun burst out laughing. Prince Wujiang, such bravery. Do you know who you're speaking to? That's Ling Tianhong, patriarch of Jixia Academy. Get on your knees, now. You put on quite a show. But scaring me off with theatrics? You think I'm a fool? None of you are leaving here alive. You really dare lay hands on our patriarch? If he's Ling Xinzuan, then I'm his father. Just then, Prince Wujiang erupted, unleashing the pressure of a longevity realm expert. But it lasted only a second, before being obliterated by Ling Tianhong's aura. You've got guts, all right, daring to claim you're my dad? The words struck like lightning. You're really Ling Xinzuan? Both immediately dropped to their knees. Please, Ling Xinzuan, spare our lives. Watching them grovel, Bai Yun was overjoyed. Told you he was our patriarch. You said we were acting. Scared stiff now, huh? Ling Yun was equally stunned. Who knew just the name of their ancestor carried such power? What kind of legend was he back then? Ling Tianhong looked coldly at the begging Prince Wujiang, his aura still rising. Spare you. Have you heard the legends about me? I have. You've been my idol since childhood, Ling Xinzuan. Then you should know. I've never spared an enemy. As he spoke, fire ignited in Ling Tianhong's hand. Prince Wujiang began to despair. Before he could act, he was consumed by Ling Tianhong's fiery pressure. Only a message talisman was sent away. The Empress stretched out her feet and bit Ling Tianhong's face playfully. She prayed their love would remain sweet, even after she revealed the truth. But she didn't know. Her husband was the very demon supreme who had killed her with just a wisp of pressure. He'd slain the mighty Prince Wujiang of Central State. News of the event quickly reached Jidao Immortal Sect. The Grand Elder exploded upon seeing Jixia Academy in the report. He swore revenge for Prince Wujiang. What he didn't know was that Wujiang had meant to write, executed by Ling Xinzuan. Do not avenge me. But under the pressure, he couldn't even finish the message. Still, as Wujiang was royalty of the Immortal Dynasty, the Grand Elder decided to visit them first, back in Foqing City. The royal couple was fishing by a pond. Suddenly, she kicked the ground and looked at Ling Tianhong with anticipation. My dear, she said. There's something I've been hiding from you. Will you be mad? Ling Tianhong looked up and asked her what it was she wanted to confess. Unexpectedly, she playfully stuck out her tongue at him, saying the time still wasn't right yet. When the moment comes, I'll tell you everything, my dear husband. But you must promise me. You won't be angry when I do. Love me just as you do now forever. She brought this up now because she feared that it might hurt their relationship. What she really wanted was simply to live a quiet life with Ling Tianhong. But her cultivation kept growing stronger. One day, she would ascend to the immortal realm. Her plan was once she attained the Tao of longevity, she would bring her husband into cultivation. Once in the longevity realm, she could easily use many powerful techniques, even if his talent was average. She believed she could help him become an immortal, but she knew if she told him now, their simple life would be over. So until she attained longevity, she didn't want to reveal her identity. Just enjoy this peaceful time. Ling Tianhong casually picked a peach blossom, gently placing it in Shi's hair with great affection. He told her he would stay with her forever, even till the seas dried and stones crumbled. As the once invincible Ling Xinzuan and Demon Lord, he had never been tempted by countless goddesses. He never even spared them a second glance. But upon meeting this ordinary woman, Ling Tianhong fell, deeply and irrevocably. He knew from that moment, this woman was the one he would protect for life. Now, holding Shi in his arms, the moonlight shimmering on the lake, a surge of emotion welled up in his heart. Only 2 pairs of boots lay. Meanwhile, in the distant Tiandang mountain range, young elites from countless factions had arrived, led by various powerful figures. Some were ancient grandsons, some true disciples of sacred grounds, others ancient descendants, and princes of great empires. Their goal? The treasure left behind by Ling Xinzuan's wife. It said Ling Xinzuan once swept through all the sacred lands alone, emptying centuries of their foundations. If they obtained that treasure, they could rise to the heavens in a single leap. Just then, a man suddenly appeared before the crowd. My name is Hai Tian. This treasure belongs to me. No one else can take it. He was a descendant of the ancient Sea clan, awakened with the Sea god bloodline at just 24. Hai Tian, your strength is indeed impressive, but we're not that easy to deal with. If you want Ling Xinzuan's treasure, let's see if you're capable. With that, everyone turned against Hai Tian, but he remained cold. Mocked by the crowd, his killing intent surged. Elsewhere, Bai Yun and Ling Yun were peacefully eating watermelon watching from the side. They were totally spoiled by Ling Tianhong. Even when their ancestors' treasure was being contested, they sat calmly and munched away. Turns out just earlier, they had come to the Tianyang mountain range to search for the treasure, but upon arrival, found it already swarmed with sacred land elites. They recognized Baiyun immediately, but the sisters didn't panic. They simply smiled in return. They scanned the crowd, seeing many from sacred lands and ancient clans. Apparently, the treasure had been discovered much earlier than expected. Clearly, these bastards had planted spies in Jishao Academy, clenching their fists. They prepared for a long battle. Just then, a purple-clothed girl with bare feet spoke with a smile. If Jishao Academy people are here too, then the treasure of Ling Xianzuan must truly be here. She was Gu Shi, the saintess of Tianzuan Mountain, one of the ancient sacred peaks. Hai Tian also turned his gaze to the sisters. Baiyun, you actually dared show up? Aren't you afraid of dying? I am the heir of Ling Xianzuan. As for you, you dare covet the treasure of our Jishao Academy's patriarch. As she spoke, sand-like wings erupted from her back. The surrounding youths were all shocked by her power, all of them amazed at Baiyun's incredible talent. Enough with the nonsense. Let's first search for the immortal lord's estate. Then everyone can fight over the treasures as they see fit. This man is from the Xiantian Jade Gold Nation. It's said that the Xiantian Jade once had 5 ancient nations, but after Ling Tianhong swept through, only the gold and wood nations remain. Wenyan Huashan also. But as per the previous agreement, only the younger generation may participate in the treasure hunt. Others must not interfere. Hearing this, Baiyun sneered. No need to search. I know where our ancestors' estate is. Follow me. This youth-only competition suits me just fine. With my strength and sisterlings, we could crush the competition effortlessly. With that, Baiyun led the way to a cave estate. He took out a jade token and infused it with spiritual power. In the next moment, a majestic palace rose straight from the ground. When the stone gate opened, an ancient and profound aura surged out. Everyone was overjoyed at the sight. They rushed in frantically toward the estate. Baiyun and his companion followed closely. As they entered, they saw a massive plaza, piled high with countless treasures ahead of them. The quantity was staggering. Everyone's eyes instantly turned bloodshot. Some even started brawling. Dozens of young elites clashed for a single item. Meanwhile, Baiyun and his friend sat off to the side munching on a watermelon, because he knew this immortal lord's estate wasn't as simple as it looked. The plaza's treasures were only the tip of the iceberg. True immortal weapons and pills were hidden in the surrounding palaces. To put it bluntly, Ling Tianhong was the richest man in the lower realm back in the day. He looted countless sections, but Baiyun's goal wasn't these treasures. He was after the estate's core, to refine the estate's key, because he knew this entire estate was a supreme immortal artifact, on the same level as the Taiwan Bell. Refining the key meant becoming the master of the estate, and all the treasures would naturally be his. Just as I expected. Baiyun knows secrets we don't. That token must be the key to controlling the entire estate. But before he could finish, Baiyun turned into a beam of light and shot toward the golden token. Seeing this, Hai Tian roared. His trident drew forth a wave, crashing toward Baiyun. Luckily, Ling Yun intervened in time. The Kunwu divine sword slashed the wave in half instantly. In just a breath, Baiyun had seized the estate's key. Everyone stared at the golden token in Baiyun's hand, greed burning in their eyes. Even the Taoists of longevity, though calm on the surface, were restless inside. Immortal energy descended. Had it not been for the rules set earlier, they would have jumped in long ago. As the youths continued shouting, Baiyun sneered. If you've got the guts, come take it from me. Quit your barking. That's right. If you've got what it takes, bring it on. Defeat us, and the key is yours. As soon as they said that, one of the prodigies couldn't hold back. He threw a punch at the two of them. Facing the siege of major sects, Baiyun casually slapped and easily sent the divine sect's holy son Zhen Wu flying. While everyone was still in shock, the holy maiden Gu Shi of heavenly venerable mountain stepped up. She unleashed her technique, striking at Baiyun. A petty trick like that in front of me? As she spoke, a 1,000-hand Guanyin statue appeared behind her. Countless palm imprints rained down upon Gu Shi like a divine storm. Each one radiated with a terrifying solar intensity. But Gu Shi was quickly defeated. She stared at Baiyun in defiance, clearly unwilling to accept defeat at the hands of a Yuan descendant. But all she got in return was Baiyun's mockery. With power like yours, you dare compete for my ancestors' treasures? Are you seeking death? And at that moment, the powerful Sea Clan descendant, Hai Tian, suddenly attacked. His trident summoned a massive tidal wave. It surged toward Baiyun. Seeing this, Baiyun immediately summoned the Hantian seal. This was the 8th grade artifact, given to him by Ling Tianhong before departure, a treasure that could suppress the sea. And now, it had become the perfect tool for his dramatic counterattack. Holding the Hantian seal in hand, he looked mockingly at the charging Hai Tian. You punk, begone. With one strike, Hai Tian was instantly pummeled into a swollen mess. Everyone around was stunned. That was Hai Tiana, the most promising candidate to become the next sea god. and yet he lost so miserably? What on earth happened to Bai Yun in the past 2 years? At this moment, Fire claimed, one-on-one. None of us are Bai Yun's match. Let's all go at him together. But little did they know, this ignited the sister's fighting spirit. Sisterling, let's go on a killing spree today. With that, she unleashed her battle halberd and activated her spell. 3 heads, 6 arms. Then she charged into the experts of the Holy Lands. After several rounds, even facing the combined assault, Bai Yun held his ground with ease. Meanwhile, Ling Yun wielded the Kunwa Divine Sword and channeled her Green Lotus Sword Chi toward a powerful Heavenly Chosen. With a single slash, a 3rd-stage Divine Condensation Cultivator was defeated instantly. Even his 6th-grade treasure was cleaved in half. He spat blood on the spot. This stunned even the Taoists of the Longevity Mirror Realm. They thought Bai Yun was a monster, but never imagined this girl beside him was just as terrifying. But since Ling Yun had only recently overcome her wind tribulation, she soon began to fall behind under their siege. Just as she started retreating, Saint Zhao Wujie seized the chance and lunged at Ling Yun with his long sword. But suddenly, a golden light flashed, blocking the strike. With a miserable scream, Zhao Wujie's eyes were blasted blind by the light. When everyone saw the Tai Wang bell in front of Ling Yun, their faces turned greedy. This was the legendary artifact of the Taishu Immortal sect, a symbol of an entire era. But ever since Ling Xianzuan appeared, its aura had been overshadowed. Now, with its reappearance, the greed in everyone's heart was written all over their faces. The Holy Lands chosen were all defeated under Bai Yun's glorious presence. And when Ling Yun took down the last 2 enemies, an elder from the Taishu Immortal sect shouted, "Hand over the Taiwan bell." In an instant, several powerhouses appeared before the sisters, ready to rob the immortal artifact with brute force. If they had just tried to rob them, the sisters might not have been angry, but accusing Ling Yun of theft was too much. She was instantly enraged. "You hypocritical old geezers, just rob us already. Why come up with so many excuses?" Bai Yun, however, suddenly smiled. "Sister, don't waste words with them. Show them this." The girl simply pulled out a painting, and it made several powerhouses drop to their knees in terror, because the figure in the painting was none other than the dread demon, Ling Tianhong, feared by all sections. It turned out, after Ling Yun summoned the Taiwan bell, elders from various sects tried to gang up and seize the artifact, but the sisters weren't flustered at all. Instead, they cheerfully had Ling Yun reveal their ancestor's portrait. Everyone thought they were insane. Trying to suppress them with a portrait of an ancient master? What a joke. But then the painting trembled, and the mighty Ling Tianhong actually... His overwhelming pressure rolled in like a tide. In an instant, everyone was crushed to the ground. They were utterly terrified, yet had no choice but to accept that Ling Xianzuan now towered above them. "Just now, you said I was a thief? That I stole the Taiwan bell?" That sentence struck the elders like a bolt of thunder. Their fear rendered them speechless. They could only beg for mercy. Ling Tianhong gave a faint smile. "Didn't you just say I stole the Taiwan bell? Ask it yourself if I'm worthy. If I want something, I just take it." With that, he crushed the glowing orb in his hand. In an instant, all the elders of the Holy Emperor kneeling on the ground transformed into concubines. Along with them, several holy sons and holy maidens of the Holy Emperor were also extinguished. Seeing this result, the happiest were undoubtedly the Bai Yun sisters. They praised their master for being unparalleled in dominance. At the same time, Ling Yun also expressed nearby. One day, she too would reach the height of her ancestor. Little did she know, while she was speaking, Bai Yun had already begun to loot. While looting, she also urged Ling Yun not to be polite. "Take whatever you like." Sister advertisement. At this moment, outside the Immortals Cave, the martial arts students and elders from the ancient academy, who arrived late due to family visits, looked at the overwhelming power emanating from the cave and were stopped outside. They thought a true evil had appeared inside. Turning around, they pulled their disciples and ran down the mountain. As they ran, they rejoiced, thankful that they had avoided a calamity by arriving late. On the other side, Ling Tianhong looked at the form sculpture and sighed. "These guys from Zhongzhou really are not honest. It seems I was too lenient with them 1,000 years ago. But the battle among these kids is better left to Bai Yun and them. For me, accompanying my wife is the most important thing." Since finding the path of immortality, Ling Tianhong discovered that every time he carved a figure, his understanding of the immortal path deepened. This time it's the witch. Then he began to carve the 3 pure ones, Luo Ho, Yang Lu, Hong Jun, and Pangu. As long as he could carve Pangu, his understanding of the immortal path would break through to the great achievement realm. But he didn't know that after this battle, Zhongzhou would fall into chaos. The life tokens of the elders and disciples going to Zhongzhou shattered. You must know, a peak Longsheng realm expert would hold a very high status even among the superpowers of Zhongzhou. After all, the number of immortals is limited. Moreover, those young talents are all important figures within their respective powers. Yet now, they were all dead. For the entire Zhongzhou forces, this was an unprecedented blow.